Why would every English translation of the Quran say beat your wife?
I don't know, but why wouldn't they also explain that darabon has many different meanings? It doesn't necessarily mean hit.
The problem is, this is to millions of British Muslims are going through these.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a huge problem. I absolutely agree with you. So you state that you're not a racist and that you're not against Muslims, but you're against Islam as a religion, when in fact you should be saying the opposite. Because Islam is not the problem, the so-called Muslims are the problem.
How come all of them literally queue up and rape the girl? How come brothers, cousins, colleagues, fathers and sons are raping children together?
What's worse? What's worse? The Prophet chopping off a traitor, his head, or what they're doing to the little kids in Palestine?
But the Prophet...
No, let's be real. This is 2024. Because if I'm going to believe that he killed her father and her brother and then he married her, then I also have to believe what the rest that comes with it.
You're finding an excuse to accept.
No, I'm not finding.
You're giving Sophia an excuse. She fell in love with.
All right.
You know what? Do you mind if I do so? Because I am here. Yeah? Let me just. Because it has to be done, man. It's not right that. And I only have this. We're going to interview someone about the Quran. 5:33, 5:32. So. What it actually says, people are getting killed and murdered in the name.
Give me my notes,
people are getting killed and murdered. I want to see what's coming next.
Information covered up, censorship, corruption. The mainstream media have proven itself to be untrustworthy. I'm here to give a platform for debate, for truth, for open discussion. I'm introducing you to my podcast, Silenced with Tommy Robinson.
Who exactly is Tommy Robinson, or Stephen Yaxley-Lennon?
The English Defence League, the EDL.
The problem is his Islamic
The
integration.
English far-right Islamophobic activists.
Since then, there's been organised protests across the country in London, Manchester, Leeds. People in their thousands are marching for Robinson's rights.
There is no such thing in this country as a Muslim.
Free Tommy Robinson!
CB 4 gang. Let's get it. They won't do me dirty, but they know that I'm dirty.
Tee Sedikki is a singer and songwriter who graduated from university with a BA Honours degree in criminology, policing and forensic science. She started her music career in Morocco and is soon to release her album. She raps around street life to mainly hip hop and drill beats. She's also a street dancer from a very young age, touring many countries. She is a devout Muslim and hosts her own podcast, the Criminology Podcast, where she speaks to a variety of guests from different backgrounds.
Today's going to be a bit different to my usual podcast. Welcome to Silenced. This is different because the lady who's sitting with me today, her name's Tee. She's a female Moroccan white Muslim rapper. And she asked me to go on her podcast. So we're combining the two. She's going to grill me, then I'm going to grill her. Enjoy the conversation.
Obviously, because you're a controversial person, they're going to be controversial questions.
We're doing a disclaimer beforehand.
Yeah, a disclaimer.
You may hear some things you don't like.
So basically I always try to start off my interviews with asking just basic questions, getting to know you as a person. Because I've watched quite a few of your podcasts. I think there's only one or two where they ask you questions about your childhood, growing up and stuff like that. So there's not much information out there in regards to that. So I wanted to start off with asking you questions in relation to your childhood. So what was your childhood like growing up? Did you grow up with both parents or one?
I grew up in Luton. My mother was one of 8 Irish immigrant.
Okay.
I think when they come, it was no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. So she had a big Irish family. My father left when I was young, very young, and then I haven't seen him since I was about 10 or 11. Yeah, I used to just see him on birthdays, but then the person I call my father, his name's Tommy Lennon. He's Scottish. So I said, DNA doesn't make you a dad. He's my dad. He's brought me up. I had a wonderful upbringing. Luton is a very rough town, but I had a great upbringing. I loved it. I had a very loving family. I didn't have any problems at home. I know my mum, when I was a baby, my mum was in battered wives hostels from my real dad and things like that, but I don't remember any problems like that. I only remember a very cushioned and loving childhood from my parents. So, grew up in Luton. I loved football. I was football mad. I went to school called Wigmore Primary School. That was my first, and then I went from Wigmore Primary School to Putridge High School. Putridge High School was like an hour walk from there. My mum tried to get me to go to a Catholic school. I refused. My mum's a Catholic, a very devout Catholic, but I'm not. And I wanted to go to school on the estate or where everyone I grew up with was. But yeah, I had a great upbringing in Luton.
So what religion are you? If you don't mind me asking?
What am I? So I was christened a Catholic. My mum was a Catholic. I sort of was so sickened and disgusted with the paedophilia within the Catholic Church. I also was still, so because of my mother, I then, when I had my children, my mum would want them christened Catholic because she would have seen that the devil's there. So she would have wanted them christened Catholic. I remember when all the problems started in Luton for me, when I started awakening to the threats in Luton, I started looking at Islam and the problems around the town. I remember asking Deacon Jerry at church, I said to him, what do I do here? The more I read about this, the more alarmed I'm becoming, the more problems I'm seeing. And he just said the Lord's Prayer. He said, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, will be done. And he got to the point where, forgive us our trespasses and we forgive those who trespass against us. And he really laid on that point. I said, so girls are being raped. Terrorists have took over many streets of the town. Yeah, they're everywhere because we had a group that were active on the streets. They're now a prescribed terrorist organisation, but at the time they weren't. I said, your answer to tackling this is just to forgive them. Like I said, for me, that's so weak. It's so cowardly. I don't think Christianity would still be here if it was always that weak throughout the 2,000 years. So, yeah, I don't believe you need a church to have any faith, and I've struggled with having faith over the years.
So, would you say currently at the moment you don't have a religion? Or?
I'd say that I believe there's a higher power than me. Anyway, I believe there's a higher power. I believe in spirituality. I believe that many problems come from not having a clean spirit. I believe at times I've had problems in my life and it's come from difficulties with, and then making sure you have a clean spirit is to live a clean life, which is difficult as well.
So you wouldn't class yourself as a Christian?
As a Christian, I would, yeah. If I was asked now, I believe that as time goes on now, I always would have said no, but then more so now, I see Christianity totally under attack around the globe. I see, and I guess as part of my identity, I'd say I am Christian, or what's made this country brilliant is it being a Christian culture. Whether you believe in God or not, I think it benefits the society. So, and have I prayed? Yes. Do you know what I mean? At everyone's worst moment, you may say you don't believe in God. At your worst moment in your life,
that's when you turn to Him.
You're going to pray. You're going to pray. So I have prayed. So in that sense, I've prayed to. But yeah, I'm not. I don't go around preaching religion on people. But as I said, I was brought up going to church every week.
Okay.
But I believe the church is so disconnected with the people. I believe they've actually failed massively. The Muslim community haven't. I believe many of their imams are so in touch with their community. Many of them are more like ourselves. So you could relate with many imams I've met. You don't relate with some old Christian priest, yeah, who has nothing in common with you. So I believe the church has failed to modernise and move with society, and sold us out massively in many points. The church, I believe many people in the church don't even believe in Jesus. I believe this has been infiltrated by Marxists to push political agendas.
I agree.
Well, the church are now saying they're doing gay marriages, they're pushing LGBTQ+. What do you believe? I believe Islam fills a void on this. Islam's very strong and it doesn't budge on their principles. Christianity, and I hear Andrew Tate saying this a lot, he said, well, what's the difference? Like, look what, and I think we as the West, have to ask ourselves, well, what are we now? When you talk about Western culture and identity, what is that?
You have to ask, is Christianity still Christianity? Because
well,
if you're changing the will of God and God's commandments, then it's no longer Christianity.
But that's certain places are. They're not doing that in Russia. So Russia still has a very strong. They're not doing it in Poland.
No, I mean in places where they are.
In Britain.
Yeah.
In Britain, in the Church of England.
Where they're saying that a man can marry a man and a woman can marry a woman. This goes against God's teachings. So therefore, it no longer is Christianity.
And it's weak. It's weak and pathetic.
And it's weak.
And that's why so many people, that's why the churches are empty. But I don't believe because churches are empty, it doesn't mean people don't have a belief. I believe people feel betrayed. And that's why their churches are empty. And they don't represent the people. And they've failed massively and horribly. I see them now pushing transgenderism. Many of the churches is like, I see the Pope inviting 200 trannies. Well, what's going on?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
It's crazy, to be honest. The fact that your father wasn't around at a young age, do you think that had some form of effect on you growing up?
No, I don't. I think it may have done if I didn't have a father figure, but I did.
Okay.
I think that in society, many problems, when I look around what's happening in society, I think many of these problems are coming from fatherless homes. I had a great role model. I had a great example. I had a great man who showed me great love as his son. So yeah, it didn't have any effect on me.
So he's quite lucky in that
I was
aspect.
very lucky, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you because when I used to study criminology, that was part of the studies. You know, a lot of households that grew up with no fathers, the boys and the girls often went out looking for love in men. So they'd start sleeping around and stuff, trying to find that love through men that they didn't find through their fathers. And the men, the boys would go out on the streets and join gangs to try and find that guidance and love that they didn't find at home due to them not having a father.
And it's who they're looking up to. They're looking up to gang figures, they're looking up to the boys on the estate with the money, and they're being guided by them rather than guided by their dad. I had a big discussion with this in my school group chat friend. When Black Lives Matter hit off, I had murders, man. I was very outspoken against Black Lives Matter. And I said I said things probably more aggressively than I should have, caused murders for me. Absolute murders, because I'm born in Luton. Many of my friends, people think I just say this, many of my friends aren't white. Yeah? And I said, like, if you're going to cry out racism about everything, which is where we're now headed. Yeah? I believe that this shift of what we'd seen in America, which was, I'd seen it in America for 8 years. Black Lives Matter had been going for 8 years. I'd seen it, every election they'd use it, and they'd divide society based on race. We didn't have that growing up. We had no racial problems in Luton. We'd never heard of these racial problems. When Black Lives Matter come in, everyone's getting on the knees, it's causing divide at football, it's causing murders everywhere. The whole movement was there to divide. And I got pretty angry about it, because I thought you've now brought that politics into the UK, and you're now using it in the UK to divide. And when I spoke and I remember, God, everyone was so angry with me I went on a rant about George Floyd and about the war memorials in London being attacked. And I went on a proper rant about it, and I called on people to come and defend the Winston Churchill statue. And not just the Winston Churchill statue, because one of the statues that was desecrated was the Commonwealth statue that represents non-white fighters that come to fight for Great Britain as well. And I saw that the black community were being used by Marxists because they can't get people angry enough to cause the revolution they want. So they were using the black community through historical justified anger from the black community, but then whipping it all up now and pretending that they're being hunted down by police and killed when the statistics show they're not. I went through all the statistics, all the figures on everything, because we kept getting told Britain is an institutionally racist country. And I found myself in the school chat group disagreeing with a lot of my friends. And I said, but lads, like, you've not been oppressed. I had my mate, where's his family from Ghana, who's telling me he's suffered from oppression. I said, bruv, you live in a £600,000 house. You're the most popular boy at our school. Yeah, you're the most popular boy at school, right? You earn 130 grand a year or something. Yeah, where have you been oppressed? Like, we all grew up together. We're all friends. Yeah, you've not been a victim of racism, bruv. I got robbed as a little white boy called a white guru. I said, we've all had different little things, but to say this country is institutionally racist when you flourished in it, I just find it insulting to blame everything on racism. When if you want to look, and then I made a video then saying, look, I'll meet with anyone and talk with anyone about Black Lives Matter. I don't know if you're aware. Was you a supporter of Black Lives Matter?
To be honest with you, I think all lives matter.
Yeah.
I think that...
Well, you're a racist for saying that.
Well, that's what they want to say I am.
Do you know what I mean?
But I think all lives matter and I stick to that. Yeah. However, I do think that in America, it is more prevalent. I think that black people are getting abused by police powers, being murdered by them.
Do you know when you go through the
There's a
statistics?
lot
I
more.
thought that because that's what the media showed us. When you go through the statistics, like 10% of America's black, 50% of homicides are committed by black people. Now, they're going to have more interaction with the police because of the level of criminality from the black community. Yeah? They're far more likely to be involved. Why are they far more likely to be involved in criminality? Because in the 1960s, 80% of black kids had a dad. Now it's 20%. Now that is the real racism, because that is the real institutional racism, because Planned Parenthood have encouraged the fathers to leave, encouraged the mums to not be with the dads, encouraged the breakdown of the family, encouraged abortion. Yeah, that's what it's all been about, and that is to break down the family. Because if you have a broken down family, you're more likely to be involved in criminality. You're more likely to go to jail. They've got continued people in the prisons, which they want anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
You've got that they want the black community reliant on the state, but that doesn't mean that everyone's a racist. It's like, and I said to my mates, I said, well, if you're going to cry about racism, like if you are going to cry about racism, you should be crying about fatherless homes. You should be talking about rap. I know you do rap. You should be talking about rap culture. Like, so OFB, you know OFB? Original Farm Boys, some little black rap gang from London. Well, they put up, when I talked about Black Lives Matter, they put up a thing to have a hit on me. Yeah, they put a reward with a picture of me. I didn't know who they were. My son come downstairs saying, Dad, like, OFB are going on about you. OFB are mad. So I looked up OFB. They're on about Black Lives Matter. They've killed 5 black men. Yeah? When I looked up why they've killed 5 black men, and I got the lyrics of a song, and I went to Brixton. I was invited to Brixton to do a debate. It was about 100 black people there. And I just sat down and said, like, I've looked up this group, OFB, their videos had 5 million views. Their video talks about juking, shooting, stabbing, like all these lyrics, yeah? I went through the lyrics. It's all glorifying violence, yeah? It's your kids that are listening to it.
Especially drill music.
It's all drill music, so it's your children that are listening to it. And if you want to talk about it, black on black crime is the biggest cause of black people being killed. It's like 97% in America of black people killed by black people, yeah? Same in London. Okay, so all the 15-year-olds killing each other. Yeah, then to talk about that, just continually blame everything on racism for me. I said, get out. I said, because black kids are being murdered every day. Criminality's through the roof. Black children don't have fatherless figure. The dads are leaving. You need to be encouraging the dads to stay at home and do their job as a father. Yeah, and make sure they still, if they're not home, play a fatherly figure role in that child. Because if not, they're going to end up in the gangs.
I totally agree with you. I think that people always tend to look at the problem and not the root cause of the problem. So if we can get to the root cause of the problem and find a solution, then maybe we won't get to the problem. So like you said, you know, if fathers are more at home, and even if they're not, if there should be some form of law for fathers to have to spend time with their children, to provide for their children, and if not, they can face prison time. I think that there should be some kind of law implemented that does that, because it's like men can just have kids with women and just get on with their lives. They can just go and leave, and a woman is left with the children. And it's hard as a woman to raise children on your own, especially if you have to work, for example, and you have children, or you're a single mother struggling on benefits. You know, a woman can't play the role of a man.
I think that all comes from the far. Again, like I've got a son now. He ain't never going to have a baby and leave it. I know that now.
However, there is racism.
Yeah.
Because even when I was studying at university, criminology and policing, even the police are fully aware of it. It's called canteen culture. There are police officers who are racist.
I believe well, the facts were before Stephen Lawrence murder, there was institutional racism within the
institutional racism. So we do have to take that into account as well. So I don't think it's just one factor or two factors. It's a various factors that come into one. So they all have a role. They all have influence in the problems that occur. So I think we do also have to take the racism into account.
I think there's racism against white people at an astronomical
level. I think there's
now.
racism against all races. I think that some races are racist against their own selves. Like Moroccan, for example, I'm Moroccan. We have Moroccans who are racist against Moroccans because one's from the Sahara, he's got darker skin. This town doesn't like that town. This city doesn't like this. There's racism within every culture.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. My issue with the Black Lives Matter thing was you're blaming everything on racism rather than addressing some of the issues within the community.
I agree with that point.
And don't just pointing. You always like, and I think they were fooled. And I think that now most people know. So I met, you know, Sasha who got shot.
Yeah.
She come to my house. I invited her to my house to discuss Black Lives Matter. And when I sat her down, I said, "Do you agree in the breakdown of the nuclear family, getting rid of mum and dad?" She said no. I said, well, that's one of the points on Black Lives Matter's website, because it was started by 2 Marxists, yeah? Funded by Marxists. It's about divide. Yeah? So you don't agree with that. Okay, that's one of the major points. Do you agree in ending capitalism? The fuck has that got to do with Black Lives? Because that's one of the other points. Do you agree in pushing LGBTQ+? Because that's one of the other points. Yeah? The point in Black Lives Matter has got nothing to do with Black Lives. None of the money raised went to Black Lives. Yeah? It went to white Democrats who were standing in election. All the money was funneled off to fund white Democrats. Now the Democrat Party
Sorry, what's LGBT got to do with Black Lives Matter?
No, I think it's one of the main points on the website. So the founding website of Black Lives Matter was to push LGBTQ+. It was to break down the nuclear family. It was to end capitalism. Yeah? That's on their own website. So when I said that, I said, look on the website.
So there's agendas.
There was a massive agenda. That's all the agenda was. The agenda was to use the black community to get out. Like 33 people were murdered by Black Lives Matter in America. Many of them black. And no one knows their names. Everyone knows George Floyd's name. Yeah? George Floyd, let's have it right, was a criminal who put a gun to a black pregnant woman's belly, who actually died, if anyone took the time to read the autopsy, he died of a drug overdose. He wasn't strangled. He died of a drug overdose. His death, I've read the autopsy, his death was from a fentanyl overdose. He took the fentanyl, that's why he couldn't breathe. He swallowed the fentanyl. Now, I believe the police officer's been made a total scapegoat of, yeah? And even Black Lives Matter started because of, is it Trayvon James? The murder of Trayvon James, yeah? And they say on Black Lives Matter by a white supremacist. The man who killed Trayvon James was a Hispanic. Yeah? He was Hispanic. Hands up, don't shoot, never got said. Right? Everything about that organisation, which I'd already known before it come to the UK, was a total lie. And the purpose of it was every time there's an election in the United States, they whip up the black community, get them all angry, get them rioting, get them smashing everything up, get them going mad about racism, to vote for the Democrats. Whereas the actual racists are the Democrats. The actual people who want the black people on plantations, because they still want them enslaved, they want them with no dads, they want them in the poverty line. Black unemployment under Donald Trump was the lowest it's ever been. Blacks were excelling again. Yeah, by halting immigration, it gave the black opportunity, the young blacks opportunity to get work again. Yeah, they had the best employment they've ever had in America. But the Democrats twisted, everything's twisted. So I obviously felt passionately against it because I thought, now you're bringing your identity politics to the UK and you've divided the entire country over football, getting down on the knees. We as football clubs and as people do things against racism every week at football, but getting on the knee was seen as a Marxist symbol, yeah, about supremacy, not about equality, which is what they were saying. So most people, anyone who took the time to research Black Lives Matter, knew it was about Marxism, knew it was about ending capitalism, knew it was about LGBTQ+, knew it wasn't what it says on the tin. Yeah? Funded by George Soros, who's a white Jew. Yeah? He created it. He created it. Yeah, and it's two black female lesbians who started it.
Okay.
Who are Marxists, who are actually self-confessed Marxists. So it was all political. And they were whipping it up. And I think most black people now realise that now, but they didn't at the time. So at the time, I took a hell of a backlash from everyone. People I love, people I've grown up loving. Still don't talk to some of them.
Do you think Black Lives Matter?
I think Black Lives Matter, yeah. Yeah, I think every life matters. I don't think it helped to be, because then, so Black Lives Matter, and then I don't know if you saw at the time, say like, and I had this with my friends, I said, lads, so you've gone down to London, yeah, and you've took to the streets, because George Floyd, and the statistics show in the United States, you're more likely to die as an unarmed man by the police as a white male. The statistics show that. Yeah? Same in the UK police. Same in the UK police state. The statistics show you're more likely. I went through all the statistics. In fact, black people get found not guilty at a higher percentage than white people. So if we're in an institutionally racist country where the public are just racist, they'd just be finding black people guilty more than white people, but they don't. They'd find them not guilty. That's the facts. Yeah. I went, obviously, because this really hit a nerve with me, because some of my best friends have fallen out with me, I made a video called Black Lives Matter. Yeah, and I put it straight out, and it was addressing my mates. I said, now you need to watch what's going on. Yeah, because in America they were hunting down white people. Yeah, and they were going, get the white people, as they were running down the street, killing them. Yeah, bashing them. Yeah, I said so. And Black Lives Matter, which has murdered and executed 14 police officers, executed innocent black men murdered at shops as they were being looted and robbed. Yeah? What's that got to do with Black Lives? Right? This is, and for me, it angered me. And then I had a big fallout with my mates about it. And then I made a video addressing them called Black Lives Matter, where I just went through the facts about Black Lives Matter, the organisation, the facts about the murders, the terrorism that's been committed in their name. I said it's the equivalent of me going down. If they've murdered all these people, if they've rioted, if they've done all this crime, yeah, and I'm showing you the leaders. They held a They kicked white people out of the room in university. No white people allowed in here. I showed all the different stuff against white people that's going on in the United States. I said, like, do you actually agree with this? Do you support this? Because you're under their banner, bruv. That under that banner, and they goes, no, we agree with the sentiment of Black Lives Matter. I said, yeah, because they're geniuses. Because they know that they used to have all these left-wing anarchist groups. They know that doesn't work. So they named it, because it wasn't set up by black people, they named it Black Lives Matter, so you feel emotionally attached to it. Okay. And obviously, look, the video of George Floyd was horrific to watch as well. Yeah? It was horrific to watch. There's historical grievances that I can't comment on, especially in the United States. But the statistics, like when I sat down with this that Sasha, she goes, well, you're bringing all these figures and all these statistics. I said, yeah, but they sort of matter. If you think you're getting hunted down by the police and you're actually not. I showed videos. So in my video called Black Lives Matter, I showed a video of a white man, where the police officers were on him and a black police officer murdered him. They hold him until he's dead. Yeah, far worse than George Floyd's video. Yeah? I said, you've never seen this video. You've never seen this video, and you never will.
But I think there's also statistics that prove that black people are stopped and searched way more than white people are.
Yeah, probably.
So I guess it depends on what statistics you're looking at.
But since they stopped stop and search in London, violence has gone through the roof. Through the roof, all the kids are carrying machetes. Yeah, all of them.
But I think the bottom line is all lives matter. Racism needs to be abolished, even though I don't think it will ever happen. And at the end of the day, we're all humans. I don't think it matters what colour we are, where we come from. I think what matters is your principles, your morals, your characteristics, and just being a good person, to be honest, at the end of it.
I believe all of these things have been used now to divide us as a society.
But I think the government does that, divide and conquer, isn't it? Because if they divide and conquer, then they apply this in everywhere, in religions, in war, in everywhere. Because if we're together, we're much stronger. You know, we can stand up and do a revolution. However, if they divide and conquer and we're all busy fighting each other, then they just
keep enforcing new laws and taking more freedoms.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've said many times, like when I thought about it, I said they want to divide, and I probably played my role massively in that with the Black Lives Matter movement. When I went out on my rant, I said because I've actually now caused a massive divide. I've got white lads all heading into London to defend statues, black people thinking they're going to come under attack from them, and I then got worried at that point. I made a video saying, shit, man, this ain't how I wanted it to go.
But at least you realised.
Well, I wear the hat, so I think we'll get onto it. I wear the hat comfortably, being against and speaking out against Islam, because I wholeheartedly believe.
All right, so this is the next question I was going to ask.
I wholeheartedly believe in it, but I'm not a racist against black people. So I sort of like at that time I thought, so now because I talk out about Black Lives Matter, you think I don't like blacks? It's like that's never been the way. My whole upbringing, everyone I love is from. I love Muslims growing up.
All right, so I asked you the question: does Black Lives Matter? Yeah. Do Muslim lives matter?
Yes, I do. Yeah. In fact, I would love to see Muslims experience total freedom. Be that, whether that be the women. And I made these comments and got a lot of flack for it. I said, open the British Embassy's door tomorrow in Saudi Arabia and let the women leave. Let them leave. Give them women freedom. They're not allowed to leave their houses, not allowed to leave their country, not allowed to leave to drive. I know the new prince is trying to modernise it, but they're slaves. And I think that they'd leave. I think that you'd have a load of cavemen standing scratching their head if the women were allowed to leave. Because I think they'd leave tomorrow in Saudi Arabia and countries like that where they are slaves. So when do Muslim lives matter? Totally. I believe that whilst I have a very strong belief against the teachings of Islam, yeah, I separate Muslims from Islam. People say, how do you do that? Muslims are people, Islam's an idea. I can have a very strong idea. It's like if I picked up the Bible and said I disagree with this and I think Jesus was bad, no one takes it that I hate every Christian. You're allowed to do that. Yeah? You're allowed to have a strong atheist opinion against all religions. You're not allowed to do that with Islam. The minute you talk out against the teachings of Islam or Muhammad, you must hate Muslims. You must hate every Muslim. It's like, no. It's like I may disagree with a woman wearing a burqa. I'd hold a door open for her tomorrow. Yeah? It's a very different... And as I said, for people to understand my upbringing, I grew up with some of the best people I've ever met in my life are Muslim. Yeah? But I have a lot of love for Muslims. Many of the Muslims, even the gang lads in Luton, still shake my hand when they see me because they know me. They know me inside. I could play your voice messages now from... I won't because I'll can play them to cut them out of Pakistanis messaging me every day who are lads in Luton, who are my mates.
All right,
But-
we'll get to that. But first, I wanted to ask you, because that's all coming up in my questions. First, I wanted to ask you is, how did you become a political figure? What was the main reason why you became so passionate and feel the way you feel in regards to Islam?
Yeah, it was a soldiers' homecoming parade in Luton was like the final straw. So the soldiers were given the freedom of the city. All kept pretty quiet. It was a Tuesday, I think. Now, from my estate, Scott Mumridge was 26. He died in a training exercise. He died training their army, not killing them, not killing Afghans or Iraqis, training them. Michael Swain lost his legs. He was 19. So he lost his legs. So that day, I went down to pay my respects to the soldiers as they marched through our town. Now, my opinion has wholeheartedly shifted a lot on that war, not just the war, but on what the rights and wrongs were of the British Army going to those countries. We never should have been there.
Right, I was going to say.
Never ever should have been there. At the time, I didn't feel that. Because at the time, we were told they're there fighting for our freedoms. We were told that they're there fighting for our safeties.
Propaganda, again.
Yeah, we were fed this bullshit about the war, and to justify the invasion of those countries. We probably, after September the 11th, it's like 19 Saudis flew the planes into Twin Towers. We went and invaded Iraq. What are you talking about? And then we went into Afghanistan. And it's like, look, if an invading army come into this country, I'd be the first person out to fight them. So do I blame the Muslim men of Afghanistan or Iraq who went to war when the British army come in? No, I don't, because I'd have been one of them. Yeah, if an invading army come into my country. Now we now know it's totally shit. And again, not at the time I wouldn't have been thinking this. But as we've gone on, I see the terrorism from the British state. I see the terrorism from America. I see the corporations who benefit from war. I see that they need war. They want war. I saw Julian Assange's leaks on it. That it was to launder money. I then see the Ukraine situation now. So my whole mindset has totally changed, and I fully understand, why Muslims would have been outraged. Okay. I fully get it, man. But that does not change when a young British man signs up to the British military. They don't get to choose the war or the conflict they go into. They swear allegiance to Queen and country. Yeah, the government are the wrong uns who sent us to war. Yeah, so I still. At the time, fully hearted supported them. The lads who are put into those very difficult positions. Yeah, English men, young men's lives ruined, destroyed, not given the care after the war. They don't give a shit. Used like cannon fodder. Yeah, for corporations and financial benefit. So yeah, my mind's totally changed on that. But at the time, the British Army were coming through the streets. I went down to pay my respects. And as I went down to pay my respects, I saw Saif al-Islam, his Sword of Islam, some big jihadist. He's number 2 in al-Mujahideen. Al-Mujahideen are one of the biggest terrorist organisations in the world. Omar Bakri was the main man. Abu Hamza. So their head office was in Luton. So growing up for me, that terrorist organisation's head office was on Biscuit Road. Yeah, I knew kids I used to hang around with, Roger Ibrahim Anderson, clown, big ginger, steroid freak. I don't know if you remember him, the big terrorist, the big ginger terrorist. I used to knock about with him as a kid. Beaky, one of the other ones who attacked the soldiers, he went to my school. Yeah? So I know all these lot, and we know how they think. I know how radicalised they are. I know how extreme they are. I know what they're after. I know what their minds, I know what their caliphate dominate world looks like, because I've grown up with them. So, but then I saw them all that day. So when I went down to see the soldiers, I saw so many police, and I thought, what's going on? I saw about 30 women all wearing niqabs together, like a group of 30 of them, a big mob of them. And then I started seeing all their faces. I started seeing them all, and I thought, what's going on? Like, they're going to attack the fucking soldiers, yeah. And then what people don't realise is there was a group of about 60 of them. But I watched as our police took these terrorists through our town hall. Yeah, these are ISIS. Make no mistake about it. Yeah, they've all now in jail for ISIS. They've all gone to fight for ISIS. Three of the lads from Luton died fighting for ISIS, yeah? So they've been taken through our town hall, and then I watch them go through the town hall and then hear all the commotion. And they brought them out to where the soldiers walk here, they put them right in front of them, yeah? And they're spitting at the soldiers, they spat in one of the lads who died, they spat in his mum's face. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? From our point of view, what the fuck is going on? Like, how have you let them do that? And then what people don't realise is there's probably about 60 of them causing this commotion. But 330 of them were stopped getting into Luton that morning. They were coming in an army. There were 400 of them coming. Yeah, the scenes would have been mental with 400 of them attacking our armed forces. Yeah, so when they done that, for me, and then when the police turned their backs on the jihadists and stood with their batons and started attacking all the English people who were rightfully furious at what they'd just seen. Yeah? And that's not, you see, if you lot are pissed off with this war, what we didn't know, for 2 days they'd leafleted every mosque in Luton. So every mosque was aware it was happening. The whole Islamic community were where it was happening. No one done anything to stop it. Yeah? No one done anything to stop it. For us, I remember saying after that, they arrested a few of our lads that day, there and then. Yeah. I remember I sat down with my cousin and I just said they can't get away with this. They cannot get away with this. Yeah? See if they get away with this. What's next? And I say that in the sense of, if you've watched my Oxford Union speech, you see the backlog before this. Yeah? These lot have took the piss. They're taking liberties in our town. They're raping girls, heroin, all the problems coming out of this section of the community. And now we're allowing them to do this. And I try and explain it to people in the concept of, the Islamic community is a very small, close-knit community, yeah? Very small, yeah? Well, it was very small, not anymore, it's 50% of Luton, but it's all in one place. Now, if that was a white community, and you had 500 active Nazis, every day of the week, yeah? With pace tables set up, and their literature, their scripture, and what they're promoting is to hate everyone that's not white, yeah? It's pretty soon, from this community, it's going to start coming, yeah? You're going to start seeing the violence, you're going to start seeing the aggression, the hostility's going to come out, yeah? That's what we're seeing. These bastards have done this non-stop for a generation. They've been on the streets non-stop, teaching that non-Muslims are filth, that we're scum, promoting war, promoting jihad, and they've been no one's challenged them. So at that point, that for me, we sat down and just said, we've got to go for them, basically. We've got to make sure, from Luton's point of view, every time Luton's ever mentioned, it's to a terrorist. Yeah, and I've sat quite happy in thought now it's to do with the English Defence League, yeah, because it's to do with resistance to the terrorists, right? Because but the story went when they done that to the soldiers. We watched it. We was pissed off. We said, right, we need to let the country know that the people of Luton support our armed forces. Yeah, that what happened this day is not how we feel. Yeah, so we organised a rally. I organised a rally. And I went around, I made leaflets, and it had pictures of the Royal Anglian soldiers that had died. There's 14 of them, and it had pictures of all the extremists who were protesting. It said heroes, and it said scum. And then I realised the problems we've got, because then I went round first of all, it was community based. We wasn't looking for trouble, if I'm honest. Yeah, it was community based. So my aunties were there. We all turned up to get to the town hall to pay our respects. The police blocked us. They drew batons on horses. They knocked my mate, Craig, little black lad, they knocked his teeth out. We had placards that said, Muslim, no problem, extremist Muslim, big problem. Yeah? We made it very clear. And the reason we made it very clear, because we're from Luton. We know loads of Muslims. Yeah? And these extremists were our problem. Yeah? And we're fed up of them. Right? We're fed up, they're taking the piss. So that day we turned up and the police kettled us in for 3 hours. They made my auntie urinate in the street. Yeah? They stopped us, and I videoed the whole day. There's a video, you can watch this online. It's under Luton Protests on YouTube. It's called The United People of Luton. This was before any English Defence League. This is what gave birth to the English Defence League. The police made us take our shoes and socks off. The police made us take our shoes off, take our socks off. Yeah? And as they're doing all this, and I'm videoing it, they're putting their hands in our pockets. I said, lads, I watched you that day. Yeah? When they come down to attack our soldiers, you didn't make them take their shoes and socks off. You didn't put your hands on them. You certainly didn't make their women piss in the street. I said, how dare you do this to us? Yeah? When we're just coming down to show our support for our armed forces. So they blocked it all, and then they raided 14 of our houses. They went to my house. They went to my mum's house. Yeah? And then the lads I wasn't home, so the lads they nicked, they get bail conditions not to enter Luton 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 4 months. Now, what we'd done between this is we'd set up a petition asking for Al Mujahideen, the terrorist group, to be banned from the town. Rather than ban them, they banned us. So then the next demonstration, I went to all the estates, met with all the lads from the estates, lads that hated each other. Like certain estates are at war with each other. Went to them all and said, listen, on the 20th, it was a second bank holiday in May, I said, we've got to come out against the police, against all of them. And then I handed all the I went around all the estates talking to people, and on that day, I'd say 700 Luton lads turned up, and the lads weren't backing down. And there's videos of it. You can watch the videos. And when I turned up in the morning, I gave everyone balaclavas. Yeah. So I met at the pub. We all had T-shirts that said "No surrender to Al Qaeda," and I handed balaclavas to everyone and said, "Put the balaclavas on when we leave this." We met another pub on the estate, and the reason for the balaclavas was because I was wanted. Yeah? And other lads had bail conditions not to enter the town. But I said, why shouldn't we enter the town? So things went wrong on that day because the police tried to stop it again. And I rang the police. I rang the police anonymously and said, listen, because lads were putting petrol bombs in vans. Yeah, the town was about to blow. I mean, like, it was so close. I don't know how the whole town didn't go on fire. Yeah? Everyone was so pissed off and angry with what they'd done, but not what. It wasn't really the trigger for it. Wasn't what they'd done. The trigger for it was the police's reaction. The trigger for it was how they thought they could treat us and compared to how they treat them. And at that point, I rang the police. The lads had a transit van parked near Farley. We were the ones stopping it. Yeah? If I'm honest, stopping it because Farley all backs down onto the Muslim community. And then I rang the police and said, I'm telling you straight, if we don't get to that war memorial, the town's going on fire. And that's how strong everyone's feeling about it. So just stay the fuck out of the way. Stay the fuck out of the way and let everyone get to that war memorial. But and then the newspaper, then when I watch on the news, as our councillors and our MPs are saying all these people come into Luton from outside of Luton, like watch the video, the whole place is singing We Are Luton Town. The whole place, but there was aggression, anger, frustration. That was the birth of the English Defence League.
Okay.
It went mad from there.
So can I ask you a question?
Yep.
After listening to everything you said and having a discussion, because you obviously agree with me in terms of the government and divide and conquer, and they have agendas and they do things, do you not think that your reaction and creating the English Defence League, you fell into their trap? Because before 9/11 happened, there was no problems with Muslims.
Yeah, I believe
there was no terrorism and there was no problems with Muslims. So the 9/11, personally, it's going to get a bit controversial, but my personal beliefs, and I'm entitled to my personal beliefs, is that it was an inside job. And there's a lot of people who feel the same way. I
don't think you're alone in that opinion.
Right, there's a lot of people who feel the same way. I don't think that the Arabs who they're claiming flew a plane into the Twin Towers.
And their passport dropped on the floor.
And their you know...
undamaged.
And
when you think about it now, it's absolutely insanity, isn't it? That anyone even bought it.
And then they had no intelligence, the MI5, the Mossad, the FBI, all of these people had no intelligence whatsoever. They didn't know what was going to happen. And these people just came out of nowhere and flew planes into the building. So if that is correct, and they did do that, there's obviously an agenda and a reason why they did do that. And the reason why they did that is to divide and conquer and to make Islam and the Muslims look bad. So then they can then get the reaction of people like yourselves who do EDL, English Defence League, divide and conquer. Now they've got you guys fighting against the Muslims. And then the Muslims, in regards to the Muslims, I think there's 2 types of Muslims, 3 types. There's one type who I feel are not even Muslims, and they get paid by government officials to carry out the acts, to put a beard on and pretend that they're Muslims and carry out these atrocities in the name of Allah, perpetrating to be Muslims so that they can get people angered up to want to fight against them. Then you have the Muslims who are uneducated and are brainwashed, are shown footage of people being attacked, innocent Muslim people dying. They're saying to them, look what the government's doing to them, revving them up to get up and get ready for war, brainwashing them. And then when they get over there, they realise that that's not the case at all, and they actually regret going over there, but it's too late by then. They've already carried out the atrocities or whatever it is they've done. They're most wanted, they're in Guantanamo Bay, it's done for them. Then you have the third who don't do anything at all.
I'd say that before September 11th, there's 1,400 years of history of Islamic jihad. The Battle of the Gates of Vienna in 1683 was the Ottoman Empire massacring the whole of Christianity. There would be no Christianity if it wasn't for the Battle of the Gates of Vienna. That was on September 11th, actually, 1683. I believe that if we want to go through historical battles of jihad, where Islam and followers of Islam were violently driving their way through the world to take over it, then it's there.
But we can also say that about the Christians.
We went with the Crusades, which was taking back the land that was taken. But what I'm saying is, so yes, I totally sympathise or agree that many times attacks, I never would have bought into false flags. Again, my mindset shifts a lot as I get older and look at lots of things that don't make sense. Yeah? I believe that the attacks on September 11th were needed by the American war machine. And I think they wanted them. So whether they took part in it, whether they allowed it, none of us are ever going to know. Yeah, but I don't believe 19 Saudis of their own accord, without the American intelligence services knowing anything about it, committed that attack in the way they did. You know, I don't believe the World Trade Center. I don't believe it. Yeah? I don't believe it with the more evidence has come about now, but I believe that attack allowed America and allowed the support of the American public, more importantly, because they didn't have it otherwise, to invade those countries. I believe they wanted to invade those countries. I believe even like now with the Assad, they wanted rid of Assad, they wanted rid of Gaddafi, they wanted to destabilise the Middle East, to rob the Middle East. I believe all those things, but I don't believe that, and I believe that the question was, did we play our part? As I said, I've grown up in Luton. I'm not talking about September the 11th. I'm not talking about terrorism. Certain parts I am. I know many of the men that have been joined these radical groups. I know them. Yeah, they're not actors. Roger, I used to hang around with. Yeah, I know him. Beaky, I went to school with. Saif al-Islam, I know him. Yeah, I know the majority of those men who joined that group. They will tell you they're Muslim. They believe every word that's in that book. They believe they are fighting a very just cause. They believe they are following the instructions of Allah. That's what they believe. And they believe wholeheartedly, which you have to not admire, but they don't doubt for 1 second they're doing the right thing. Yeah? You may call that brainwashing, some people may call that brainwashing, but that's what they do. And so do I believe we played our part? It's like currently now. It's currently now with the Palestinian demonstrations. So for 6 months, nearly 4 months, 5 months, they've took liberties in London. People climbing war memorials, people chanting for gassing of Jews, people flying Hamas flags, people flying ISIS flags. The hatred we're seeing, yeah, and the police have done fuck all about it. I'm banned from London. They nicked me. I'm banned. Yeah. So I believe, will I be playing my part? So the minute my ban's off from London, I will lead a march to stop those rallies. Yeah? There's no opposition to them. There's no opposition. Yeah? They're just allowed to do this week in, week out. They're allowed. If I wanted to protest outside the East London Mosque, say I did, yeah, I don't. Right? Used to think it was a good idea, don't now. Yeah, say I wanted to, they wouldn't let me. So why are you letting them march past our war memorials at sacred times? Why are you allowing them to go and desecrate them? Why are you allowing them to climb up them? Yeah, you wouldn't let us. If we're climbing mosques, we'll all be in jail. Yeah? Why are you allowing it? Sometimes, and I think they're allowing it because they're scared. They don't know what to do. They've got so many problems. They've got so many extremists now. They don't know what to do, and they're clamping down on anyone who speaks out against it. So did we play our part with the English Defence League? As I've said, we set up a petition. We tried to have them banned. Didn't work. I'd watched as they destroyed my hometown. I've watched as they've absolutely destroyed the hometown. Yeah? And nothing's happened. Now, the story before, we went from Luton, Anjem Chowdhury and his group held an Islamic roadshow in Birmingham. There was a young boy called Sean who they converted. He was 11 years old. They converted him to Islam.
I saw that.
Now, the Islam they converted him to. So there's many Muslims who are moderate, many Muslims who, if someone leaves Islam, won't want to kill them. Yeah? But many Muslims don't believe you can leave Islam. Yeah, it's punishable by death. It's the same in Saudi Arabia. It's the same in Qatar. You leave Islam to convert to Christianity, you're dead.
Yeah, we're actually going to get to that because I disagree with that completely.
Yeah, you're dead. But so then they're converting people. They're converting a child whose life's now in danger if he actually wants to leave. Yeah, and no one said anything. So we watched, and no one stopped it. I was waiting for the Labour politicians. I was waiting for the media to do something. No one done anything. So I believe that the English Defence League was needed at that moment in time. At that time in our history, at a time when the police forces across this country had conspired with governments and religious leaders to hide the fact that a generation of our daughters had been enslaved, raped, tortured and murdered across this country by Islamic rape gangs, they'd covered it up, and they could cover it up no more when thousands of young men were hitting the streets screaming about it, singing about it, placards about it. So I believe it was needed at the time. I left the English Defence League. Remember, I left. I didn't get forced to leave. I left the English Defence League because I felt at that moment, I felt by continuously hitting into Muslim areas, we were giving the radicals perfect feeding to say, look, like, they hate us. Yeah, I believe at that time it didn't. I know because I'm from Luton, and we'd had 2 rallies in Luton. I didn't think it benefited to march through Luton again. So if it didn't benefit to march through my hometown again, because I believe we'd put a rocket into the council already. We'd already made them think, fucking hell, these lot are angry, yeah? We need to start addressing some of the problems, which they did. They started addressing grooming. They started addressing the rapes. They started looking at funding. The Luton Borough Council called me for a meeting in the first 3 months of set. When the English Defence League blew up, they called me for a meeting. I sat down. I went down to the meeting. There's about 10 of them there. They set up cameras. They had a baroness, a black baroness from the Labour government there. And I said to them, there's about 10 of them, and I said, I'm going to prove my point here. Where do you live? St Albans. Where do you live? Harpenden. Where do you live? Hitchin. These are all the people who are running Luton Borough Council. They're all posh places. They're nice, like here. Yeah. None of you live in Luton. Mohammed, because one of the councillors was Mohammed. I said, you live in Berry Park, don't you, bruv? He said, yeah, I do. I said, yeah, you're in touch with what's going on in this town. The rest of you don't represent me. None of you represent us. And they said, okay, so tell us why you're angry. Tell us what you're angry about. I goes, all right. And I took them, and I took a journalist with me. And we went up to Farley Hill. Farley Hill is one of the most deprived council estates in Great Britain. Yeah, one of the poorest. And it's not now, at that time, because everywhere's changing so quick, it was a white working class council estate. I said, you see this park? This park here is from the 1970s. You built this in the 1970s. We'll drive down the road to the Muslim community. That's a £330,000 state-of-the-art park. You're taking the piss. Yeah, everything has gone to them. Yeah, their community centres are free. Yeah, when Luton played at Wembley Stadium, yeah, 45,000 fans. Where everyone stand outside, and I had this out with the council. About 10 coaches pulled up, and loads of Muslim kids got off, and they're all free, all put on for free. Yeah, I said, what's that? I said, we're trying to integrate into. I said, integration would have been white, black, and Asian kids on the coaches. You're just pissing us off. I said, you're taking liberties. Yeah, you've absolutely forgotten us and neglected us, white working class. Now, the biggest academic underachievers nationally, white working class children. Yeah, 40% of black kids on free meals go to university. Yeah, 13% of white kids. Yeah, we have been failed institutionally. You've forgotten us. Now in Luton, the way that Labour Party regained power is they do a deal with the Council of Mosques. It was 19 mosques, it's now 45. I'm going back to when we started the English Defence League. So they sit down with the Muslim community, they do an agreement, yeah, you'll get this, we'll fund this, one field with those. And then they get voted in. We're irrelevant now. We're irrelevant. We don't organise ourselves in a military fashion to vote. I remember Luton Borough Council, Hazel Simmons was the head of it. And when we went up to her at a meeting, she just said, there's not enough for you. She looked at us like shit. Not enough for you. They didn't care. We're not keeping them power. The Muslim community are. Now at that point, and Muslim leaders then come on the radio, yeah, having a go. There was a church debate, and the Muslim leaders said, you've done it to us. You've overfunded us. Yeah, and they had overfunded them. And so I took the council and I showed them all these things, and I went through why we're upset. We're upset because certain people we know's daughters are being raped. Police aren't doing anything. Certain girls are converting to Islam, not allowed to see their parents.
We're going to get to that because I've got all of that coming up. There's so many questions that I want to ask you. But before we get, I want to say, is it fair to say that at the time when you first started the EDL, that you was a racist and that you was fueled by violence and hate towards the Muslims and Islam? The reason why I say this is because the EDL are a far-right extremist movement that are driven by hate, racism and violence, a movement that concludes of football hooligans and far-right activists who hate and target Muslims and Islam. They have no control over their behaviour and conduct themselves in an inappropriate manner. They get drunk and chant racial abuse such as the following: Allah is a pedo, astaghfirullah. We all hate Muslims, and derogatory words as nigger, etc. They also attack police officers, protesters, as well as black people, and have even fought journalists. Example, Bolton, March the 20th, 2010, more than 1,000 people turned up to oppose the EDL. Police made 73 arrests and 54 of them were anti-racist arrests. Also, 5 years ago, Ali Dar was invited to speak at the Freedom of Speech event. He was turned away as apparently you decided that you no longer wanted him to speak. Is that true?
I'll explain it all now.
Okay. When Ali tried to make inquiries as to why he was no longer able to talk, things got out of hand. Outnumbered by football lads associations, Brother Ali, who was accompanied by Brother Muhammad Hijab, was attacked. He was punched and kicked from all angles. The EDL supporters were screaming and shouting things like, your prophet is a paedophile. These people are all uneducated, ignorant, arrogant individuals who talked about wanting foreigners out of the UK. My question is, do they not take into consideration the fact that their own government are responsible for conquering and invading more countries and nations than any other nation in history? And just to give a few facts in it, just to name a few, I'm going to start with Europe first. So Ireland, France, Spain, Belgium, Italy, Iceland, Norway, Denmark, Austria, Corsica, Germany, Russia, basically all of Europe. Then we look at Africa. Again, I'm going to name only a few, not all. Gambia, Sierra Leone, Zimbabwe, Ghana, South Africa, Eritrea, Egypt, Papua New Guinea, Botswana, Libya, Cameroon and Nigeria. The Americas, Canada, Oregon, Bahamas, St. Lucia, Honduras, Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Panama, Peru, Mexico. Other countries such as Bosnia, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Iran 3 times, Lebanon, Turkey, Yemen, Malaysia, India, Pakistan, Singapore, China, Thailand, Australia. And these are just a few.
What are they?
These are just a few of the countries that they've invaded, but there's way more. But yet the EDL are saying that they want foreigners out of their country, which I find...
So I'll start off at the start. First of all, you started saying the EDL was a far-right extremist racist organisation. Where'd you get that from?
It's a well-known fact.
Where'd you get that from?
I got that from news, I got that from journalists, I got that from watching their ideologies,
so the Metropolitan Police Force at Scotland Yard have an extremism unit whose job it is to categorise organisations like the English Defence League.
Okay.
So the entire time I led the English Defence League, it was categorised as a centrist organisation, not far right. Because what part of the ideology, if you look at the mission statement of the English Defence League, fits under far right? Which part? The English Defence League had a lesbian and gay division, yeah? It had a Sikh division, a Hindu division, a Jewish division, yeah? It had Muslims. Abdul was a famous Muslim supporter of the English Defence League. So which part of that fits into far right? There's nothing that fits into far right, which is why the police's advice to Muslims was to talk to the English Defence League. Yeah? That's police advice. So where you've said you got all that from the media, the same media who pushed the war in Afghanistan, the same media who pushed weapons of mass destruction, the same media, do you believe in the vaccine and COVID?
No.
The same media who told you all those lies? That same media? It's like, so the media, if you tell a lie enough times, it becomes a fact, as you've just stated. The English Defence League was a far-right racist organisation.
Okay, so let's take the far right out, because to me that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
They was racist though.
There's racist within the English Defence League.
Yeah, there's footage of them actually chanting out, the Prophet Muhammad is a paedophile.
That's not racist.
Well, it kind of is. And
if someone said Jesus,
calling black people the N-word, nigger, that's racist.
Yes, that is totally racist.
I've seen footage of that myself.
If you could send me that footage, can we put it in this video?
Yeah.
If there's footage of an English Defence League supporter seeing that, I haven't seen it. Yeah. What I'd say is there's racists in the Metropolitan Police Force. There's racists within Islam. Yeah. Does that mean the whole of Islam's racist?
No.
No. So there's a couple of racist dickheads within the English Defence League. Yeah. Does that mean the English Defence League is racist? Or are you going to separate? Because what you wouldn't want to happen, you wouldn't want the Muslim community to be tarnished because of the actions of a few. But everyone's happy to tarnish the English Defence League because of actions of a few. You're talking like every English Defence League supporter was a racist dickhead, yeah? Whereas
I can't say that because I don't know them all individually.
So obviously the English Defence League was a nationalist organisation. It attracted the brave and at times the stupid. Yeah, at times.
Because you even decided to.
I had battles I had battles with racists in my leadership of the English Defence League. Yeah, but the vast majority of people I met in that organisation were decent, hard-working, patriotic British people who are fed up, and in fact, the same sort of people now who would convert to Islam are the same sort of people, or be driven to extremism, were the same sort of people who were lost as well within groups like this, yeah.
So you do agree that there was some people within EDL that was racist?
100%. Of course there was. Yeah, of course there were. But when they raised their heads, they were kicked down. Again, like if you cherry pick it, yeah. But if you don't, and you actually take, so some people. There's only one thing anyone can ever take. I gave probably 100 speeches at 100 demonstrations at the English Defence League. Do you know after Lee Rigby's murder? Do you know what I said in my speech when I stood up to 10,000 English Defence League supporters? 600 Muslims are serving in the British Armed Forces. Yeah? They're doing a lot more than us. Right? If you abuse a Muslim woman walking down the street, you're a coward and a scumbag. If you smash up a mosque, you're a moron. Why don't that ever get played? Why does no one say that? And do you know what everyone did? They clapped. They agreed. Yeah? But the portrayal that's given, and I tried to explain to Muslims, like, it's like going to a football on a match day. Yeah, we're going into a city where people are coming out each time to attack us. Yeah, you sit those people down, which I've done with Muslims. I held a meeting with English Defence League leaders from across the country and brought Muslims into the meeting. I said, let's all talk. Yeah, let's all talk. Let us tell you why we're pissed off. You tell us why you're pissed off. We found a lot of the reasons we're pissed off isn't actually to do with each other. It's to do with the council. A lot of them. It's to do with the council changing the name of Christmas. It's to do with the council sort of trying to appease communities when I don't think there's a Muslim in the UK who gives a shit if we have Christmas. Yeah? But the council want to call it winter illuminations and stuff like that, which pisses us all off. And when it pisses us off, or Christians or non-Muslims, we get pissed off thinking it's the Muslims, and that's partly to do with some liberal moron within the council making a decision based on diversity that no one wants. But a lot of the issues you read there. So
in regards to Ali Dawah.
Ali Dawah. So Ali Dawah made a video. Ali Dawah, where my mother used to live. Ali Dawah went and made a video at the end of the road at my mum's address. Yeah, and you can see
I saw
he made a video and he's talking in the video, and behind it is a thing that's next to my mum's old house. Right? What happened? What had to happen then? Because Muslims do want to kill me. Yeah, when he put that address out and he said the door number. When he put that out, that family had to have police guard. I had to go sit with that family who had bought the house off my mum. Yeah, it was a young mother with kids. Right.
So this was before the freedom.
This was before the freedom rally.
Okay.
Yeah? Young mother with kids. Right. So I sat down. And she's crying her eyes out in her new home. I said, I'm so sorry, man. They're doing this because they think that this address is linked to me. Yeah? And I made a video saying, it's not my house. All right? There's some poor woman in this house now, you mug. All right? And then he rang me up, didn't he? And he's talking about door numbers. I said, mate, you knock on my door, I'll murder you. It's as simple as that. I've got kids in my house. I'm not going to play games. If you think you're going to knock on the door and be funny with a camera when you're a little jihadi supporter, I'll kill you on my doorstep. So don't come to my house, yeah? Because if you think you're going to track me down and find me at my house, it's going to end badly for you, Ali, yeah? So that had happened, right? So when we were holding a freedom of speech event that cost me £25,000, right? Didn't cost Ali Dawah anything. Yeah? He didn't contribute to that event, yeah? Now, Lucy, who worked for me at the time, who's a liberal, bit clueless, yeah, if I'm honest, who doesn't understand Ali Dawah, you said brother Ali. Ali believes that Ali would marry his daughter off at 9 years old. Do you want me to show you the video when he said that?
No, I saw the video.
Do you still call him brother?
Yeah.
Do you still call him brother?
Yeah, I do still call him brother.
Even though he'd marry his 9-year-old daughter?
No, he wouldn't.
He said he would.
No, I watched the video. He's talking about when he saw you outside the court.
No, not that day. No, there's another video of him at Speaker's Corner saying, yeah, I'd allow my daughter to marry. At 9?
Yeah, but he also does state that it's not just when you reach the age of 9. There's a criteria to it. You have to reach the Quran for you to be able to marry off somebody at the age of 9. You can't just do that.
It had to start puberty.
But there has to be the mental element.
Who decides the mental element?
Probably maybe the parent, the guardian.
So if Ali, and Ali said, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure if he thought that was those elements weren't there.
So if a parent decides,
I don't think he would let his. He
said he would. He said he would. And so if brother Ali and brother Mohammed Hijab. Now Mohammed Hijab turned up with a gum shielding. A gum shielding. Yeah. So he didn't come to debate. He turned up at a rally to provoke with a gum shielding. Now Ali Dawah, what I said to Lucy, I said. We were holding a free speech event. I believe in free speech. I said, if Ali wants to, yeah, because tell him he needs to ring my mum. Tell him he needs to go apologise to my mother, yeah, because of the upset he caused by messing around with her address. Yeah, that's what he needs to do. So get him to ring me and tell him to do it. Yeah, he didn't ring me and he didn't do it.
So
the next day, he was never talking.
Previous to that, did you agree that he was?
No. She said about Ali Dawah, and I said, tell him to ring me, yeah, and tell him to make an apology, yeah. If he does that, let's talk, yeah. He didn't do that.
Yeah, I think if he did do that, that was wrong. He shouldn't have done that.
He did do that. There's videos of him at the end of my mum's road.
He should have.
I didn't go to his mum's house. I've never been to his mum's house.
Yeah, that's very wrong. You don't do that, and he should have apologised.
And not just that, but the threats. He's a little jihadist supporter. So's Mohammed Hijab. They've always been that play. They turned up to provoke a reaction. They got the reaction they wanted. Yeah. If I walked into the middle of a Muslim demonstration with a gum shield on, yeah, they're going to react a certain way, and rightfully so. Yeah. If I went there talking, so I went to there was Muslims protesting about the burning the Quran recently outside the embassy. They were very pleasant to me. Yeah. I went. There's hundreds of them there. But if I'd have gone with my mates in an aggressive manner, like they did, yeah, and turned up with gum shields on, ready to fight, basically, then it would have been a different scenario. They got what they wanted. They wanted a bit of attention. That's what Ali wanted. Yeah. He wanted attention. He was always trying to track me down to get attention. Yeah, off the back of my support, off the back of confronting me. When he did confront me, he admitted that he believes the legal age for sex should be when a girl starts her puberty, which means, in my eyes, he's a paedophile. So, and I wouldn't be calling a paedophile my brother. I don't think it's a good look.
Okay, but the only thing is, I don't necessarily agree with what you say. That's your perception, because he does clearly state that, you know, it's not just he says you're 9 years old, you can get married. He does say that there's a criteria to it, and
but
also
what's the criteria?
we're going to get to that. That's going to come. That's going to come after. We are going to get to. There's a few things that I'm going to touch up.
What was the other point you made about the English Defence League?
So yeah, we're going back to the English Defence League again.
You said,
So I wanted to ask you. You made a decision to leave the EDL,
Yep.
which I greatly respect, and it must have been a very difficult decision to make. When you left the EDL, what was that like? Because you obviously I'm sure they wasn't happy with the fact that you had left the EDL.
So leaving the English Defence League was probably the hardest decision I've ever made, probably, in the sense that the English Defence League became my life, took over my life. It ended up becoming part of who I was. I say it to anyone. Who did I say it to yesterday? I said it to some fellow mate yesterday. I said, your life's about to change, because once you dip your toes into these politics, if you believe in this, if you believe in the cause, it's going to take over your life. And it took over my life. It took over my, like, I always said I was a great leader to the English Defence League, but at the time probably not a great father and not a great husband, certainly not a great husband actually. Sorry, Jenna. But I wasn't a great husband. It took over my life. So when I made the decision to leave, it was a difficult decision, but it ended up being, for me, remember, the things you were talking about, people acting like idiots. Who's the face in the English Defence League?
You.
Who has to sit there and take the flak for some moron who I don't even agree with? Yeah, I don't agree with what he's saying or doing, and now I'm the one. It's on my head. Yeah, and so I'd fought for years, as you said. So you can get the footage. There's footage in about 2 years into the English Defence League, 2010, 2011. I went to a Blackburn demonstration, and there was a group within the English Defence League who had their own name. It was North East Infidels and North West Infidels. Yeah, two separate groups, right, in the North West and the North East, who stood very differently against what I was standing against. I didn't want to talk against immigration, yeah, from the start. Yeah, my problem was with Islam and followers of Islam and the extremism within Islam. That's what I wanted to discuss. I didn't want to go off and talk about any other things. I just wanted to focus on this one point, and they didn't like that, and they were far right. Yeah, they were racist. Against everyone, basically. Yeah? Many of them were. But they hadn't done enough. So we started looking at them, and at first they'd drawn up, some of them, even this group from Wales, they when they first turned up, they dressed normally. As the demonstrations went on, they got Dr. Martin boots on, they're coming out of themselves, who they are. And then I went up, and I remember there was a Channel 4 documentary, you can watch it, it's called Proud and Prejudiced. And I met up, and these journalists were coming to film a documentary with me for the first time. And when they turned up, I said, they goes, what's happening today? I said, I'm kicking it all off, lads. And they said, what? I said, I'm going to kick it off when we get up here. Yeah. And then and when I got up on stage, there's footage of this, I hold an Asian Sikh lad's hand up. And I say, if you don't like what you see here, yeah, you're in the wrong movement. Okay? So this is our movement, yeah? Created on our principles. Right? And I say this because of my upbringing. I'm not from an exclusively white area. Yeah? Most of the people I love ain't white. Right? That's how I'm brought up. So I said, if you have a problem with this, I said, he's as English as any one of you. Yeah? He's born here. He's as English as any one of you. Yeah? So if you have a problem with that, and I think we've done a lot to educate some white working class from council estates around the country. We've done a lot to push education on them, on the contributions of other sections of immigrants that have done to the country as well, especially the Sikh community. Yeah. So I said, if you don't like what you see, you're in the wrong place. And then I started reading out their names. I said, Alan, what was his name? Alan Smith, show yourself. Yeah. I said, come up and show yourself. I said, because you're in here, fucking, I'm reading all your racist bullshit, and you shouldn't be here. And then about 30 of them come us. They all come marched up to the stage. They've all got Skull and Crossbones t-shirts on, which is the sign of Combat 18. So real far-right extremist groups. They all come up. I come off the stage. Remember, Alan Smith is from Newcastle, the Geordie. I come off the stage, and my intention was to knock them out on camera. My intention was to kick it all off. Remember, I wasn't a politician. Yeah? I'm not a politician. Right? I'm running a street movement. Right? I'm running a street movement, and we need to divide this street movement. And when this happened, all hell broke loose. Everyone's fighting. And the news media said the English Defence League are fighting each other. So no, we're clearing out. Yeah, we're getting rid of them. Yeah, and then after that, so I actually got prosecuted. So one of my prosecutions is for knocking out a Nazi. Everyone's like, yeah, you got done for an ABH. I said, yeah, well, we had to at that stage. Well, that was my intention. And then when I got back to the stage, I can show you the pictures. There's about 30 of them waiting, corkscrews in their hands. All hell's gone off again. And then, but it worked. They never come back. So they never come back. And then I made a video when I got home. I said, listen, if you turn back up, it's on. Yeah, because most football hooligans, which was the men that filled the ranks of the English Defence League, are not racist, not neo-Nazi, and won't tolerate it. Yeah, they're not going to tolerate the N word. They're not going to tolerate all that. Yeah, because they're normal lads. They're normal lads. In most football hooligan firms around the country are black lads. Yeah, so no one's tolerating it. So at that point, I made a video saying, "Turn up again, it's on." Now the line's been drawn. Yeah, and it worked. And then I went to jail. And when I went to jail, they were all back. So I come out of jail and I'm looking at videos, thinking the fucking Northwest Infidels flags at my demo. Yeah. And for me, I said, I'm the face of this. And then I looked and thought, those groups come about when I kicked people out of the English Defence League. So we had Southie, we had all these different letters, 3 letters of groups, yeah. And they had the English Defence League here, and they'd all loiter around, and they'd attack me for anything I'm doing, yeah. They hate me. I'm a race traitor. I'm now a Zionist. I'm all these things, yeah. So they'd always be attacking me because they wanted what we had, but they can't do it. Because the reason the English Defence League was so big and such a phenomenon that made so many headlines and had people in their numbers on the streets was because it wasn't racist. Yeah? It's because it wasn't neo-Nazi. Because neo-Nazis get 20 people on the street because they're morons. Yeah, the English Defence League was mainstream. The reason the people filled the ranks of it was because they were listening to the message of non-racism, yeah, of equality. I always say it was English Defence League, or it was equality, democracy, liberty. Yeah, we were standing for things, and we weren't promoting hatred. Yeah, and if you listen to our speeches, if you listen to my speeches at every rally. Yeah, not listen to the little 10-second clips that they were pulling out, or what they'd do is they'd come to a demonstration with 5,000 people and they'd clip four lads with bald heads and cans of beer, and they'd portray that as the movement. Yeah?
But, there was one that I saw you do, but I know that I think Piers Morgan pulled you up on it, and I know you cleared it up and you apologised and you said that you didn't mean it in that way, where you was addressing the
Muslim community.
Yeah,
I did mean
every
it
single Muslim,
yeah,
all you Muslims.
2011, yeah. It was in Tower Hamlets.
You can see why that looks as though.
It does. No, I did. No, it doesn't look like it. It was like.
I wasn't going to mention it because you already spoke about it and apologised.
No, I did like it.
It's fair to keep bringing it up.
I was the leader of a pressure movement. Our job was to put pressure on the Islamic community and the police. Yeah? We thought that within the Islamic community we'd cause a revolution where the mainstream Muslim community would get that pissed off with the extremists. They'd turn on them. That didn't happen. Yeah? That didn't happen. So my job was to put pressure. That's what I was trying to do, was put pressure. In that speech, what I said is, in 7/7 you got away with killing and maiming on the streets of our country. You won't get away with it again. I said we've built an army across the country. Yeah. Again, young, out of 100 speeches, that is the only thing. Think about how many times I've been on camera. Yeah. Think about all the covert recordings there are of me. Yeah.
That's why I wasn't going to mention it because you mentioned it.
But I did say that, and but my point is that the English Defence League was not far right. We tackled more. Do you know? I went home, and when I went home, I made a video, and I made a video saying, if anyone's got a problem, come to Luton, to the far right. Yeah. I made a video calling out Al Mujahideen and Blood and Honour. Yeah, I didn't just call out the Islamic radicals. I called out the white supremacists. Yeah, and you saw at Marxford Union speech. They made a video. Silly, these dickheads made a video. Remember, I used to do the merchandise. Yeah, so they made a video burning the English Defence League flag. Yeah, but it had another logo on it. It had another finger on it. So this bloke, they're all wearing balaclavas saying, "Tommy Robinson, you're dead." Yeah, I just went on and looked up and thought, where does I send that? Some dickhead in Birmingham rang him up. So what are you doing? We'll take the balaclava off. I know who you are, bruv. Why are you wearing a balaclava? Yeah? But then I made a video saying, if any of you got a problem, if anyone's got a problem with me, I'm 5'6" and I'm in Luton. Yeah, I'm not hard to find, lads. Yeah, stop giving it because they're all saying they're going to kill me. I got it from both sides. I still get it from both sides. The most hate I get really comes from the white supremacists. Yeah? So I'm still getting it from both sides. But I made the video saying everyone's got a problem, and then I was in London and I get a phone call from where Luton's football hooligans drink. The landlord rings up and says, some fella in here from Newcastle wants you, Tommy. I said, all right, sound. So I've jumped on the train, I've come back. Alan Smith was his name. And I walked in, he's one of the North East Infidels. He goes, I watched your video. I was so pissed off. When I watched your video, you're calling us all out. He said, so I've come down here. He goes, now I'm here, I'm not as pissed. I said, get out of the back of the pub. And then we went and swung it out of the back of the pub. I pulled a whitey afterwards. I was so unfit, man. I got sick.
No, that's one thing about you. I do say though, you You got balls.
But this is when I went, and then I'm getting called a Nazi. I think we've done more to combat them than anyone's done. We've done more to educate than anyone's done. You may not like my opinion, and I'm very strong on it. Yeah, about Islam. Yeah, I still am.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna come to that next. So you state that you're not a racist and that you're not against Muslims.
I don't think, as you said calling Muhammad a paedophile. Some Muslims take that as racism. I find that insane. If you insult Jesus, it's not racism. If you insult Buddha, it's not racism.
All right, we're gonna get to that as well. So you state that you're not a racist and that you're not against Muslims, but you're against Islam as a religion. When in fact,
as an ideology.
Yeah, okay, as an ideology, but also Islam is a religion.
It's a full concept of life. It's law. It's legal.
Exactly.
It's everything.
Yeah. So yeah,
more than a religion.
Well, we're gonna get to that. When in fact, you should be saying the opposite. Because Islam is not the problem, the so-called Muslims are the problem. And then just to clarify what an Islamophobe is. So the dictionary...
No, it wasn't in the dictionary. Go back through history, there's no such word in the dictionary.
Yeah, now it is.
Oh, now they've created it.
Now it is.
Now they've created it.
So now they've created it.
They've created a word to protect Islam from criticism.
So it's the dislike of or prejudice against Islam or Muslims, especially as a political force, or the fear of, hatred of, or prejudice against the religion of Islam or Muslims in general. So I'll ask you again.
Where did you get that word from, Islamophobe?
From, it's, I don't know, it's a word that gets thrown
around. No, but what I mean
is
it in the dictionary?
Yeah, it's in the dictionary.
Is Christian phobe in the dictionary?
Do you know what? I didn't check that.
No, it's not. Why not?
I didn't check
it's
that.
Not. Why not?
But we'll get to that. So wait. So I'm gonna after giving
just as long as this protection. Yeah?
Wait, listen. Yeah, because obviously, right, things like obviously things will have to adapt, isn't it? Because as time goes, things change. For example, before we didn't have telephones, we didn't have internet. So now there's new laws that apply to online harassment, for example, which never existed before. So as new things come, new laws are going to apply, right?
New words,
right? Anyway, so look. So after I've just given you the definition of an Islamophobe, I'm going to ask you again one more time. Do you consider yourself as an Islamophobe?
There's no such word. So a phobia is an irrational fear, right?
Okay.
It's rational to fear. If I open up a book and there's verses in there that call for my death as a non-Muslim, if there's verses in there that talk about enslaving women, if there's verses in there that talk about beating women, if there's all these verses, is it irrational when this is being promoted to fear it? Is it irrational to fear? Is it irrational to fear the scenes we saw at the Ariana Grande concert? Is it irrational to fear knowing that there are 3,000 to 4,000 terrorists on a 24-hour day, 7 days a week, 24-hour watch? Yeah, knowing that 4 times as many British Muslims went to join ISIS than have ever joined the British Army. Is it irrational?
All right, can I answer that?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, it's not irrational.
So it's not phobia.
Hang on, wait. If we're talking about the actual Quran and we're talking about the actual real Islam, then it's irrational because there's explanations for all of this stuff that you're saying. But if we're talking about, I'm going to get to it. But if we're talking about people who are terrorists, they are not Muslims. Because you're saying that these people are terrorists. You mentioned the Ariana Grande concert. Yep. What they did, that's not Islam. That's against Islam. Islam.
So Salman Abedi, who committed that terrorist attack, could recite the Quran without looking at it.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything.
Who knows the Quran more?
That doesn't mean anything.
Who knows the Quran better though, him or you? If he can recite it without looking at it.
Okay, but it's not as simple as that. It's not. I'm more educated than him.
Yeah.
Even if I don't know it, I'm more educated than him because the way he interprets it. I wouldn't do what he does because I know. Look,
it's me.
No, it's not. It's me. It's because I'm a Muslim and I follow the correct way of Islam. It's not because it's me. So, for example, in Islam, it clearly states. Allah states that if you take the life of one soul, it's as though you took the soul of the whole of humanity. Save one soul, it's as though you saved the whole soul of humanity.
Do you know what verse
when it comes to war, I don't.
Okay,
but one sec. When it comes to war, there's rules to war.
Yeah.
So if you're in battle, you're not allowed to touch a tree. You're not allowed to touch someone who's in prayer. You're not allowed to attack someone who's not attacking you. You're not allowed to attack innocent people, women or children. There's rules. Unlike Christianity, where they tell you to kill children, women, donkeys.
You see the verse you just quoted?
Yeah.
If you kill one man, you kill all of humanity. Do you know what? Do you mind if I do something? Because I am here. Yeah? Let me just... Because it has to be done, man. It's not right that... And I only have this we're going to interview someone about the Quran. 5:33, 5:32. So What it actually says, let's read it. Right? What it actually says is, if you kill one man, you kill all of humanity, unless they cause mischief. And then you execute.
Yeah, but again, see, there you go again. You're taking it out of context. This applies to a certain time. This applies to the time of the Prophet.
Yeah,
Ibn
Kathir is the biggest Saudi scholar in the world.
Okay.
Ibn Kathir says that the word mischief means not believing in Allah. Ibn Kathir is the most recognised and renowned Saudi scholar there is. Now, this isn't your interpretation, so great, but his interpretation, he's the most listened to, says that the word mischief means not believing in Allah. So the verse you quoted, if you kill one man, you kill all of humanity, unless, which is a big word, they cause mischief. And then you execute them, you cut off their hands and feet, and you exile them from the land.
Okay,
so
again.
Kill them. So the verse you said is peaceful, actually says kill them.
No, again, you're taking it out of context.
I'm not taking it out of context.
That's the first thing. And Ibn Kathir, he said that word means...
Mischief.
Mischief means non-believer.
Mischief. He
so
means not believing in Allah.
So one sec. So just because he is somebody that a lot of people listens to, that means we have to take what he says.
No, it means that millions do, so it's a problem.
But that's their problem. That's not Islam's problem.
But it's our problem because it's Islamic teaching.
Yeah,
well, okay.
it's not our problem as Muslims because that's not Islamic. But it's our problem because these people...
Okay, so it is a problem because you quoted,
Yeah.
Because of that we ordained in the children of Israel that if anyone killed a person not in retaliation of murder or to spread mischief in the land, it would be as if he killed all of mankind. That's the verse you quoted, yeah?
Okay.
And if anyone saved life, he saved all of mankind. The problem is, when you're talking about context, as you carry on reading, the recompense of those who wage war against Allah and his messenger and do mischief in the land is only that they shall be killed or crucified or their hands and feet cut off from opposite sides or to be exiled from the land. That is their disgrace in the world. So when we're talking about context and understanding, now it's great that you ignore number 33.
Wait, go back to the beginning of that again, read that
Because
again.
of that, we ordained for the children...
No, go back to... Yeah, okay, go on, go.
We ordained for the children of Israel that if anyone killed...
So, right, children of Israel. So what does that mean?
That if anyone... this is that if anyone killed a person, not in retaliation...
No, when Allah speaks in the Quran and he says children of Israel, he's talking about the time of the Prophet. He's talking about the children of Israel in the time of the Prophet. That doesn't apply to now, this time. Do you see what I'm talking about when I say...
Anyone who wages war against Allah and his messenger.
No, it doesn't. That is all one verse. That's the same. He's still talking about the same thing. That doesn't apply to now. Do you understand what I'm trying to say now about taking it out of context? This does not apply to today. This applies to the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him.
But that's not so what Muhammad said back then only mattered back then?
Yeah, that
doesn't matter now?
No, that doesn't apply to now.
So why don't we get rid of this?
Because it's...
Why don't we get rid of this
Because
verse?
you can't get rid of that.
We know that.
You can't get rid of that because that applies to that time. We in order for us to understand our religion now, we need to understand what happened in our history, to understand our current and to understand our future.
But the verse says clearly...
Yeah.
that if anyone causes mischief, which is actually Lee Rigby's killer, handed over that exact verse.
Okay.
That's the verse he handed over.
Okay.
And justified his killing of Lee Rigby based on.
But again, that's nothing to do with Islam. That's to do with him.
Say out of context. I'll let you say out of context.
Yeah.
Read this one, number 34. So this is Surah 4, verse 34.
Which? So okay.
So it will start here. Yeah?
Men are in charge of women.
Men are in charge of women. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So it says, Bismillah. Men are in charge of women because Allah hath made one of them to excel the other, and because they spend of their property for support of women. So good women are the obedient, guarding in secret that which Allah hath guarded. As for those from whom ye fear rebellion, admonish them and banish them to beds apart and scourge them.
Scourge them. Do you know what scourge means?
What does it mean?
We'll get translation up from the translation.
Okay.
That's a whip used as an instrument.
Okay.
So what he's saying is, if your wife doesn't obey you, whip her.
Firstly, who wrote this Quran? That's the first thing.
This is the main recognised Quran.
Let's go to there.
Hilali.
Because again, this is misleading again.
Okay.
Because the word you're going to find is different. It's darab.
That is sold.
It's darabun. The word is darabun. That's what it is. And the word darabun, there's loads of meanings for darabun. Darabun doesn't just mean hit.
So should we delete that verse?
We'll delete the translation.
Delete the translation.
Yeah, delete the translation. Definitely delete the translation. We don't know. What book is this? I've never seen a Quran like this before in my life.
It's the Quran. Read who it's from. 434. Where are we?
Carol jacket design by Carol. Who wrote this Quran?
Okay, so this is Al Hilali, isn't it?
It doesn't even say who wrote this Quran.
This one's Al Hilali. It's the most recognised in the world. Al
okay,
Hilali,
one second.
This is Al Hilali.
So Alfred, he's not even a Muslim. The person that did this is not even a Muslim.
Let me see. It is.
Where's Alfred? That's not a Muslim name. Alfred.
That's the printer. Yeah.
Okay.
Every man's library. That's
So
the library.
where's the person that actually wrote this? Because I've never seen this Quran in my life. That's what I'm saying. You have to be careful
This
what books
is-
you're reading,
Okay.
because people have agendas.
The meanings. This is the Quran. Yeah. This is the Quran. But look here. Okay. This
Nah,
is
I
Al
don't-
Halali.
I don't think-
This
I
is
wouldn't
Al
take
Halali.
this person
Al
as the
Halali.
Quran.
Men are the protectors and maintainers of women.
Okay, let me read that one. Take
Because
that.
Allah has made one over the other.
Yeah, which is true. That's not a lie.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Where is it?
And then.
Okay, so men are the protectors and maintainers of women because Allah has made one of them to excel the other, and because they spend to support them, which is true, from their means. Therefore, the righteous women are devoutly obedient to Allah and to their husbands, and guard in their husband's absence what Allah orders. Yeah, this is more correct.
Okay.
To guard, e.g., their chastity and their husband's property. As to those women on whose part you see ill conduct. Okay. Okay.
I know where it's. Did it go there? Yeah, there.
I think it does it carry on here?
Yeah, 30.
Here we go. Yeah.
Sorry.
This is the verse. So this is correct. The other one you showed me, that's not
Yeah.
correct. So admonish them first. Next, refuse to share their beds, and last, beat them lightly.
No,
okay, so
beat them, but lightly's in brackets.
wait. See, this is the problem. Now, this is the translation again. Beat them lightly. But if you read the Quran and to understand the Quran, you have to read it in Arabic because that's the original language of it,
Read me what
right?
it says in Arabic,
So
one.
one sec. So here, I'm going to tell you what I don't need.
I
that.
know it says beat them.
It says
doesn't say lightly.
One sec. It says darabun. That's the word darabun.
It doesn't say
now,
lightly.
The beautiful thing about the Arabic language is one word can mean many things. It has so many meanings. One dot, one little line can change the whole meaning. Now darabun doesn't necessarily mean hit. Darabun, there is many translations. It means demonstration. It means protest.
So why would Al Halali, the most recognised English Quran, why would it say beat them?
I don't know why he would
So
say
shall
that.
we get rid of this, Al Halali's Quran?
Maybe the translation.
Would you support getting rid of that?
I don't support his translation. I don't think he should say. I think he should say darabun, but he should explain in the translation or in the footnote that there is different meanings to darabun. At the end of the day,
the word beat is used in every single one of them.
No,
in every English
it's not used
translation.
in every
English translation of Quran.
Yes,
says beat
but they should. You have to remember, that there's people who corrupt the Bible. There is also people who are out here working trying to corrupt the Quran. Okay, now we know that
darabun, he's a Muslim.
It doesn't matter just because he's a Muslim. Let me tell you something.
So the argument is that this book's corrupt.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying his translation may be corrupt. Maybe it's not. Darabun, he's translated it as in hit. So D-A.
Hold on one sec. D-A.
R-A.
Yeah.
B-O-N. But you'd have to do it in Arabic. Because the thing is, I came across... See, when I used to go down to speak... I'm going to be so honest with you, Tommy. I used to go down to Speaker's Corner, and I used to think I know so much about the religion until I started getting asked questions by people, and they're asking me, how do you explain this and how do you... When I read this verse...
How do you spell darabun?
But you have to do it in Arabic.
Okay, can you write Arabic? 'Cause I've got Arabic
I
there.
can't write Arabic. D-A-R-A-B-O-N, I think, in English. Darija. Okay, yeah, so it comes up as that. Now, copy and paste that and put the different meanings of this word, and it's going to tell you. It's going to come up as demonstration, protest, amongst other words.
Why would...
Yeah.
Why would every English translation in the Quran say beat your wife?
I don't know, but why wouldn't they also explain that darabun has many different meanings? It doesn't necessarily mean hit. It could mean
the answer
protest.
can't be when you pick up an English Quran that says the word beat them. Yeah? We were talking about interpretation. When it clearly says beat your wife, if she doesn't agree with you, yeah, it says beat them with a whip in one. It says beat them in the English one. Yeah. If it says that, then we've got a bit of a problem, haven't we?
No, but we do have a bit of a problem. Whoever translated this needs to clear this up, and they should write that there is different meanings for the word darabun.
They've actually inserted
so you're
word
right.
that's not in it.
But also we can also argue and say that Muslims who do they follow?
There's no word darabun.
You need to do. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it for you myself after, and I'm going to send it to you, and then you can add it into the video. Yeah. But also, who do the Muslims follow?
The Prophet Muhammad.
Right. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did he ever beat his wife?
Did he ever beat his wife?
Never.
Well, there's lots of hadith. So the Prophet Muhammad, they follow the Prophet Muhammad, which is why the age for consent is when a girl.
We're going to get to that. No, we're going to get to that because I've already. So see this what we're talking about now. I had a huge problem with this.
Why?
Because I'm not a Muslim that just follows blindly. If I see something that I don't agree with, like I will question it. I'll get really personal about it. And if that came out to be true, I would not. I'd say, do you know what? I don't want to be a part of that.
So would you support not selling this Quran in the UK and getting rid of it?
No, I wouldn't support that. But what I would support is put the different that darabun has many meanings. Don't just put darabun and then let people speculate, because then you're going to have this kind of problem. So can I ask you, is that the only problem that you have with this verse, is just the fact of the darabun, the word darabun? Verse? Yeah, or do you also have the problem that men are strong over women and
men own women?
Men don't. It doesn't say that men own women.
What's it say? Men are the property. A woman is property of the man. Yeah.
It didn't say that.
Men has made one of them to excel the other, and because they spend to support them from their means. Therefore, do you know, I'm actually, because I've got the Arabic one here, so I'm meeting an Arabic lad on Wednesday to go through all this.
Okay.
For another video. Yeah. For another video, because everyone says it has to be the Arabic translation.
Yeah.
But when we look, I've got lots of verses that I have a problem with here. Yeah? Like the one you quoted. Yeah. If you kill one man, you kill all of humanity.
Yeah, but I answered that.
Unless
for you. I answered that.
Unless they kill.
Yeah, but that's in context. That's when you say, "Oh, Beni Israel," yeah, children of Israel. He's talking about the days of the prophet. He's not talking about that. Doesn't apply now.
Well, you need to. Well, okay, so it doesn't apply now. But Lee Rigby's killer handed that verse over as to why he killed.
Okay, so Lee Rigby, he's evilly mentally ill. He's been brainwashed.
Or maybe this shouldn't be accessible.
No,
verses like
no. He needs to understand. You can't read a book if you don't have an understanding. There needs to be an understanding.
Salman Abedi had an understanding.
Okay, so is it the Quran's fault or is it Allah's fault that this guy didn't? Why is it I have an understanding and he doesn't have an understanding?
Well, I think you're ignoring it.
You think I'm ignoring it?
Trust me, I'm
not ignoring it. I question every single.
Say, for example,
I question everything.
So, okay, so let's look at.
You see, even we're gonna get. I don't want to get to it now, but you see, even the apostates.
Yeah.
You can ask Muhammad Hijab, and you can ask Ali Dawa this. One day I was in Speaker's Corner.
Yeah.
And somebody came up to me, even about Sophia. People come up to me and they said to me, "Oh, did you know that if you're an apostate, you get killed?" I was like, "What?" That's the first time I'd ever heard that, and I totally disagree with that. So I got really upset and I got really angry. And I remember Muhammad Hijab was in the middle of a discussion in Speaker's Corner. Yeah. I think even Shamsi, I went up to him as well, and Ali Dawa, and I said, "Look, I need an answer for this now. Is this true?" They said to me, "Yes, there is hadiths that say this." I actually went home and I was crying. I went to my dad, I had tears in my eyes and I was crying because I was like, "Look, if this is true, this doesn't sit with me." So I went out of my way to do research on it, and I'm going to get to that after because that's also here as well. So I'm not the person who chooses to ignore, because I can't ignore. If something doesn't sit with me, then I need to find the reason why it's not sitting with me. I'm not going to blindly follow something and dedicate my life to something that is not sitting with me.
Can you read this? So this is 65:4, yeah?
Let me see.
Read this one out loud.
Okay.
Because when it comes down to interpretation, I'd love to know your answer on this.
Okay, and those of your women as have
It's
passed
talking about
the
marriage
age.
and divorce, yeah? It's explaining who you can marry, who you can divorce, when you can remarry.
Okay,
yeah?
and those of you women as have passed the age of monthly courses, for them the idha, prescribed period. If you have doubt about their periods, is 3 months. And for those who have no courses, i.e. they are still immature, their idha prescribed period is 3 months. Likewise, except in case of death.
So that's telling you how to divorce someone who hasn't started puberty.
No, it's not. Where did you get that from?
Because it says if you're immature and haven't started your courses.
Okay, wait. Hang on. What context is this now again?
It's divorce. It's Muhammad's giving explanations of how to, if someone's divorcing someone, he's telling them that you can divorce them. Yeah? If they're immature and haven't started their puberty yet.
Wait for him to get up. He will provide him from sources he never could imagine, and whoever puts his trust in Allah, then he will suffice him. Verily, Allah will.
Let's explain Muslims how to divorce a prepubescent child.
Indeed, Allah has set a measure for all things, and those of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses, for them the idha period prescribed. If you have doubt about their periods, this has got nothing to do with divorce.
If you have doubt about their periods, this is about divorce.
Okay, hang on, except in case of death. And for those who are pregnant, whether they are divorced or their husbands are dead, their idha prescribed period is until they lay down their burden, and whoever fears Allah and keeps his duty to him, he will make.
But what it says...
hang on. And for those who are pregnant, whether they are divorced or their husbands are dead. Yeah, but this is
it's
not...
the immature bit. The immature bit, he says, if you're immature and haven't started puberty...
This is not saying what you... Again, you're not understanding it right.
Explain to me what he's saying.
He's saying, and for those who are pregnant, whether they are divorced...
Immature. The immature part.
Where is that?
Just a bit higher.
For those who have no courses, i.e. they are still immature.
So if those who haven't started puberty, who are still immature, he's telling you how to divorce them.
age of period. He's not telling you how to divorce them. This is nothing. This up here is nothing to do with divorce. This is to do with divorce. He's giving you different scenarios. This is nothing to do with divorce at the top.
What was he talking about? Someone being...
He's just talking about in general. He's just talking about in general.
In general what? So he's talking about an immature woman who hasn't started a puberty, who hasn't started
Right, okay, look. Let's start from the testament. That will be an admonition given to him who believes in Allah and the last day, and whoever fears Allah and keeps his duty to him. He will make a way for him to get out of every difficulty, and he will provide for him sources he never could imagine. This is nothing to do with divorce. Yeah? Then you carry on to number 4. And those of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses for them, the idha prescribed period.
What's idha mean?
So basically, we're going to get to this as well because you spoke about Sophia, where you said that the Prophet beheaded her, killed her father and killed her son, and then slept with her the same night, basically raped her. This is the idha. What you said is impossible. He couldn't have slept with Sophia the same night.
No, 2 nights later, 3 nights
even
later.
2 nights is impossible because as explained to you here, the idha, he has to wait for the idha because, especially given the fact that she was already married, he has to wait a month.
That's in the hadith. No, that's in the biography of Muhammad.
No. This is sahih. This is Islam. This is you cannot go by that. So he could not have raped her that night. He couldn't have slept with her. That's idha. You got to wait.
Divorce. Yeah?
No, that's not divorce. Idha is, so for example, she was married. When he married her, he can't just sleep with her. He has to wait at least a month, up to 3 months, to make sure she's not pregnant.
Which is what it's saying here.
Yeah.
So carry on reading and get to the bit where he says.
All right, and those of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses for them, the idha prescribed period, if you have doubt about their periods, is 3 months. And for those who have no courses, i.e. they are still immature, the idha prescribed period is 3 months.
So the waiting period of divorce is 3 months for someone who hasn't started puberty.
Yeah, but this is not implying that they need to get married.
No, this is him giving the rules.
Yeah.
The rules of how long to wait.
Yeah.
If you're divorcing someone, how long to wait till they remarry?
Yeah, but he's not talking about. He's not saying that the people who haven't had who are immature, if they're still immature, the idha prescribed period is 3 months. Likewise.
Yeah. So what's he mean there?
Hang on. For those who have no courses, i.e. they are still immature.
So those of you who haven't had puberty.
Hang on. Wait. You see, again, this is a translate. Some women, they don't get periods.
No, he's saying immature. The words.
Yeah, but if you look,
for those of you who have not started your periods and you're immature.
Okay, so look, i.e. they are still immature. That's in brackets. Yeah, so that's not what he said. That's what this person is translating.
Yeah. Okay.
You understand? So how does he know that that's what that means?
Well, that's what it's okay.
So I have a friend of mine. 1 second. I have a friend of mine who doesn't have periods at all. She never had a period in her life, but she can still have kids.
Okay. Again.
So he could be meaning. As for those who don't have periods, you still have to wait 3 months because they still could be pregnant, but they don't have periods. Yeah, because it's in brackets. But that's not from the words of. That's not from the words of Allah. What we need to take is from the words of Allah in Arabic. That's what we need to take.
So do you support getting rid of Al-Hilali's Quran? Because at the minute it says beat your wife, and it also says
I think that they need to be more broad on their translation.
Well, more broad on their translation. The problem is this is to millions of British Muslims are going through these.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a huge problem. I absolutely agree with you because.
And again, when we say interpretation,
some people they don't have the capacity to question these things.
Al-Hilali and these experts, are taking it a different way to you're taking it.
Yeah. Well, that's a problem.
Okay.
Okay,
so this is
the same way they're saying grab wherever you see the Jews and the Christians, grab them and kill them. They're taking it as in this day now and age. No, it's not. Again, it's out of context.
Which is great.
But whose problem is that? It's not Islam. It's not the Quran. It's the Muslims. That's why when you say,
well, I have a problem
with Islam.
For me, if that verse wasn't in there, neither of those verses. If we said, okay, but that's not applicable to today, why don't they just put in brackets not applicable anymore? Yeah. Why don't they? You know, like you have a cigarette box.
No. I don't think they should put not applicable anymore. They should explain that this was in the time of the Prophet. But then again, hang on. Then again, saying that, listen, we're living in an age now where everything, knowledge is at your fingertips. Yep. Why don't these people get up and go and research?
Because they'll go like I have. Yeah? Do you think it's Islamophobic for me to read these verses as I just have and have a problem with them?
I think it's Islamophobic if you read those verses and don't do the research to find out what it really means.
So is Michael Adeblajo, Lee Rigby's killer, Islamophobic?
Is he Islamophobic?
Was he Islamophobic?
I think he's either mentally
Was Salman
ill.
Abedi Islamophobic?
He's either mentally ill or he's misguided, and he's either mentally ill, being paid by the government, or he's misguided. He doesn't know.
See,
doesn't know.
for me, it just seems a cop out to take the blame away.
But it's not. It's
like
not.
If this book,
It's not.
if those words were not in this book, yeah, then there's no excuse.
If those words came directly from Allah Himself or from the Prophet alayhi salam, I'm with you. I agree with you. Because you're saying Qala Allah, no one can argue with that. But if those words are in bracket and it's a translation of the person who's translating the Quran,
when you're saying bracket,
this person is just a human being.
Okay, so you can't have it both ways, because the bracket bit said lightly be. The actual word is be.
Yeah, but why did he? Okay, so why? All right. Okay. So Darabun has many different meanings. Why did he choose that meaning? Why didn't he choose demonstrate?
He's the Islamic expert.
But he's not.
It's his Quran that's selling to millions and millions.
Well, okay, that's fine.
This
but
is a mainstream.
He should still.
This is not a fringe Quran.
Okay, that's fine. Look, nobody. May God bless him. I'm not gonna say anything bad about him.
Because Al Hilali's one of the most recognised scholars.
Yeah, but still, it's a fact that Darabun means many different things. That's a fact.
But do you understand why? As a British citizen,
no, I understand. I totally understand.
I don't really care to have this whole argument about interpretation.
I totally understand. I totally understand, and I agree. It is a problem.
Okay, that's wrong. That's wrong, and this doesn't mean this. But when we've got children being blown up in Manchester, people being beheaded, we've got people literally.
That's a problem.
People literally quoting this stuff.
That's a problem.
When we've got even the grooming gangs, the grooming gangs make comments to these verses. Yeah? There's 4 verses. We can get them up if you want. Again.
All right. Grooming gangs. This what we're moving on to next. Okay, so you claim to be concerned with grooming gangs, paedophiles, rape, etc. However, you only seem to focus on the Muslims, or particularly the Asians. If you are genuinely concerned with this, then why do you not focus on it as a whole? As it's not only the Asians who commit these heinous crimes. In fact, research and statistics from the Home Office 2020 are most commonly shows that people who do this are most commonly white and come from diverse backgrounds. Grooming is actively huge right now. Hollywood, society, music industry, the modern industry, Prince Andrew, Epstein, Jimmy Savile, Harvey Weinstein, popes, priests, the list goes on. Why is it that you only choose to focus on the Asians?
Okay. The Home Office actually fudged those figures. So that 2020 report, what they did, there's 2 different types of paedophile gangs. Yeah, the vast majority are white. Yeah, lone predatory paedophiles, men going on their own and committing paedophilia, whether it be within the family or whatever. I think upwards of 90% in the UK are white males. Yeah, right. Then there's another section of paedophiles, which is the overrepresentation of the Muslim community. Yeah, which is groups. Now, what the Home Office done was change it to a figure of 2. Yeah, so then they could muddy the waters between paedophilia and the 2 different categories. So then they could fudge the figures. Now, the figures actually show, and one gentleman done this called Peter McLaughlin. What he done was he took every conviction of gangs of men. Yeah, so say there was 8 men, and he took their names, because we don't ask for their religion. He took their names and traced their names to see if they're Islamic names. And in that study, Quilliam, Muslim organisation, said it was 84%. He said it was 90%. 30% of the men convicted for this type, so I'm being clear, yeah, this type of sexual exploitation of children, where groups of men who know each other, work colleagues, friends, brothers, cousins, sometimes fathers and sons, are raping children. 30% of the men convicted are called Mohammed. 30%. Yeah? Muslims make up 4 or 5% of the UK. I believe it's 10, but 4 or 5% of the UK. So Muslim males make up 2% of the UK. How are they representative of 90% of the convictions? There's a problem. Now, the question was, why don't I look at others? My cousin was a victim of these gangs in Luton, yeah? So I grew up knowing of this problem. We have different journalists who cover different things. Some cover sport, some cover politics, yeah? I focused on exposing a crime that had been facilitated, accommodated and hidden, yeah, by a section of a community. The reason it was facilitated, accommodated and hidden was because of who these men were. They're Pakistani and they're Muslim. That's now come out in the Rochdale report, in the Rotherham report, in the Telford report. It's come out in every investigation that's gone on. The police let it happen through fear of being branded racist. So the reason I focus on it is because it was hidden, it was allowed, and no one was doing anything about it. Yeah, that's why I focused on it. Successfully focused on it to bring it up to a point of everyone understanding it. Now in Telford was where I've done a 5-part series called The Rape of Britain. This is where the numbers are absolutely terrifying, and I want to make one thing clear, yeah, which I've done in my Leeds case. When I was outside Leeds court and I got remanded, what I said is, I know Muslims lads that I've grown up with who would want to kick the fuck out of these lot. Yeah, I know lads who would not stand by, yeah, while this paedophilia has gone on. Yeah, But that doesn't change what's happened, and it doesn't change the numbers. Now in Telford, the police inquiry identified 200 men. There's only 3,000 Muslims in Telford. Yeah? 200 men. When you get rid of the under 16s, when you cut it down, there's only 1,000 Muslim men who fit the age bracket. Yeah?
Okay.
That's 20% of the men were identified as raping kids.
Okay.
Only 11 got charged. 20%. That is an astronomical problem if 20% of the Muslims in one town were raping kids. This is something we've never seen before, where work colleagues, if any other company, if there was a non-Muslim business and 7 workers, and one of the workers said, I've got a 12-year-old girl, he'd get battered. Yeah? How come all of them literally queue up and rape the girl? How come brothers, cousins, colleagues, fathers and sons are raping children together? There's something very different. Now, what I ask is, and I believe we need to ask this question, is how come we're not getting these statistics from the Sikh community? How come we're not getting them from the Hindu community? Why not? Why is it that 90% of convictions are Muslim men? Why is it that 30% are called Mohammeds? Why is it that the man in the Bristol case stood up and said it was his religious duty to do it? Why is it that the Rochdale case, before the man murdered her, he messaged his friend and said, I'm going to bury this kafar bitch about her being a non-Muslim? Why is it that all the girls, they make racial and religious comments to them? Why?
Okay,
so that's my issue.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so firstly, just to be
Sorry
clear.
if I seem like I'm...
No, you're very passionate about
I am
it.
passionate. So I don't want the passionate to come out.
No.
And to even pulling out the Quran.
No, it's fine. No, I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you did that. This is real. This is real. I'm glad you did. Anything you feel like doing or saying, I want you to say.
I'm actually going to Sweden, and we're preparing, because I'm going to Sweden to meet someone who keeps burning the Quran. Okay. And I'm going to him to say, well, why are you doing it?
I respect that.
Why? No, I don't know. In the sense that I don't think burning it helps. Yeah, I think reading it helps. Going through verses.
Yeah.
I welcome sitting with people.
No, I appreciate you doing that, and I want you to be yourself. I want you to be passionate. I want you to say whatever it is you want to say. But so back to the grooming gangs. I just want to say, I don't condone grooming. Rape is one of the worst things. I absolutely hate rape. If I was a judge and someone came up before me on rape, I'd throw the book at them. Honestly, I really hate rape. So I just like to make it clear that I don't condone any of that. However, rapists and paedophiles come from all different backgrounds and are all over the world. And it's very prevalent, especially now in this day and age, okay? But when a white person rapes somebody, or... you never hear, Christian or atheist. But it's like whenever an Asian rapes someone, it's always Muslim, Muslim, Muslim. Why do they not just say Asian instead of saying Muslims?
Because when they say Asian, that unfairly stereotypes the Sikh community and Hindu community have got nothing to do with these crimes.
Okay, but then when you say Muslims, that unfairly targets Muslims that don't do this.
But the reason given, so I give a speech, I can send you it, in Russia called the Rape of Britain. Again, I give a presentation in Russia where I went through the men's statements in court and what the victims said they said.
Okay.
They literally quote the Quran.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that. If we are going to talk about Asians and Muslims, I've heard, because I've watched a few of your stuff when you're speaking about it, and other documentaries and stuff where they say that these Asians use alcohol to groom some of these younger girls. So, firstly, alcohol is haram. It's forbidden in Islam. You're not allowed to drink. That's the first thing. So the fact that they're using alcohol in the first place shows that they're not abiding by Islamic rules, and that's actually not a Muslim. They say that the line between a Muslim and a non-Muslim is prayer. If you pray, then you don't drink. It's impossible to drink and pray at the same time. Some people do, but alcohol is haram. It's against the religion. So them using alcohol to groom these young girls, that's nothing to do with Islam.
Say for example,
the actual sex act in itself is haram. You're not allowed to have sex before marriage. That's fornication. That's considered zina. You're not allowed to do that. So these acts that these people carry, intoxication, drinking alcohol, grooming, having sex before marriage, this is all un-Islamic. Okay. Islam is free from this.
What about the verses in the Quran that state outside your full wives you can take whatever your right arm possess?
Again, in what context are you talking about? That's in war.
That's in war. At war. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So when at war,
Yeah.
But so you have house of war and house of God. Yeah.
Okay.
In Islam, Alda Arab and Alda Islam. So what we're saying is that if at war, so many Muslims will feel they're at war with Britain, and the Britain's at war with them.
But you see, that's not Muslims.
Okay, but
because as a Muslim, you have to respect. And this is what I'm about to come on to now. The video of the Oxford. As a Muslim, so basically, I watched the Oxford full address video where you played footage from Stacey Dooley, who I greatly admire. I really love her work. The documentary where extreme Muslims were marching and protesting, and they were chanting, "British police go to hell, UK go to hell." This woman who was wearing a burqa and a niqab covering her face also told Stacey that she was naked and asked her who it was that she was trying to seduce. Now I want to make it clear that I want to apologise to Stacey for having that experience off of that woman, because that's not Islamic. That woman has no right to tell Stacey what to wear or what not to wear in her own country. If you don't, and this goes for all sisters out there, and I might get backlash for this. I don't care. I just say it how it is.
Do you understand the reception you'd get if you walk through with your gentleman here, through Lutonsberry Park, as a Muslim, with your hair like this and not covering up?
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't really care.
No, but what I'm saying is, so I don't have say I can.
Yeah, I don't care. They can't say nothing to me because I'm a Muslim.
Yeah?
No, they can try to, but
my point being, we can sit here, people can watch this.
Yeah.
You're lovely, you're a nice person, you're a Muslim. If only every Muslim followed it the way you do. What I'm saying is, in towns like London.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to show you.
Yeah,
I'm glad you just said that. What I'm trying to show you is the problem is not Islam, it's the people. So I'm a prime example of what it should be like, of how the thought process should be like. These people who are out here, that's disgusting. That behaviour is...
Firstly, there's whole organisations and mass numbers of thousands and
I'm a
thousands.
Muslim, she's a Muslim.
Yeah.
What she did was disgusting. That angered me. That absolutely angered me. How dare you say to Stacey Dooley, you're naked? Firstly, she wasn't naked. She was wearing a dress and she was quite covered. If she wants to dress up that way, that's her business. This is her country. If you don't like it, you go back to your country.
Which is great, but that's not the mindset coming out of the Muslim community of Luton.
That's because that's their problem. They're not educated.
I'd say you're in the minority.
I don't think I'm in the minority. I think that they're in the minority.
Not wearing a hijab, you're totally in the minority.
Every single Muslim. No, there's people who wear hijabs and niqabs and they don't think like that. They do not. Look, okay, Islam tells you, Allah tells you, when you are in a land that is not your land, you must respect and abide by their rules. Unless they're taking you away from your religion. And Britain doesn't do that. We've got mosques everywhere. Britain's never said to us you're not allowed to pray in a mosque.
Many people say when Britain invaded Afghanistan, they broke the covenant. They broke it.
Well, I don't know what covenant they're talking about.
What would you say to Britain? Yeah, you're British. Where was you born?
I was born in London.
Yeah, so you're British. So what would you say?
Yeah.
Do you think London's got better or worse growing up there?
To be honest with you, I think London's got worse.
Do you think we should, because we were going to do a separate podcast, should we just do it all as one? Do you think that we should? What about mass immigration? Would you shut the borders to immigration? Do you think we should continue having?
I would shut the borders to immigration, yeah, and I'll tell you why. Not because I'm racist or because I just think that if you are failing to be able to supply for your own people who are already here, then why will you open the doors and let other people come in? You're giving jobs that you could be given to people who are born and bred here, to people who are coming from other countries. Not that I'm saying they don't. If there was the capacity, if we had the jobs, if we had the houses, by all means open the gates and let them in. But if we don't, and we're struggling and we can't even give our own people who are born and bred here, then why are we opening doors for people and letting them in when we don't have the means to provide?
What about like, say Saudi Arabia? Would you allow Saudi Arabia to fund mosques?
Would I allow Saudi Arabia
would you allow Saudi money?
I would allow
or Iranian money.
I would allow. I mean, I don't. That's
because what I'm saying is, I make lots of comments of what I think we should be doing.
Yeah.
I think we've got a big problem, right? I think that if everyone was sitting here as a Muslim following the way you interpret it, we haven't got a problem, yeah, right? So, but they're not. So what do we do as British people when the majority of people in Luton, majority that we meet in Luton, 40% of British Muslims want Sharia law. What do we do with that?
That's absolutely absurd.
But that 40%, that's the statistic. 40%
of
British Muslims.
This is not your
Sharia
country.
Law. Okay, but what do we do with that 40%? That's 2 million.
You know, when you had a conversation with Ali Darwa, and I remember you saying to him, why are you Muslims not getting up speaking to these jihadis and these extremists? I absolutely agree with you. I think that we should be doing more. We should be getting up and we should be speaking to these people and we should be telling them, you know, that's not the way to conduct yourself. You're making things worse for us as Muslims. You're making. I'm going to be so honest with you. I can see why people hate Muslims. If I wasn't a Muslim myself and I didn't know my religion, I would hate Muslims. How about that? Because of the way they conduct themselves, because of the way they speak, because of the things that they say and the things that they do.
But do you think it's Islamophobic? So if you would feel that, do you think it's Islamophobic when many British public who are decent people, loving people, who don't have a problem with people based on anything, are sitting there now thinking, Jesus, what's going on in our country, man? And as I said, if 40% of British Muslims want Sharia law, what do we do about that? Do you think it's Islamophobic for us to be worried? Like, come on.
I don't think it's Islamophobic for you guys to be worried, but you guys shouldn't be worried because it's your country and it's never going to be a Sharia law. That's not. I don't see that happening.
Many areas of London will never look the same. Many areas of London are now dominated with Islam.
I think we need to get to the root cause of these extremists and these jihadis, and we need to stop.
Well, the root cause of them is Saudi Arabian money, Iranian money, Qatari money.
But then again, where is that coming from? Is the government doing this? Are the government funding them? Are the government pushing them to do this so that again we can divide and conquer and fight each other?
Yeah, but what? So you
because even the Saudi government, that's supposed to be an Islamic state. That's supposed to be the most pious, That's where the Prophet ﷺ was. Why are they so corrupt? Why are they pushing these agendas? Why are they doing?
But the problem, I mean, is for many British people.
Yeah.
Who are looking at our country? We're looking at the Hamas rallies. We're looking at the ISIS flags. We're looking at the calls for jihad on the streets.
Yeah, that's why when I was watching the Oxford Full Address and you had Adam Chowdhury.
Yeah.
And he was saying, he was saying.
But the leader of his Battahir, they've now prescribed him. But he organised the biggest Gaza rally at the start, and they were calling for jihad. What do we do? What do the British public do?
We need to put a stop to this. We need to get Muslims to stand up against this.
Yeah, I agree. But if they haven't yet, and they didn't stand up to the grooming gangs, there's not one single case, not one case in any of the towns and cities where a Muslim reported on another Muslim for those rapes. Not one. Not one case.
But they probably wasn't aware, to be honest. If they wasn't a part of it, then they're not going to tell other people what they're doing.
But everyone knew it was going on. Police knew it was going on. I knew it was going on.
Yeah, but
so Muslims knew it was going on.
Yeah, I get that, but I don't. In regards to the rapes and the grooming, I don't think that Muslims. If I knew that was going on, I'd report it. I think a lot of Muslims were actually no. A lot of Muslims did report it. A lot of people were against it.
No, not one reported it.
All right, they were stood up against it though. They were protested against it.
I only protested after it come out, and they protested. Yeah. Let me tell you why they protested in Rotherham, because they wanted to put cameras in their taxis. That's why they protested. They didn't protest about the rapes. Yeah, And if most Muslims were against it, Councillor Hussain went to court and gave a character reference for the Rochdale rapists. The ex-mayor Muslim went to court and gave a character reference. Since he gave that character reference, the Labour Muslim councillor, he's been promoted through the Labour Party.
Okay.
Yeah? He gave a character reference for men who raped one girl. So that girl who lived in his constituency was raped 100 times, and he didn't go to court to help her. The councillor went to court and he got voted back in.
Okay.
He got voted back in. So it's like, it's not viewed with the same venom or disgust.
I think with grooming, when it comes to grooming, it's mainly happening.
And they blame the girls.
That's in Luton. It's not happening everywhere.
No, there's 65 cities.
So 65 cities, but that's more of a police criminal investigation. That's more. But in terms of jihadists and terrorism, that's something where all Muslims can get up and stand up and speak against it and try to stop this ideology from going by.
Say, for example, there's 40,000 British Muslims on the terror watch list. 40,000.
Yeah.
What do we do with them? Do you understand? I know because people, we're Islamophobic, racist, far right. If we've got 40,000, if we've got grooming, if I'm picking up this book and reading these verses which literally say beat your wife or literally say how to divorce, you're going to say it's the wrong translation. That's the main Quran in the UK for Muslims. Do you get that it's not far right, it's not racist, it's just we're worried?
Okay, but again, look, we can look at it from this angle then. Why don't we look at the root cause of it? Why did the US government do 9/11? Why did the US government send troops into Iraq, Afghanistan, all of these countries? Look at what's happening now in Palestine. Why are they doing all of these things? For every action is a reaction. I'm not saying it's the correct reaction, but for every action is a there's people who are sitting back watching this, feeling violated. There's people who have had their mums bombed. There's people who have had their daughters bombed, their dads bombed, their families bombed. They've been bombed. They've lost the arm or leg. How do you think these people feel?
I get it.
So we have to look at both sides.
Yeah, look at both sides. But I get
not
it.
that I condone it. I want to make it clear. I do not condone terrorism.
Do you understand why people who follow me, who are being called racist and extremists and Islamophobes, for simply being concerned about all the problems? Each time I've pointed out a problem, whether it be terrorists, you say, yeah, I'd stop it, I'd do that. So you're agreeing with me on a lot of the issues that make me a racist and extremist.
Well, I think if you're...
said that's not right.
I'm going to be honest with you.
This isn't right.
When I first used to watch you and knew about you, I thought you was a racist. I really did think you was a racist. After I started speaking to you and watching some of your stuff and how I started being conflicted. because I'm a Muslim, and the way you speak to me, talk to me with respect. You know, we bust joke, we laugh. Like you don't treat me any different. You know, and then when now I don't look at you as a racist, and the reason why I don't look at you as a racist is because I can see that the reason why you have the perception that you have is because of these things that these jihadis are doing, these terrorists are doing, these grooming gangs are doing. You know, this is your country. You're thinking these people are coming into my country and they're doing this. I need to put my foot down and I need to fight for my country. So from that angle, I respect what you're doing. However, I feel like, I don't think you're a bad person. I just feel like you're not. I think you still need to be educated, and I say this in a respectful way. I feel like you still need to be a bit more educated in regards to Islam, the real Islam, real religion of Islam.
I think that the debate is like, should we just let our country be a experiment for who's going to decide what the real Islam is? It's like, I don't want it to. I don't want to add the problem anymore. So, which is why I keep saying, look, we've got a lot of Muslims in the UK. Let's stop adding to the problem, okay? Until Islam within itself and the Muslim community within themselves sort out the problems we've got. Because as you've said, if that's not right, sort it out. If grooming gang, sort it out.
Yeah,
but at the minute,
we do need to. We need to get up.
And all I say is until that.
You see, my angle is this, Tommy. I think a lot of people, as you're saying, is divide and conquer. The Christians fighting against the Muslims, telling them you're following the wrong road. The Jews fighting against the Christians, telling them you're following the wrong road. The Muslims they're all fighting each other, saying that you guys are all on the wrong path. When really and truly, it's all one. It's all one religion. We should all be together, not fighting each other. That's my angle. Because the Torah...
But there's so many verses in this that don't allow that.
No, but it's look, I'll show you verses in there. I was shocked myself that I read. It says that if you're a Christian and a Jew and you're upon the real haqq, the real truth, do not worry, you're going to go to heaven.
Yeah, but then you understand with application.
So one second. Do you see how in the book, no one talks about that though? People talk about, grab the Jews, kill the Christians.
That's Medina. That's from Medina.
One second. In the verse, that doesn't apply to anything. It applies for all time. It's not in a context. Allah clearly says, if you're a Christian or you're a Jew and you're upon the haqq, which is the truth, you have nothing to fear. Right? Yeah. So that's the first thing.
When did Muhammad say that?
Muhammad didn't say that. Allah said that.
But Muhammad, it's come to Muhammad.
Yeah,
But what I'm saying is,
but it's for all time.
With abrogation, whatever Muhammad said later in his life supersedes what he said earlier. I'll give you a book next week. I've got a new book coming out next week. Yeah, it's new. They cancelled it about 5 years ago. In that book, what we do is we take for Islamic experts, not me, not my opinion.
Okay.
We take for Islamic experts and we put the Quran in chronological order.
Okay.
Because when you pick that up, one thing Muhammad said one day is next to something he said 20 years later. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's hard. It's very hard to put that in context and understand it. Yeah, in any of the Qurans.
Yeah.
Now, if you put them in date order and the how his life went, then what he says through abrogation, which is the laws of Islam, what he says, if you've got two verses that contradict each other, what he says later in his life supersedes what he said earlier. Yeah? So if he says, be peaceful, and then be peaceful to Jews here, and then 10 years later he says, we need to kill the Jews, then this takes quality over this.
No, you see, again, no. Again, you have to understand. So let's say 10 years previous, let's just say, for example, 10 years previous, he said, wherever you see a Jew or a Christian, you grab them and you kill them. That context is talking about at the time of that war or at the time of that what's going on. Then later on when he says be peaceful, he's talking about in all time.
Well, but so in the first 10 years he was peaceful.
You have to understand.
But later in his life he introduced jihad.
You have to take into consideration what was going on during those times. You see? It's not as simple as that. The Quran is a very complicated book. It's not as simple as that.
Okay, so but
that's why there is no other book like it. And also, do you know that the Torah and the Bible is the true word of God? Do you know that?
Because Muhammad took Jesus Christ as the Son of God and made him a dustman.
No, Muhammad didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? Again, this is what I'm trying to say. I don't think you're educated on Islam. That's not what happened. So the people you need to educate on Islam is the reason why I'm saying this is because that's why I'm doing this video. So hopefully people will listen and watch this. I'm not a scholar.
I hope they do.
I'm not a scholar.
But the scholars will disagree with you.
Well, that's their business.
But that's the problem.
At the end of the day, even if Allah said, or the Prophet ﷺ said, and it's in the Quran, I don't care about what this one says or what that one says or what this one, even a hadith. If there's something that contradicts the Quran, and for example, Sahih Bukhari, right, he's supposed to be the most authentic. He said from his own mouth, if there is one single page that contradicts what comes out of the Quran, you throw it against the wall. And I'm going to get to that.
Bukhari also give the Sahih Bukhari.
Wait, let me just finish the point I made.
Aisha's age is 6 at marriage.
No, see, okay, I'm going to get to that now. And this, I'm going to get a lot of, I'm going to get people after this video, and I say what I say, it's going to go crazy, and I'm going to get a lot of Muslims. Yeah, I'm going to get a lot. But you know what? I don't care. This is how I'm going to prove to you
I think that's
that
great.
I don't care.
No,
I'm going to
no,
say
I
it and I don't care what their reaction is, because you know why? Qal Allah.
Do you recognise Sahih Bukhari?
I do recognise
That's
Sahih
authentic.
Bukhari, and I do think he's authentic in some of the stuff. But if it contradicts the Quran, I'm going to put Allah over Sahih Bukhari.
So-
Even the Prophet alayhi salam, I'm going to put Allah over the Prophet alayhi salam.
Okay,
It's
so
as simple as that.
Well, I'll let you go to it.
So what I was going to say, the Torah, right? Because if we need to speak about all the religions of the world, there's only 3 Abrahamic religions, which to me are the true religions. Okay, so you got the Torah. The Torah is the true word of God. The only difference is they didn't accept Muhammad as the prophet because Muhammad came from the Arab lineage. That's the only reason. That's the only difference. Then you got the Quran.
Yeah, you're going to get some grief after
then
this.
yeah, of course I will. then you got the Bible.
They're going to hate you more than me.
I'm fine with it. I don't
No
mind.
problem.
Then you got the Bible. Okay, but the Bible is the true word of God, but it was tampered with. Because back in those days when there was a Bible, people couldn't read. People couldn't read those
Muhammad
days.
couldn't write, right?
No, Muhammad, he was
illiterate, right?
Yeah, he was illiterate, but then obviously he
How many years after Muhammad's life was the Quran wrote?
I think it was. I'm not too sure about.
200.
One thing about me, I never speak on something that
to
I don't know.
300,
But wait,
yeah.
we'll get to that after. So then you got Christianity, okay? So Christianity back in the days. Firstly, the Bible. A lot of Christians don't even know what Bible means. Bible means books of libraries. That's what it means. Back in the days, people couldn't read, so they used to have to go and knock on the church doors and ask the priests to tell them what does the Bible say about this. What does the Bible say? That's why in the Quran it says we have come. So basically, the books that have come before it, i.e., the Torah and the Quran. The Bible is the true word of God, but we have come as a watcher over it to take up the falsehood and to verify the truth.
Yeah, so he took what was already there and took the bits he liked and changed.
No. What it did, it showed what is false and what's real. So obviously, the Torah, they deny Muhammad. The Quran is saying no, because Muhammad was written in the Torah.
How do we explain? I don't know anything about the Torah. How do we explain then? How do we, if Sahih Bukhari translates that Aisha was 6.
All right, let's get to that.
How do we do
Here,
that?
we're going to get to this now,
Because this is something that I say to lads that are Muslim, I'm like, how do you get your head around that then? How do you defend
Okay, cool.
that?
So there's all right. So I've been doing research on this. Okay,
Cool.
so there's a parasol of the Quran, that will reveal that the marriage in Islam is a civil contract, Misaq 421, and as such it can be finalized only between persons who are intellectually and physically mature enough to understand and fulfill the relationships of such a contract. Okay, now I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this, but
who decides mature?
Allahu alam, Allah knows best, but I kind of agree with this, okay? So this can be further understood from the verse, and test the orphans until they reach the age of nikah, which is the age of marriage, okay? Puberty, maturity for marriage. And if you find in them maturity of intellect, release their property to them. 4:6. It may be noted here that the Quran makes intellectual maturity, which also falls beyond the age of puberty, the basis to arrive at the age of marriage, yeah? So the Quranic description of marriage as emotional bonding between the two mutually compatible persons through which they seek to dwell in tranquility, C7 189 and 321, in companionship of each other, which is not possible if either of the spouses is mentally undeveloped. Okay, so child marriage in Islam is justified on the basis of a hadith in Sahih Bukhari, which says that the Prophet married Aisha radiallahu when she was 6 and consummated it when she was 9. Okay,
the hadith actually says she was playing with her dolls.
Yeah, played with her dolls, right? So now this hadith, it cannot be true for several reasons.
So you don't believe in Sahih Bukhari?
Right, so no, I believe in Sahih Bukhari, but not everything in Sahih Bukhari is always going to be
But then
true.
you can't just pick and choose,
hang on,
man.
no, let me finish.
Yeah.
Sahih Bukhari said himself.
What does Sahih mean?
Sahih Bukhari, I think.
What does the word Sahih mean?
Authentic.
Authentic.
Yeah, I think it means authentic.
So this and Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim are the two most authentic. Part of the 6 most authentic
Sahih
hadiths in the
Bukhari
world.
said himself. He said himself, if you find even a single page that contradicts the Quran, pick it up and throw it against the wall. So he's telling you that he does not know everything and that there's a possibility he may have made mistakes. So who's
did
more
Muhammad marry her at
important?
6
One
or
second, no, I don't think he did. No.
But Sahih Muslim
And I'm
says he
gonna
did as
I'm gonna get to that now. Now look, even Muslims can't argue with you. Whose word are you gonna take more? Allah himself or Sahih Bukhari?
Yeah, but Sahih Bukhari is given the age of how old Muhammad
Okay,
was
cool.
and how old
So
Isa was.
let's get to
Muhammad
the
was
next bit.
53. It's
So
pretty weird.
look, this hadith cannot be true for several reasons. First, the Prophet, peace be upon him, could not have gone against the Quran to marry a physically and intellectually immature child. Secondly, the age of Aisha radiallahu anha can be easily counted by the age of her sister, her older sister Esma, who was 10 years older than Aisha radiallahu anha. Waladin Muhammad Abdullah al-Khatib al-Amri Tabrizi, the famous author of Miskath, in his biography of narrators, Esma or Rijal, writes that Esma died in the year 73 of Hijrah at the age of 100, 10 or 12 days after the martyrdom of her son Abdullah ibn Zubair. It is common knowledge that the Islamic calendar starts from the year of the Hijrah, or the Prophet's migration from Mecca and Medina to Medina. Therefore, by deducting 73, the year of Hazrat Esma's death, from 100, her age at the time, we can easily conclude she was 27 during Hijrah. This puts the age of Aisha radiallahu at 17 during the same period.
I've heard this argument.
Right?
But
As all the biographers of the Prophet agree that he consummated his marriage with Aisha radiallahu in the year 2 Hijrah. It can be conclusively said that she was 19 at the time and not 9. And don't you think that's such a coincidence that it's 19, but then they put it down to 9. So
Okay,
all they had to do, they had to do was take off the 1 and leave the 9. And like I said before, Sahih Bukhari said himself, if you find one single hadith of mine that contradicts the Quran, throw it against the wall.
Okay, so under an Islamic state, if we've got an Islamic state tomorrow, if obviously Islam's ruling the world, everyone becomes a Muslim.
Yeah.
What's the age for marriage and sex?
So the age for marriage and sex under that Islamic sex will be maturity. So first, when they start their period, and not just because they start their period, it has to be, they have to have I wrote it down. They have to have the intellectual.
So who decides that? The
it would probably
be marrying the kid.
No, not at all. Obviously, that
the
child
mum and dad that get
must
paid.
have a parent.
So again, okay, so.
Okay,
in God's perfect
so
world,
let's say the parent who you said is going to get paid. Yeah. Then do you know what? That sin is upon that parent.
So okay, so Allah's perfect. He's created the world and He's created these rules, right? If everything was perfect, I don't think there'd be the confusion about everything. He wouldn't create a word that has 7 different meanings. It would be perfect. Yeah. But if Allah's perfect, He's created this world that's perfect.
Yeah.
As you said, a child starts her periods. She's then going to be married.
No, it's not. It's not on the basis of just your period.
Okay, so in a perfect world,
for example,
who decides intellectually
let's
of that
get
little
technical.
girl?
Let's get technical. Okay, let's say you have a child who's autistic, severely autistic, and she started her period. Okay, and she's 15, 16, she's 17, she's 18, she's 21.
Who decides?
Is she mentally capable?
Okay, but the reason we have
getting
have law, separation of church and state, we have law so that we can come up with these laws.
Okay,
better than,
all right.
Do you agree that the British law of 16 is better than Allah's law?
Wait, no. But I'm glad you said that. Let's talk about British law. You want to talk about British law? Let's talk about British law.
I still want to understand.
We're going to stay to that. But this is some
Islam.
facts on child marriages, yeah. So let's talk about British law. Let's talk about child marriage now. Do you know that now child marriage is actually legal in the USA right now as we speak?
Yeah, it's 12. It's 12 in some.
Right. So
more
more than 200,000 minors were married between 2002 and 2015. Idaho has one second. No, because look, no, that's not what we're doing. Because back in those days of the Prophet, not that I'm making an excuse, but back in those days of the Prophet, that was the norm.
Well, you can marry Richard.
Now we're in 2024.
Was Muhammad perfect?
Yes, of course he was perfect.
What's the problem if he married a 9-year-old?
But I don't think he married a 9-year-old.
No, okay, but then again, okay. So if what it says in Sahih Bukhari was wrong, we wouldn't still be here.
What do you mean?
It wouldn't still be promoted. Sahih Bukhari is one of the most authentic hadiths in the world. There's 6. Sahih Muslim is one of the most authentic.
Do you know what?
And it's promoted and being taught.
You see a lot of Muslims, and then again, they're not going to like this. What I'm going to say, they're not going to like this. A lot of Muslims, not all of them, some of them do, but a lot of Muslims, they don't think outside the box. They don't question.
I understand that, but what I'm coming to the conclusion of is that whenever there's anything that you don't like that's problematic, you have your own justification for getting around it, but it's still here in the book and it's still being promoted to millions of people. So any Islamic countries around the world...
All right, look, let me give you another example. There's a hadith that says, that when a woman is going to get married to a man, that the man is allowed to see her butt naked and decide whether he wants to marry her or not. Now, because that's a hadith, does that make it authentic and true?
No, because it's not one of the authentic hadiths.
But it doesn't matter though. It's still a hadith. People can still argue and say no, that's
there's loads of
that's the truth.
There's loads of mental hadiths.
But how do we?
The devil just shit in your ear if you.
How do we?
Wait,
Tommy. How do we differentiate between what's sahih and what's not? Easy. We go to the Quran. If it contradicts anything that's in the Quran, we throw it out. Now,
but we've gone to the Quran. We've gone to the Quran.
But we're talking about. Doesn't that contradict? Doesn't that contradict what the Quran says?
In the Quran, it says if they're intellectually or mature. But what I'm saying is, who decides the maturity?
The parents should. The guardians or the parents should.
When I interviewed Ali Dawah.
All right, so you're a father.
I've interviewed
you have a
Muslims
child,
in the
right?
UK.
You have a child. You're a father. You have a child. You love your daughter, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd never let anything bad happen to anybody, right? So if your daughter came to the age of puberty, but you felt like she wasn't mentally ready, or
if my daughter come to the age of puberty, I'd kill anyone if they thought of marrying her.
All right, that's fine. That's your discretion.
And if my daughter,
that's your discretion.
What I'm saying is,
but let's say
you've got people who think Muhammad was perfect, and he married at 9, he married at 6 and 9, which is why I asked Ali Dawah. Ali Dawah said, yeah, if she's mature. And then other Muslim when I was outside court, and any scholars I've spoke to, I said, well, in your, I said it to Kadir Baskin, Luton, the main imam. In your ideal society, what would the legal age be? He said, God, Allah has chose that. When a girl starts her menstrual, when a girl starts her periods, she's mature.
No, but you can't just stop there. You're saying when a girl starts her period, she's mature. No, you have to take the mental and the other components into consideration. All right, you know what? Let's do this.
But I don't think it's perfect.
Let's do this. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, right?
What's better?
You tell me what's better. Let me ask you a question.
18.
You tell me what's better. There's girls out here who are 12 years old getting pregnant and having abortions and having babies. Yeah. What's better? Is it better if that 12-year-old gets married?
No.
It's not. So you see this is the so you think it's better for a 12-year-old girl to go out there and commit zina, fornicate, and have sex with all different people and get pregnant, have abortions, and have a child, and most likely not stay with that person and become a single mother.
I think it's better if the 12-year-old has a stable family and all these things.
Right. So then marriage is better, no?
No, not at 12. You cannot allow a 12-year-old to be married to a man.
But these 12-year-olds in school now that we're going to school, they're getting taught about sex education. They're getting given condoms. They are allowed to go. You're not even allowed to buy cigarettes in a shop at the age of 16, but yet you're allowed to go and have an abortion at the age of 11 and 12.
So do you think, say there was a 20-year-old man, would you think it's better that he married that 12-year-old girl?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know. I think it depends because the age gap is a bit different. I'd prefer somebody who's a bit younger to marry her. But if you gave me the option of, will my daughter get married and have kids, or go out on the streets and have sex with loads of different men and have abortion after abortion, or kids at a young age, I would choose marriage. Definitely, I would choose marriage.
Even if your daughter was 11 and the man was 20 years old.
No, I don't. But that's what they do here. Look, let me show you something. All right, so here we go. Only till 100 years ago in the UK, children were getting married at 12. For females, it was 12-year-olds in the age of the UK, and for boys, it was 14 years old.
We now know that's wrong.
Now, okay, but still, this was so. All right, so we now know that was wrong.
We evolve with time.
But 1 second,
we recognise
but
mistakes.
this was only 100 years ago. The Prophet's day was 1400 years ago.
But the Muslims believe now he's perfect.
Yeah, I believe he's perfect. But hang on, one sec.
Richard Lionheart
Henry the young king, age 17, married to Margaret of France, age 13.
Richard Lionheart.
William Adelane, age 15, son and heir of Henry I of England, married to Matilda of Anglo, age 13.
The difference is that we don't grow up believing that Henry, whatever his name was perfect. We accept, well, that's a bit strange. Okay. We'll develop as a society. We'll look at children. We'll understand they develop, that their minds aren't developed. And then we'll bring in laws.
Okay, fine.
We elect.
Okay, fine.
We change.
I think in this day and age, with everything that's going on, all this LGBT stuff, all the music, all the Cardi B's, all of these things that are going on.
It's sick.
It's sick. And the women now, young girls now are becoming sexually mature very early to the time they're supposed to be. They're knowing about sex. They're going out. They're having boyfriends. They're having sex, taking drugs, drinking alcohol. So I would prefer my child to get married.
Not to an adult.
If not to an adult, but to someone who's similar of an age. Yeah.
Would you not prefer your child
when you
just to be
talk
a
about the
child?
Prophet, hang on. Let's also make it clear. The Prophet is not just anybody. Peace be upon him. He's not just anybody. And Aisha radiallahu to you he is.
To everyone else, he's just a woman.
To billions of people on earth, and these people are all different people. Some of them are reverts, some of them are doctors, some of them are scientists, some of them have a high. Look at Andrew Tate, for example. His IQ is so high. Why does he respect the Prophet?
I've never heard him talk about the Prophet.
But he's a Muslim. He doesn't need to talk about the Prophet. But for him to be a Muslim, that means he follows the way of the Prophet. This guy has got a high IQ. He's very educated.
But how many?
Why are all of these billions of people? Are all of these billions of people brainwashed? Are they not? Have you ever read the life of the Prophet?
Yeah,
Do you
I
know?
have.
Well, look, we can't compare Muhammad, peace be upon him, to any other person. And we can't compare Aisha radiallahu. She was a very intelligent woman, very, very smart. She was very educated in medicine. No, she didn't. She loved the Prophet. She loved the Prophet greatly.
Look, the thing is, all these conversations, it's great to have the conversation.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it, and I think people will like listen to it. But this all comes down to your view, yeah? The problem we have is that there's thousands, tens of thousands, recently hundreds of thousands, marching or calling out other views which are extremely extreme and extremely problematic for the future of Great Britain.
Yeah, but I've already said that's a problem. And
I am
with you on that. I'm with you on that. And I think we need to get up and do something about it.
I don't want to gamble with the future of this country based on this book that someone might think means something else.
Okay. I also wanted to ask you a question about Sophia.
Yeah.
Because I know that you've mentioned it a few times, and I wanted to ask you, because obviously I know you're a journalist, you're a very intelligent man, and you do your research. So when you are talking about Sophia and you're making the claims and you're saying, oh yeah, the Prophet grabbed her and he killed her dad and he killed her brother and he took her and he raped her, have you ever done research? And I want you to be genuine with me. Yeah,
the biography.
Have you ever done research?
I would have bought the book with me. Yeah, so the biography, again, it's the biography of Muhammad by Ibn Ishaq. Yeah.
Okay.
So the Jews surrender, 600 of them,
okay.
Which includes her husband.
Yep.
Yeah. In fact, before he surrenders, because the Prophet wanted his gold, because Kanana was very wealthy, so he sets fire to his stomach, tortures him, gets his money. Yeah. Then he kills them all.
Okay,
he either orders them.
Okay, I don't know what research you've done, but the what actually happened was they did a treaty. The Prophet ﷺ had a treaty with them, and they were all supposed to be living in peace. Her father broke that treaty, and they went to war. Now, when you're in war, chopping off a head, that's just standard, especially back in those days. Things were barbaric those days. Things were barbaric in England, because I've done criminology. I studied criminology with policing and forensic science. Just 100 years ago, the punishments were barbaric. They used to get people and they used to tie them up from their hands and their leg on horses and make the horses run out and they take from their limbs. That's barbaric. So if you want to compare that to 1400 years ago, that's pretty much normal.
Yeah, but the difference we're not comparing it, but when people think he's perfect,
no, but
are we still cutting off heads now? Muslims are all over the world.
No, we're not cutting off heads now.
Muslims did on October 7th.
But we can't compare.
They're still doing it now.
Look what the government are doing now. Look what's happening in Palestine. Yeah. Little innocent kids are being bombed. They're being. Is that not barbaric? What's worse? What's worse? The Prophet chopping off a traitor, his head, or what they're doing to the little kids in Palestine?
But the Prophet.
No, let's be real. This is 2024. How do you know he didn't surrender? He never surrendered. In your version, he didn't surrender. It was the Prophet who got them all together.
In the biography of Muhammad.
Yeah, well, that's wrong. That's not the right story. That's not the right story.
It's the most recognised biography of Muhammad.
Well, they didn't surrender.
Again, there's a problem because that's the most recognised worldwide biography.
All right. Anyway, look, that's neither here nor there. He broke the treaty. He was an enemy. This is war. This is what happens in war. Okay, this was 1400 years ago. One sec. No, we're going to get to Jesus. Oh, we're going to get to Jesus next. Don't worry about that. We're going to get to Jesus next.
How many people did Jesus
behead? Right. We're going to get to Jesus, and Jesus is still going to come, and he's still going to do, and Jesus is going to do worse than what Muhammad alayhi salam did, but we're going to get to that. So now you're saying to me that was barbaric, but that was back then, and there was a good enough reason for it, because it was basically, it's like treason.
So torturing him, taking his gold, that's the acts of a prophet.
He wanted to kill the Prophet.
Yeah. So torturing him, taking his gold.
So it's either you or me. And who's the one who broke the treaty?
They'd all surrendered.
Who's the one who broke the treaty?
They all stood there with their heads down.
It was. Yeah, of course they did, because they were outpowered. But before they were outpowered, they wanted to kill the Prophet. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The second thing is, you said that he took Sophia and he forced her to marry him and he raped her basically the same night. Now the true story is, Sophia.
She loved him, did she?
Yeah, she did. She did actually love him.
She fell in love with
him. So one second. So you got the story right from the hadiths, obviously, and from Islam, and you believe the part that he beheaded her husband. You believe the part that he killed her father. So why do you not believe the part that she actually wanted to marry the Prophet? Because that's all in the same. It's all in the same hadith. It's all in the same.
Because if someone kills someone's husband, brother, family members, beheads them in front of them, they're not going to fall in love.
Yeah, she felt away by it. She did feel away by it, but she actually had a dream.
She fell in love with him.
Yeah, towards the end she did. She had a dream that.
That's the problem. Like,
one
that's
second.
never going to.
No, but look, at the end of the day, I can't believe it, because if I'm going to believe that he killed her father and her brother and then he married her, then I also have to believe what the rest that comes with it.
You're finding an excuse to accept.
No, I'm not finding.
You're giving Sophia an excuse. She fell in love with him.
All right, so look. One second. He wasn't going to marry her. One second. He wasn't going to marry her at first. Somebody else was. Then that person that had her came to the Prophet ﷺ and said to the Prophet ﷺ, she is the daughter, and her father was a leader. He was a very big person. Yeah. They said it's not befitting. Look at the mercy that they had. They said she's not befitting to marry someone who's beneath. If anything, she should marry someone like you.
So he done her a favour.
No, 1 second. He didn't do it. She chose. He summoned her. This is.
I think most people are going to find this as madness. Her husband was beheaded. Her family were killed, all in front of her. Yeah. And then we're actually meant to believe that she willingly fell in love with Muhammad after he done it.
Okay, wait. So if you let me finish, they summoned her. She came to him. And
the fact that this story even exists of someone who we call a prophet is just insanity.
Okay, but that's your perception.
It'll be every non-Muslim's perception.
Okay, that's fine. But like all the billions of Muslims who do believe in Islam, that's not their perception. So
I'd say the majority of Muslims a majority of Muslims don't even know about this story.
Well, even I didn't know about the story, and when I first found out, I was upset. But when I did my research and found out, I'm all right with it. But anyway, she came to him, and he gave her the choice. He said to her, "You have a choice. You can become a Muslim if you want, and you can become my wife, or you can stay a Jew, and I'll give you your freedom." She chose not to take her freedom. So you can't say he forced her, because she had that choice to leave. She didn't want to leave. She chose to stay.
She was taken as a concubine.
No, she chose to see. Look, you say that Muslims pick and choose. You're picking and choosing now.
I'm not.
You are, because you're choosing to believe that he beheaded them.
I'll get up for this.
You're choosing. You're choosing to believe that he beheaded them and killed them, but you're not choosing to believe that she chose to marry him. But anyway, never mind.
It doesn't say she chose to marry him.
It does in the hadith. It does say that.
In the hadith, it's like
but that's where the
most renowned biography of Muhammad.
All right, hang on.
So in the hadith, you're arguing the case of the hadith, but then you're saying you don't believe the hadith when it says.
So then we can say he didn't chop his head off. Then that's a lie as well.
But it's in the biography of Muhammad by the most recognised biographer of his life. Ibn Ishaq. It's
all right,
in
cool.
his biography.
But
that's
fine.
All of it.
But he didn't write the hadith, did he?
But that can't be the get out on every case. The problem is. It says this. The problem is that there's books that say it. The problem is that there's millions of Muslims worldwide that are following this scripture. That's the problem. The problem isn't you, but the problem is that for me, picking that up, it's a problem.
Okay, that's fine. But all I wanted to do is just clarify what you said, because what you said is not true. Islamically and in hadith, it's not true. He didn't rape her. He didn't force her. She made that choice.
He married her.
And he married her. She made the choice to marry him.
She didn't make no choice. Come on, man. He beheaded her husband. Come on.
Where's your evidence that she didn't make the choice? Where's your evidence?
But that can't.
Okay,
I'll tell you my
where's
evidence.
your evidence that where did she ever say no?
Can I ask you as a woman?
Yeah.
That's your partner.
Yeah.
If someone come in now and beheaded him in front of you, would you ever fall in love with that man?
Did you know that her partner was abusive and used to beat her?
But would you ever fall? So was Muhammad. But would you ever fall in love with that man?
Muhammad's never.
Could you ever? No, tell me you're a woman. Could you ever fall in love with a man that beheaded him? Could you?
Well, you know what? If her father was not a good man and she knows that is the prophet, she knew that her father knew he was the prophet. If I know that this guy is the prophet, he's the true messenger of God.
So some dude comes in here and says, I'm a messenger of God, behead your partner. He comes in and says that.
No, but it doesn't just work like that. It doesn't just go like that. She was there living in the time. She knew that this was the prophet. And me personally, whether you're my dad, you're my brother, look, you ask me, I'm going to answer personally. If I knew that was the prophet, the real prophet of God, and he came from God, I'm going to pick him.
You need to leave her, bro.
No, it's the truth. I think you will agree with me.
Run!
No, if I was abusive, yeah, she would be happy for something.
Yeah, but who says he was abusive?
He wasn't. She told the Prophet ﷺ, he asked her, what's that bruise in your eye?
The Prophet said.
And she said to him, I had a dream that the moon landed on my lap. She told her husband, the Jewish husband that she was married to before the dream, he interpreted it and it meant that she was going to marry the Prophet ﷺ, so he hit her.
Who says this? The Prophet?
He slapped her.
This is in
the hadith. She told the Prophet this. She told the Prophet
beheaded her husband and raped her.
Okay, cool, but so you're not going to budge on this, but that's Islamic. That's the Islamic perspective, and that's the
Islamic
truth.
perspective is not guaranteed, unfortunately. The Islamic perspective is not from you; it's from Ibn Ishaq.
So you said about Christians. You wanted to talk about Christianity.
I didn't want to talk about Christianity.
Let's talk about Christianity.
I didn't want to talk about Christianity. I just asked.
Do you know? Yeah, because you make it out like the Prophet, peace be upon him, was barbaric and Islam, but so is Christianity, so was Jesus though, and I'm going to prove that to you now. Well, he's going to be a murderer. You're going to see.
He's
So
gonna be.
yeah, so Christian.
was.
No, he will be. He will be. Listen. So this is from the Bible. This is from the scriptures. Yeah, it's not from me. I never said this.
Old Testament.
But
Old Testament.
and New. I'm gonna quote you exactly where from. So Christianity has been called the bloodiest religion in all history, including Islam. The Old Testament
Has
contains.
been called by who?
I don't know.
Just clowns.
I don't know, but it can be. When I
To be
finish,
honest,
when I finish reading.
yeah, go on. I'll let you finish reading.
Yeah.
But to be honest,
So-
we're going to get into. I'm not here to defend anything.
No, because the reason why I think that this is very important is because you
Jesus
quote,
said
you
turn the
quote
other cheek.
verses. 1 second, you
Jesus
say
said
you
turn the
say
other
that
cheek.
you
Muhammad said cut their heads off.
but I'm going to show you he didn't just say that. He didn't just say turn the other cheek. I'm going to show you he actually is worse than the Prophet, peace be upon him, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to tell you why. So Christianity has been called the bloodiest
Do you
religion
understand
in all
how
history.
Christian phobic this is?
Okay, that's cool, that's fine. But if it's Christian phobic, it's from your own
It's a bit hate
scriptures.
crime, bro.
It's from your own scriptures. If you've got a problem with it, you've got to go to your own scriptures,
God.
not to me.
Hey,
But anyway,
you can
look.
criticise whatever you want. I'm playing with you. I don't believe in Christian phobic.
okay,
I believe that if you can pick up any book and criticise it.
Right, look, so listen, yeah. So Isaiah 19.2, I will stir up Egyptian against Egyptian brother, will fight against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Okay. Then Zechariah 10:5, together they will be like warriors in battle, trampling their enemy into the mud of the streets. They will fight because the Lord is with them. They will put the enemy horsemen to shame. Yeah.
Yep.
Now.
Just what I'd love.
Zechariah, one sec, because it gets worse, yeah?
Okay.
Zechariah 14:2. I will gather all the nations to Jerusalem to fight against it. The city will be captured, the houses ransacked, and the women raped. Okay, look what it says, the women raped. This is what Jesus is saying.
That's what
Now,
Jesus said.
yeah, this is what Jesus is saying. He's saying that the women's raped. Why would, in Islam, we don't rape women. They don't rape women in Islam.
They do.
No, they don't.
They do.
They don't
They
rape.
take sexual slaves
How can you rape
at
a
war.
woman if before?
Oh, 'cause they marry them.
Yes, you have to marry them.
Come
You have to
on!
marry them first.
Come
But
on!
one sec anyway.
They're not rapists,
Now,
but
now
it's just marry.
this one's the
Marry.
worst. This one is the worst now,
Come
yeah.
on.
And I'm gonna. There's another point in this because you
Yeah.
said so. There was a conversation we had with Ali Darwa,
Yep.
and I've been dying to put you up on this for time.
Go on.
And it's finally happening today, right? So it's not anything major, but so you was laughing at Ali Darwa and you were saying about the hijrah of the Prophet, peace be upon him. You was like, what, you really believe that he got on a horse of wings and he flew up, right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you said you're a Christian, right? Now, I'm going to read this to you. Revelation 19:11-21, ESV. I believe that's the new standard revision one, right? So this is what it says. It says, then I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. So the heaven open, that means it's the clouds in the sky and a white horse. That white horse must be flying, right?
I don't believe there was a white horse flying.
Well, then
in the sky.
you're not a Christian then.
Okay, so
You're not a
fine.
Christian. You don't believe in the Bible.
No,
then.
what I said is the Christian way of life is a good way to live by. Even if you don't believe in it, it's a good
All right,
foundation
cool.
for society.
But all right, fine. But Christians do. Christians
Thou shalt
believe
not
that.
murder.
Christians believe that though. I go anyway. Let's go.
But again,
Behold the white
the
horse.
point I made to Muhammad was, I don't believe Muhammad flew up to heaven on a winged unicorn.
Okay,
either.
that's fine.
Do you?
Yeah,
Do you?
I believe it. Yeah, I do believe it.
You see, at that
But wait, we're
point,
gonna
it's
get
just
to that.
insane.
We're gonna
It's
get to
mad.
that. We're gonna get to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here you
What
go.
do you think?
Christians believe that Jesus is gonna come on a white horse. The white horse is flying. So why can't I believe that Muhammad?
You can believe it. I'm not saying you can't.
All right.
I'm not
Okay.
saying
Let
you
me
can't.
ask you a question
Yeah.
then. Do you believe that God exists?
I believe there's a higher power.
Right. Do you believe that higher power created all of us?
Do I believe? Is it Ramadan? When's Ramadan?
I think it's in a few weeks, isn't it?
2. What's the purpose of Ramadan?
No, wait. Answer my question.
cool,
Do
go
you
on.
believe that God created us?
I believe that.
The earth, the animals, everything that's
I
in it.
believe that. Yeah, a higher power created where we are.
Okay, so this higher power that created us and created all of us, he
Do you know what?
he created horses, right?
The only reason why I've been drawn to believing in Christianity and drawn more to believe in God is because I can see the Satanism. I can see the believers of
Okay,
Satan.
I'm with you on that one.
I can
Yeah,
see how
if Satan
dark.
exists, then there must be a
I
light
can believe
that
how
exists.
evil. I see the
Yeah.
evil. I see it. I see Hollywood. I see all their evil logos, all their signs, and I see that there's something there that they have a power structure that they're believing in.
Yeah, so
that
there
is
must be a
satanic.
light. Right, so that's
So
how
there
you
must
come
be
to
an
the
opposite to
conclusion
it.
that
There
there
must be
must
an
be a
opposite to
God.
it.
So if there is a God, he's the creator, right? He created
Yeah, go on.
everything. He created you, me,
Okay.
the birds, the sun, the sea, the clouds, the animals. Are you then trying to say that he's restricted and he can't create a horse with wings that fly?
A good argument.
Yeah, good argument. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, it's
I've
good
been waiting for ages for that one.
No, but let me ask you.
I haven't finished because you're saying that Jesus turn the other cheek. Watch what Jesus is going to say now. Yeah. So
it's going to make me love Jesus now.
And in righteousness he judges and makes war. He makes war.
You see all you Christians. His eyes. Follow Jesus, man.
Yeah, tell them Jesus was on smart. We're talking about. Anyway,
stop saying Christianity's weak. Jesus on it. It's go war, bro.
Listen, yeah. His eyes are like a flame of fire. And on his head are many diadems, and he has a name written that no one knows but himself. He is clothed in a robe dripped in blood, and the name by which he is called is the word of God. And the armies of heaven, arrayed in the fine linen, white and pure, were following him on white horses. So it's not only him that was on a white flying horse, it was his people as well, yeah? From his mouth comes a sharp sword with which to strike down the nations. Now listen to this. And he will rule them with a rod of iron. Jesus will rule them with a rod of iron. He will tread and winepress of the fury of the wrath of God and the Almighty. Then in
I can't wait for Jesus to come back.
Something, I don't know the name of it. It goes, so the reason why I put this down, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for love, because this also applies to the prophet. He can't always be peaceful, right? Now, watch this one. This is the killer of them all, right? Number one.
Do you know what? I wish I was versed on this. Where does this come from? Because I'll be honest.
This comes from the Bible. So this is 1 Samuel 15:3.
Okay,
the ESV, English Standard Revised Version. So this is kind of the new one, yeah? Now look what Jesus says. Look at what he says. And you tell me that he's not worse than Muhammad, peace be upon him. He said, now go and strike Amalek and devote to destruction all that they have. Do not spare them. But watch this bit now. But kill both man and women, child and infant, ox and sheep, camel and donkey. What did the donkeys do?
Oh, donkeys are shit.
What did the donkeys do? And babies, and women and child.
I can't comment.
At least in Islam, there's rules to war. You're not allowed to even cut a tree. You're not allowed to touch an elderly person. You're not allowed to attack someone who's not actually attacking you.
Kafar, non-Muslim.
No, even if they're not kafar.
I wish you bought the book, and I wish I was versed in it, because unfortunately I'm not. So I don't know what you're reading.
So yeah, that's
but I might well go to church.
And then also, you saying how about basically you think the last point I wanted to make was you've mentioned a few times you think that religion should be open to be mocked. You say that
definitely.
you say, but the thing is, I want to ask you a question. Yeah, that firstly,
do you think it should be illegal to do what you just said about Jesus?
No, not if it's coming from the scriptures. No, if it's me saying, "Oh, Jesus is this and that," and I'm being, well, then yeah, I don't think that's right. I would never disrespect. I wouldn't disrespect other people's religion.
Do you think the state should be able to make it criminalised for someone to express mockery of a religious figure?
I just don't. I think people should respect other people's religion.
Okay.
But wait, let me ask you a question, right? So you think that all religion should be open to be mocked? Yeah.
Totally.
Do you think your mum should be open to be mocked?
Her religion?
No, your mum, your actual mum, or your son, or your daughter, or your wife. Do you think they should be open to be mocked? And be careful how you answer this.
I believe the state should not have it. Yeah, I believe they should. Yeah, if someone done it, I might give them a dick. Yeah, but that's the consequence for what's happened. Yeah, that I don't believe the government or the police should have a role in any of that. So look, I might mock Mohammed. Someone might punch me in the nose. Yeah, but I shouldn't be arrested for it.
So you think, as a man who's supposed to be the protector and provider of your wife and your kids,
I don't believe the government or the police should have a role in deciding what we can and can't mock. Yeah? So I don't believe they should be able to interfere.
But all right, so
the state should not have an interference.
But you think people should have a right to mock?
I think there should be total. I believe in total freedom of speech.
So you think it
doesn't mean there's not a consequence.
You think it's alright for your wife and your kids to be open to be mocked?
No, I'll punch them. It may well end up in a different situation.
Now, why is that? It's because that's your wife and your kid. You love them, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same as people who love their prophet, and it's the same for people who love Jesus. It's the same people that love their religion.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, there shouldn't be a law against it. It shouldn't be unlawful or illegal. Yeah?
Okay, that's fine. It shouldn't be unlawful or illegal.
But
at the same time, it shouldn't be open for people to mock. It shouldn't.
It should be free.
And that's the thing.
It should be. See, if I wanted to pick that up, I'm not going to. Yeah. If I wanted to pick this up and I wanted to set fire to it, for example, then that should not result in a prison sentence. It shouldn't.
Okay, that's fine, but then you will get some kind of reaction for it, though.
But I'm aware of that.
If you choose to take that action.
But if you burn the Bible, you wouldn't get reaction.
But then that's because that shows you. That
Shows you
shows
what?
you how strong Islam is.
No, it
Islam
shows you
doesn't
that, no, it
bend.
shows you that there's
Is God weak or is he strong?
No, there's scripture in there that says if you mock Muhammad, like Muhammad had all the poets killed, yeah, because they were.
You're not. No, he didn't have them killed. You're not
He
allowed
ordered
to
for their
draw. You're not allowed
deaths.
to draw. But that's
He ordered for their deaths.
that's the huge amount of respect that people have for Muhammad and
No, if
people
they-
have for God.
well, what-
They respect us Muslims. Respect our
Why would it
God.
need
You know what?
violence?
To be honest with you, I'm gonna go in this deep. Us Muslims respect Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, more than Christians do. How about that? Christians allow people to disrespect Jesus. They allow people to walk around with t-shirts saying F Jesus, this, and they find it funny, they laugh. Try walking around with a t-shirt saying that about the Prophet.
Yeah, but I just think that shows that the inherently violent followers of a certain
No,
religion.
I don't think so. I think it shows how dedicated and how much we love our Prophet and
But
respect our
I
Prophet.
don't see some people. I hear people celebrate that. I don't think that should be. Why would Jesus need? If Jesus was the messenger, if Muhammad was the messenger and the prophet of God, yeah, if he was, why does he need to be protected so much from ridicule or even conversation?
Because he's
Why-
loved. If somebody walks
why
around,
is it- why
if
is it
somebody
punishable
walks
by
around with a
death to
t-shirt
leave?
of your mum on it
Why
or
is it
your
punishable by
wife
death?
saying, I don't know, something that would you like that?
No, we're not. I get it. But why
Right.
was it punishable to leave? Because you know.
Oh yeah, sorry, that was the last thing,
Go on.
innit? So this is where I'm going to get the most slack now, right?
Yep.
So apostasy, this is going to go crazy. All the Muslims are going to turn on me, but I don't really care, to be honest. I've just, Allah knows best, but this is from
So
my
they'll say
findings,
you're not
right?
Muslim.
That's up to them. They might say, oh, you're not. The hadith says this and hadith says that. But like I said before, I'm going to listen to what Allah says, and I'll put what Allah says, the Quran, over the hadith, as Sahih Bukhari told me to. So people speak about apostasy in Islam, where if a believer becomes a non-believer, he is killed. All right. Yes, many Muslims indeed do say this. Many scholars, and it is written in the hadith Sahih Bukhari. However, I do not see this to be true. Allah knows best, and if I'm wrong, may Allah forgive me. And there are also many other Muslims who do not see this to be true, but God knows best. I'll explain why. So you see, Sahih Bukhari himself states that if you find any one single hadith of mine that contradicts the Quran, then throw it against the wall. These are his own words, not mine. So if the Muslims have got a problem with that, they need to go and take it up with Sahih Bukhari or with the hadiths. Firstly, Islam is not spread by the sword. That's the first thing. Secondly, if God willed, everyone would be Muslim. So if he wanted everyone to be Muslim, they would be Muslim. Otherwise, what's the point? Allah tells Muhammad in the Quran, had your Lord wanted everyone to be Muslim, he would have made them Muslim. Would you, Muhammad, force the people to be Muslim? Allah also states to Muhammad, peace be upon him, we have not sent you to the people as a watcher. You tell them and they do as they do. Okay?
Yeah.
Then there is no direct orders in the Quran to kill apostates. Nowhere in the Quran does it say kill an apostate. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:256 says, there is no compulsion in religion. The truth is distinct from misguidance. That's what he says. Surah Nisa 4:137. Verily, those who believed and then disbelieved and increased and then believed and then disbelieved and then increased in disbelief, never will Allah forgive them, nor will He guide them to the right way. Now, He never said nothing about kill them, slaughter them, behead them, murder them. If he wanted to, if that was and he wanted to, he would have said that. He didn't say that. One more. Surah Al-Kahf 18:29.
There's multiple verses in here that contradict that.
Alright, we're going to get to that. Yeah. So Surah Al-Kahf 18:29. Say the truth is from your Lord. So whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's what it says here as
Right.
well. And the truth is from your Lord, that whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve.
Right. So what does that mean?
Well, carry on reading.
Go on.
We have prepared for the polytheists
Yeah.
and the wrongdoers
Yeah.
a fire whose walls will be surrounding them.
Yeah.
Disbelievers in the oneness of Allah.
Yeah.
And if they ask for help, relief or water, they will be granted water like boiling oil.
Yeah.
That will be schooled. So again, you carry on reading it, it just totally contradicts the
No, it
verse.
doesn't. It doesn't contradict. Did he say
They're-
kill them?
it will be scalded in their faces.
Did
You
he
never
say kill
scold-
them?
no,
Did
he
he say
said
kill
scald their
them?
faces.
Yeah, in the hereafter.
Terrible is the drink
In
and
the
the evil
hereafter.
of Tag dwelling and resting.
Yeah, that's fine. That's in the hereafter. That's not here. He doesn't say kill them.
There is.
You will not find anywhere in the Quran that he directly orders the killing of
But again,
apostates.
okay. Well, we'll look now. But the hadiths, which you said
Yeah.
are authentic,
I didn't say they're authentic.
you accepted
Sahih Bukhari are supposed to be authentic.
Okay,
but,
so in Sahih
but,
Bukhari,
but I also
apostates
said,
must be
but I
killed.
also said, if it contradicts the Quran, then it's not.
But it doesn't contradict the Quran, because if the Quran doesn't say it, it doesn't contradict it.
But it does contradict it because he's saying you should kill them. Where in the Quran does it say that? In the Quran it's saying.
If I'd have known, I'll be totally honest.
Listen. Look,
I wish I'd have known.
Look, just this here, just this one here, right? This one here.
I obviously haven't.
Look. There is no. This is Allah. Listen.
You'll find others that wish to have security from you and security from their people. Every time they are sent back to temptation, and they yield her. If they withdraw not from you, nor offer you peace, nor restrain their hands, take hold of them and kill them. So listen. You will find others that wish to have security from you and security from their people. Every time they are sent back to temptation, they yield thereto. If they would withdraw from you, nor offer you peace, nor restrain their hands, take hold of them and kill them wherever you find them. Again, in their case, we have provided you with a clean...
That's nothing to do with apostasy.
So we've provided
that's nothing to do with
that's
apostasy.
What this verse is about.
That's nothing to do... No, it's not. That's not.
We have provided you with a clear warrant against them. I could go through... in fact... I should have done it if I knew.
That's nothing to do with apostasy, Tommy.
Now what's that to do?
That's to do with something. Maybe I don't know what that's to do. That's not. Does it say apostasy? Does it say that someone doesn't believe?
You will find others. Yeah. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about belief.
No, where does it say that it's talking about belief? Where does it say that?
In the translations.
Where?
Again.
Read it to me.
You
See, look,
you're
no,
because I haven't prepared. I haven't prepared.
Right, so if you're not prepared, say you're not prepared. Say you're not prepared. That's nothing. Look, listen.
Listen to what the verse says. Listen to there are 100 verses like this.
Listen.
Kill them.
Surah Al-Baqarah.
Kill them.
There is no compulsion in relation. In
which
religion,
is superseded.
In religion, right here it says here, verily, those who disbelieved and then disbelieved and increased in belief, never will Allah forgive them, nor will He guide them. But He doesn't say any. Then it says here.
What are you reading? 2256.
Here, listen to this one. Surah Al-Kahf. This one here just slaughters them all. Okay. So this one is Surah Al-Kahf, 1829. Say the truth is from your Lord. So whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve. He's giving you the freedom.
Yeah, but then that's contradicted by the abrogation of the latter verses
of what? No, there is nothing in the Quran that says.
2256. That says kill them.
That's nothing to do with apostasy.
The words actually are kill them.
Yeah, that's in the times of the war. That's in the times of the Prophet. It's nothing to do with apostasy.
If they don't put their hand.
Trust me, you're not going to find anything in the Quran that says kill apostasy. Nothing. Okay. You find it in the Hadith, but not in the Quran.
The Hadith, which are authentic. So we get rid of all the Hadiths.
Again, I've said to you, Sahih Bukhari said himself.
Should we get rid of the
If I say, if there's a single page all right, so Sahih Bukhari, doesn't that contradict what you just said here?
Can we, what he says here?
Give me a yes or no answer.
2256, you see this verse? Carry on reading that verse as well.
I can't carry on because it's not here, but it says here, what I mean is there is no compulsion in religion.
You need to carry on reading the verse to get the context.
Okay, cool, let's get here. Say the truth is from your Lord, so whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve.
Again, the importance of abrogation.
Okay, wait, if this is what it is, right? Is that
me and you can
one sec. Just give me a yes or a no answer, Tommy, right? If this is how it is and it says what it is, does that not contradict Sahih Bukhari?
Sahih Bukhari.
Yeah, when he says.
So let's get rid of Sahih Bukhari. Let's say Sahih Bukhari is no longer authentic.
No, we can't say that because some of the stuff he says is authentic.
So some of the stuff.
If he didn't say, if you find something of mine that contradicts, then maybe we could have. But at least he said it. At least he said it, which means he knows there's a possibility he could have made mistakes.
The problem is that people. Obviously, you've got your interpretation. There's interpretation. But people are getting killed and murdered in the name of this.
Give me my notes,
people are getting killed and murdered. I want to see what's coming next. But people are getting murdered in the name of this.
Listen, they're going to get on to me for this, you know. Do you realise what I've just done here?
Can we, so people who are watching this, from my point of view, understand who you are? Can I go through you and ask you questions?
Yeah, no problem.
But, right, where are you? Where you said you're Moroccan.
We're going to go from Islam to rap.
Yeah, let's go. Where were your parents from?
All right, so both of my parents are Moroccan.
Yep.
Which is North Africa. They were born in Morocco.
My mates just opened a peri-peri restaurant there.
In Morocco?
In Morocco, in Marrakesh. He says, killing it. He said, like, like the equivalent of a Nando's.
Yeah, because they don't have no Nando's.
No, there's nothing. He goes, mate, I'm killing it.
You know, I actually thought of that idea before.
Yeah, he's killing it. But anyway, so your friends are, so your parents are Moroccan. When did they come here?
My dad came, I think, when he was like 10 or 11. And my mum came when she was 12 as well. Very young ages.
Are they religious?
My mum is not so much religious. My dad is religious, but he's not extreme. He's middle. So a bit of background on my dad. My dad is very well educated. He used to go to a private school. His education was in a private school. His dad was a chef who used to cook. He was the personal chef of the King of Morocco, Hassan Thani Allah Rahmu, and also to his son.
Who's the new King of Morocco? You know that new
Mohammed.
prince who's everyone's loving?
Mohammed, yeah. Are you talking about Mohammed's son, the younger
young
prince?
The young prince,
Yeah, that's his son. But
walking around like a gangster everywhere, man. Everyone's just bowing to him. I've just watched something on him recently. Oh, it's like, go on, sorry.
Yeah, and so my dad, he's very intelligent, who private education.
Did they have money? Did they come from money?
Yeah, well, my granddad used to cook for the king. He was his personal chef, and he was his personal chef for over 15 years. He was the only one who used to cook for him. And then my mum comes from, so my dad's from the capital, which is Rabat, which is where the king is from, and my mum's from Lares, which is a small city in Morocco. My mum's not so much religious, to be honest. My dad is religious. I can't remember a day that my dad never ever prayed, but he's not extreme. In fact, he hates extremists.
Many Moroccans aren't, man.
Yeah, no, there is a lot of Moroccans who are, because when you look at the majority of terrorists, they come from.
I've seen the numbers on how many went to
there's quite a large number of them. But yeah, my dad is he's just in it, because even Islamically, you're taught not to be too much to the left, not to be too much to the right. You just stay in the middle, you know. So my dad's that kind of person. But my dad also did music.
And you were born in London?
Yeah, I was born in London.
Where?
I was born in St Mary's.
St Mary's?
No, actually, I was born in Hammersmith Hospital, sorry.
Where did you grow up? Which area of London?
I grew up in West London, in Ladbroke Grove.
In Ladbroke Grove? You're from Ladbroke Grove as well?
Yeah.
What was that like growing up there? What was the diversity like there? How old, do you mind if I ask how old you're?
Now?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 39.
Oh, 39, okay.
Yeah.
So what was it like growing up there then?
To be honest with you, it was quite rough. You had to be tough, to be honest. It was diverse. There was a lot of like Moroccans, blacks, gypsies, white, Irish, Somalians. It's a very diverse, mixed area.
Was it like that when you were growing up as well?
Yeah, it was like that when I was growing up as well. I don't think there was as many Somalians as there is now, but yeah, it was very diverse, and it was very. You had to be tough. You had to be tough, especially me, because I was English. People used to think I was Irish with my little freckles and stuff, and I was short and small, so people used to try to target me, to bully me. So I had to be tough and fight.
Was you only child?
No, I've got two brothers, one older and one younger.
Okay.
Yeah, Ennis and Ilias.
Okay, and what was school like for you? What school did you go to?
So the first school I went to, I was always naughty, to be honest with you. I never took to authority. I never ever liked being told what to do. Yeah, I've always been like that. Yeah. I got kicked out of a few schools. The first school I went to was Fulham Cross Secondary School. I used to get into fights all the time. Then I got permanently excluded from there. Went to Holland Park Secondary School. Got permanently excluded from there. Then went to a centre. It was not until I got a bit older that I decided to go.
What did you get permanently excluded for? What does a young girl do to get permanently excluded?
You know what? Like I said, that they used to focus on me a lot to try and bully me, you know, because I used to look small, white, and have freckles, and I never used to stand up for it.
So you're a victim of racism as a white girl?
Yeah, you know what? Thinking of it now, yeah, it was. You can say it was racism, yeah. They used to think I was some white little girl with freckles, and that I was an easy target. So they used to try and bully me, and I used to stand up for myself. I never used to have any. I was quite tough. I never used to have any of it. So I used to fight all the time. I never used to listen to teachers. If I felt like I was in the right and they was in the wrong. Because to be honest with you, my dad always taught me to stand up for myself and to speak my mind. And if I'm in the right, then I speak my mind, never back down. You know, obviously be respectful, never start trouble. But if someone starts on you, always stick up for yourself. So he always instilled those principles and morals and characteristics in me. And then I came from a huge family, so we was all pretty kind of tough. So I always felt like I was very confident in myself. I think that's more from my dad, because I'm kind of a daddy's girl, and my dad's a very strong man, and he's always taught me to be a strong, independent woman. So I think that came from my dad. I was always upright, said it how it is. You like it or you don't like it, and I'm still kind of like that, to be honest, till today.
Did you tell him that when you got expelled? It's your fault, Dad.
Well, you know, when I got expelled, obviously they were upset. They wasn't happy about it.
Is your dad still about now?
Yeah. Yeah, he's still about now.
In London?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You come out of school, what did you do when you come out of school? So you got expelled, you went to one of these expelled schools, where did naughty kids go to?
Yeah, I always just like, to be honest with you, just living my life, just hanging around with friends. I used to do street dance. I was a professional street dancer from the age of 13 until about 17, 18.
What's that mean, professional? Oh, so you joined a dance group? And
yeah, the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea dance group. We used to tour, many countries, performing. I was actually a very good Very, very good dancer. I learned how to do moonwalk when I was 5 years old. I could moonwalk backwards, frontwards, sideways. That I was very, very good. I was always...
Any videos of you dancing?
I don't, you know, because those times there we never had iPhones and stuff like that, YouTube, and I wish I did though. But I was a very, very good dancer, very good dancer. And then I also used to write poetry, which later on went into music, because my dad was actually the first British Moroccan to get signed to Globe Records in 1990 and release an album.
Your dad
So
was?
yeah, I used to go to his...
So his influence of music, that's because I was going to say, because when I started researching Tee, when Tee asked me to do a podcast on research, I saw that she was a rapper, which was different, a rapper who got a degree. It was just, none of it fitted together. So, and a female. So, but now, so obviously the influence of your father being a musician is what's then instilled music and dancing.
I used to go to his tours and his shows, and I'd be watching or sitting on stage watching him perform. My dad plays every instrument. He plays the guitar, the drums, every instrument you could think of, keyboard, piano, he plays everything. So I grew up watching him and listening to his music. I also had music in me, to be honest. Even my younger brother, he's a rapper, he's very, very good. I started writing poetry, then I started doing music, and then I realised... Why did you
start doing music?
So I started music at a very young age. I'd say probably about 13, 14 writing, but I didn't do it professionally until I got a bit older, which I'd say probably about when I was 25. That's when I started doing it professionally, because I realised that my dad was very connected in Morocco. He had some serious links like TV presenters, shows, radio. So I thought to myself, why not? You know.
And you started doing rap?
Yeah, so first...
In which language?
No, first I started doing R&B kind of songs.
Okay.
That's how I started. So the first song I ever wrote was CCTV, which was inspired by a French artist, female artist. But then what happened was I went to Morocco, I did a few shows, interviews and stuff, and then I did a live on TV, which was on Deuxième, which is a Moroccan channel. And then it took me a while to find myself musically. So then I started, I was very amateur at the beginning. I started going from different producers to writing different styles until I ended up meeting Z Dot, who is one of the biggest producers in the UK. He's a producer of Stormzy, Lady Leisha, Bugsy Malone. Basically all the top UK, Rita Ora, all the top UK artists, he's a producer for them, him and Crunchy. When I started working with them, I realised the levels of professionalism and how much I needed to find myself and become better in my music. So because the music he was playing me, that I was listening to from these artists, the levels were insane. You know, I actually felt embarrassed to record that day because I thought, whoa, I'm not on this level. But then I worked on myself, and then eventually I found my sound. But then what happened was I was going to Morocco quite a lot. And then I ended up going into rap because I ended up joining a group called CB4.
In Morocco? In
Morocco. So CB4 gang, CB4 label.
Are they a gang?
Well, I mean, they're not a gang. People, they do consider them as a gang, but they're not a gang. CB4 is basically like a family. There's so many of us. There's over 50 of us. One does producing.
They're like Soul Solid Crew?
Yeah, kind of like Soul Solid Crew, but in Morocco.
Yeah.
One does producing, one does kickboxing, one does directing, one does rapping. All of us have different things that we do. Now, the thing of CB4, they're actually the biggest rap group in Morocco. CB4.
They're the biggest?
Yeah, they're the biggest. There's big artists who are single rappers, they're not a group, but as a rap group, we're the biggest rap group in Morocco. And CB4 was established by Moro.
By who?
Moro, a guy called Moro.
Okay.
He's originally from Morocco, Casablanca, and Zero Cat, which is 04, is the area of where he grew up and he lived, but he's now currently living in between Switzerland and France. So I'm actually signed to his label. Moro is one of the biggest rappers in Morocco. He can easily get like 20 million views on a video. He's huge, very well respected rapper. There's Demon, Moro, there's loads of us. The only thing is, I'm actually the only female in that rap group.
How does that work?
Because they don't allow females.
What do you think about that?
they don't actually...
This is a 49 lads.
They don't actually allow females in their group because...
Because of religion?
No, because a lot of clashes happen within the rap world.
As in fights?
As in like rap clashes, battles and stuff like that.
Battles against others?
Yeah.
And you think they'll use you as a term of...
Yeah, so
okay,
if a
female...
No, but I mean like, if she doesn't respect herself, and you know sleeps around or she'll get rinsed. You know, like for example, if you send a text message or a picture of yourself naked, which I don't do things like that, that would get used against you and sent everywhere, literally just to clash CB4. So they were very careful about who they allowed, and they were very boy and very manly, and they don't They didn't even used to take pictures with females. They wouldn't even allow pictures with females. They were really like strict on that. It took me 1 year to get in there, but obviously as they got to know me and stuff, they thought, you know, yeah, she's like a guy anyway. You know, the raps is my rap is very it's not your typical average female rap. I rap like a guy would rap. It's strong. My rap is very like, you'd think if you didn't know it was a female voice, you'd think it was a guy rapping. The kind of stuff I come out with. You see, like,
what do you rap about?
The Taliban. When you
Taliban, yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically.
As in my research, come up with a song called Taliban.
Yeah. So basically, that song is a clash. What happened was there became a clash between the Algerian rappers and the Moroccan rappers. So I obviously was involved in that. And
that turned into more than the clash?
That did it. No, because they're in Algeria and we're in Morocco.
Okay,
so nothing, well, like, things were said, like, come meet me on the borders and things like that. But nothing physically happened. But that was a diss track, which I called Taliban. But I went in hard. I went in hard on that one. Because in I say a punchline in one of them where I say, Taliban, which means I'm gonna, all right, so how do I say, I don't want to say I'm gonna shoot, but basically let off shots.
Oh, so it's not Taliban as we think.
Yeah,
Taliban.
it's like let off shots like the Taliban, basically.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's why I called it Taliban.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Did you call it Taliban to provoke reaction?
No.
Did it provoke reaction?
No, it didn't provoke any reaction at all.
No, okay.
No, not at all. The Moroccan audience absolutely loved it because it was the first time they've ever seen a Moroccan female rapper involved in a clash like that. Because that's not normal in Morocco. They don't see females doing that, you know? So it was out of the norm. So if you look at the comments, there's like about 600 comments. People are just like, wow, they don't see this stuff. They're like, oh my God, this is what we need in Morocco. This female, she's rapping, she's going harder than the male rappers. Like, it was something new to them.
Yeah.
So
when was this?
This was a few years ago. I'd say, I think about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
So this is all recent? Your rap's all recent?
Yeah, it's all recent. It is all recent. But I'm trying to come out of the music now. I'm just wrapping up an album that's going to be coming out really soon. I think there's about 22, 23 tracks on there, which is mixed. I also rap in Derija Arabic. So it's not Arabic Fusha like the Quranic Arabic. It's more like street Arabic. Okay. So I rap in Arabic, English. I also mix a bit of French and sometimes a bit of Spanish.
You mix from the two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mix from the two because I try to reach like a wider audience.
And so that's all recent. So when did the degree happen?
So
from a girl who gets expelled from two schools.
So basically what happened was, okay, so I don't want to go too into it because I don't want to incriminate myself, but I was heavy in the streets. I was very heavy in the streets.
In London?
Yeah, in London.
With
who? Just like within my area and just...
when you say that, so without incriminating yourself, you're talking about street level criminality?
Street level criminality.
Okay.
Yeah, I never took no shit off anyone.
Was you heavy in the streets because you was in a relationship with someone who was heavy in the streets?
No, I was heavy in the streets because of who I was. I didn't need anybody.
Go on.
Obviously, I have connections. That basically, I'm very liked. I'm very liked. I'm very well respected. And
that's why I use red.
I do have. Obviously,
you can't really say shit. Man.
I do have serious people that I know that are around me that if stuff ever did need to happen, it would happen. But alhamdulillah, thank God, I don't need that. But I've always been how I am myself. I've never needed anyone.
Have you had people tell you shouldn't be rapping as a female Muslim?
Yeah, of course.
As a female Muslim?
Yeah, of course, definitely. I get that all the time.
From Muslims?
From.
Do they say it's haram?
So I get it from. Moroccans in Morocco, they'll make comments like, oh, you should be in the kitchen cooking, you shouldn't be out here rapping and stuff like that. I get that. But again, it's a new movement. They still need to get used to it, you know. I do get that. I do get a lot of Muslims as well saying to me, oh, you know, sister, what you do is haram and this and that. Which obviously I get it, what they're saying is correct, but at the same time I'm fully aware of what I'm doing and what I'm not doing, and I'm trying to come out of it because my plan is to get into my religion and a bit more into my deen. But I think, you know, everyone...
Does rap fit in with your deen?
No.
No,
not at all. Because the stuff I rap about it's not condoned in Islam or in any religion, to be honest with you. I rap about gang stuff. I'll be straight. But the thing is, look, I think with female rap you have two options.
Would you say then, as we've gone through some verses, that you're picking and choosing what out of Islam to live your life by?
No, I wouldn't say I'm picking and choosing. I would say that I know that I'm doing things I shouldn't be doing. And I hope, you know, I mean, I'm nothing compared to the Prophet alayhi salam. Okay, so I'm not even comparing myself to him. But the Prophet became a prophet at the age of 40. So, you know, people say that at the age of 40, you know where you're going. You either go on to your deen or you stay in the dunya. So I've always made a promise to myself, and hopefully, inshallah, I'll stick to that if God lets me live long enough to the age of 40, hopefully I'll be finished with all of this stuff and I'll get onto my deen. Because from a young age, I've always wanted to be a scholar. I've always wanted to get into my religion. But I just ended up in the music. It just happened. I just ended up in it, and my plan is to come out of it at some point. I'm just planning on wrapping up my album and then getting out of it. Because to be honest with you, it's a demonic industry. It is a demonic industry. Like, I mean, alhamdulillah, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that anymore.
Have you drunk and smoked before?
Yeah, I have. Of course I have. It comes hand in hand with that.
With the culture.
With that life, of course. That you know, you're in studio sessions, you're sitting with top rappers. Look, a lot of people say that they're rappers and they do music, but they're not. All right, you do music, but it's at an amateur level. I do music at a professional level. Like the group that I'm in, they're all A celebrities. They get millions of views. I've got a million something views on my channel. I sit with proper celebrities. So I'm in studios recording with top professionals. We do that work. It consists of performing in nightclubs late at night, where it's demonic. It's a demonic industry. You know, where me personally, myself, I don't. But I know a lot of female rappers who have had to sleep with certain producers or directors to get to positions that they get to. If they want to feature, or if they want to shoot a video, or if they want to beat for free. Because in Morocco, there's poverty. People can't afford to pay £400-500 for a beat. You know, or somebody, she wants to be famous so bad that she will do anything to do a feature with this certain individual rapper. Alhamdulillah, I've never had to do that. I've always kept myself clean. Yeah, so I'm grateful for that. But it is a demonic industry. It is. There's nothing good comes out of it. And even though you become successful, you get millions of views, if you're not consistent with it, like look at Michael Jackson. He was the greatest of all time, but he's dead now. No one's talking about him. No one's watching him. Yeah, he's still the greatest, but it's something that's consistent. You have to keep. You get tired of that eventually. How long are you going to be in the club late at night performing? How long are you going to be working free mixing with this one and that one, drinking alcohol? Because people drink alcohol, take drugs to help them be more creative, you know? So for me, I think it's a demonic industry, personally. I mean, when you look at all of the top rappers, like they're all part of the Illuminati. They're all demonic. Their music's demonic. The way they dress is demonic. They dress like Satan himself, you know? Oh, so it's very demonic. Yeah, and if you want to reach a certain level of fame, you will have to sell your soul at some point, which I'm definitely not willing to do.
When did the... Incriminate yourself, come on. What happened with the degree? What happened?
So basically, I'm not going to incriminate myself. So
no,
basically,
I'm only joking.
An incident happened.
Oh, okay. So you've studied the degree to get out of something?
No. An incident happened where I did something that when I look at it now, I regret it. I shouldn't have done that. I don't think that what that person did was sufficient enough for me to do what I did as a form of retaliation. But I'm not going to go into it, and I do regret it. And I shouldn't have done it.
Did you get done for it?
No, I didn't get done for it because the person was too scared to press charges against me. Thank God. But at the same time, I shouldn't have done what I did. But my dad sat me down and he said to me, look, you know, you've got two choices. You either fix up your life and you go choose to work or study, or you carry on doing what you're doing, you're going to either end up dead or in prison. So I thought about it.
It's mad to hear from a woman talking like this.
Yeah, I know, it is mad. But you know what, to be honest with you...
Least of all, after talking to you, I would never have put you... I don't think anyone listening to this at the start is going to have put you as some criminal life.
That's why they say you should never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, go on.
But yeah, so I decided that was a lucky getaway. I decided to...
Do you mind if I ask what happened in that instant? Do you mind if I ask?
No, I can't, because then I'm going to incriminate myself. Yeah, I don't.
Was it another female?
Yeah, it was another female.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've had altercations with men and that as well.
With this female, have you repaired?
No.
Ever spoke to them?
No, I'd love to. I would like to, but I don't know where they are. To be honest, I don't know.
Because you regret what went on, or because you?
I just feel like what I did didn't need. Like, I was young. I had an ego.
How young was you?
I wasn't used to being disrespected. How old was I? I think I was like 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was really young. Okay. I had an ego. I wasn't used to being disrespected. She disrespected me.
16.
It's like that demonic way of thinking. You know, that ego. Who does she think she's going to talk to me like that? That's not going to happen. I've got to prove my point. So I ended up going to where she was. And
where was that from?
things happened, and it also
then your
happened
dad
in
found
front
out
of a
about it,
camera. I actually did it in front of a camera. That's how sick I was back then. I did it in front of a camera. But anyway, I ended up. Thank God nothing happened. Nothing came of it. Then I sat down and I thought to myself, and I thought, you know what? For real, I need to change my life. I can't. If I stay on the streets, I'm just going to get worse and worse. So then I thought to myself, let me go to college, do an access course. So I did an access course, access to humanities and social science. I actually enjoyed it. It was a bit difficult at first because there was a language barrier. I wasn't well spoken. People would laugh at me because I was so street the way I used to speak. And it used to really hurt me, and I felt so dumb. I actually felt really dumb. I thought to myself, oh my God, I can't even speak. I can't speak properly. These people are way more smarter than me, more intelligent than me, and more educated. I don't stand a chance. So it was very, very hard for me. But then I just stuck to it. I kept doing it, and then I actually enjoyed it. I found that I enjoyed learning new things. So I stuck to it. I passed. Then when I passed, I was so happy because then I knew
You achieved something.
I achieved something. I am actually smart. I'm not just smart on the streets. I'm actually smart academically. So then that's when I decided to apply for university. So then I applied for university and done criminology, policing and forensic science. And I really loved it.
Which
I really,
university
really
did you
loved
go
it. I went to Ealing, which is West London University now.
Did you go live there?
No,
No, so
because
you
I didn't
commuted?
live far anyway.
You
Yeah,
lived
I commuted. It was...
Did you have the normal uni life? Did you go out partying?
No, I didn't.
No.
You know what? I had just got married and I was pregnant at the time
Okay.
with my daughter. So no, I didn't. It was hard, but I did it. I deferred a year back because I was always morning sickness and it was really hard. But then when I put my mind to something and I'm determined, I won't stop
You got
until I
married,
do
you had a
it.
daughter, and then you went uni.
No, I got married, then I went uni and I was
Okay.
pregnant in my first year.
And your first year of uni.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I was constantly throwing up and I was really not well, but deferred the year back, went back and continued studying, and I loved it. Like I did forensic science, they taught us about policing, criminology. I did not want to leave. I absolutely loved it. I was there every single day for my class, and then when I graduated, I was sad because I didn't want to leave. I wanted
How
to
many
stay at
years
uni.
did you do that course for?
5 years.
Okay, what did you graduate with?
A 2-2.
Okay.
So it wasn't that great, but I
That's
did.
still good.
It's still good. I
Yeah.
still passed. And obviously, I was pregnant at the time. I was married. My child was autistic.
Do you mind if I ask who you married?
Am I?
Who you married?
Oh, so I was
Was it a
married.
Muslim?
Yeah, he was a Muslim.
Where,
yeah.
where is he from?
He's actually half French and half Algerian.
Okay.
Yeah, but he wasn't like
Practicing.
a proper practicing. He'd pray like on and off from time to time, but he wasn't exactly practicing himself. But yeah.
Because many Muslim women in the marriage ain't going to university either. Are they?
Many
Muslim women who are married,
Yeah.
are they going to university?
Well, the
Really?
thing is, when he came to ask for my hand in marriage to my dad said to him, look, I will let you marry her on one condition, that you
Let her
let
do
her
her
finish her
education.
education and she goes to university, and he agreed to it. So
Okay.
that was part of the condition. He couldn't tell me not to go. He never ever tried to stop me, to be honest, to be fair. He's very westernized. He didn't have a problem with it. So yeah, that's how I got my degree.
And then he didn't follow through with a job involved in any of that?
Well,
So
the
you-
problem was I actually wanted to be, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I actually wanted to be a CID officer.
Okay.
I wanted to work in firearms. I was going to go to Czech Republic to do a 2-week course on firearms. And then what happened was I took a nasty drop on the stairs and I damaged my back. So now I've got sciatica, 2 slip discs, bulging, wear and tear. My back's really, really
What age
bad.
was that?
That was when I was 23.
Okay.
23, yeah.
Just gone out of uni.
There was no way I could have been a CID officer or worked, because obviously in them kind of jobs you need to be able to run, you need to be able to be active and healthy, and I was not able to. There was times when I couldn't even walk for a month. A whole month I didn't walk on my feet. So I kind of studied for 5 years. I won't say for nothing. I did get the intelligence and education, and it helped me to speak a bit better. I'm still not that articulate and that well spoken, but I'm much better compared to how I used to be.
I've done a 4-year apprenticeship and then went to jail. Lost my career as well.
Yeah, see?
I come out like, what are we going to do now? But yeah,
Yeah, so, and then I ended up just doing the music.
end up getting into music.
Yeah, I ended up getting into music. Now I'm doing podcasting.
Yeah, I saw you with Kevin Lane.
Yeah.
How you finding it?
You know what, to be
Who was your
honest
first
with you,
podcast?
my first podcast was actually Darren G.
Oh, he's off his head.
Yeah, Darren G.
He started talking about me once. I didn't even know what he was going on about. I looked and I put it back to, I must have made a video, yeah, where I was talking about, it wasn't talking about him,
Yeah.
but he somehow has thought that's about him.
Okay.
What's going on? Just whatever madness you've got going on, keep me out of it, mate.
Yeah, that was a controversial
Darren
podcast.
G was your first one.
Yeah, he was my first
How
one.
was your first one? Because Young Spray was my first one.
Oh.
And I wish I could redo it. I wish I could redo
Yeah, I
it.
wish I could redo mine.
Yeah, I wish I could redo
I
it.
didn't put it out because I don't think I
Oh,
did.
didn't you put it out?
No,
Put
I
it
don't
out.
think I did good in it.
No, it don't matter. Put it out.
I don't think I did good.
No,
in
because
it.
I didn't do good, and I didn't do good, and I've done a disservice to Young Spray. Because when you watch it, see, I done that. He come to stay with me. I was out in Benidorm. He come. We had a great time there. He come to stay with me, and we done it the first day. We done it the first day, and he was obviously very wary of me. Yeah, as I am. I'm thinking you're trying to set me up. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's thinking you're going to try and set me up, Tommy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not relaxed at all. We then went out, and then the real Young Spray. Like, I got to really know Young Spray over those next 3 days.
Yeah.
And I wish I could have done it again. Because I don't think I got enough out of Young Spray for the public to listen to him. He actually is an intelligent, really good...
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I've met Young Spray.
Yeah, he's a cool
before.
guy.
He's actually a really nice guy.
And I think that, I wish I could have done it again. And obviously it's my first ever podcast. So whether you like it or not, you get nervous. You've done it, you're not used to doing it. It was my first one. And I didn't want to... You see, like, I didn't really want to do this with you, yeah? I didn't want to, with Young Spray, turn it into a Muslim thing. Because I just want to hear his life. Who are you? Tell me who you are, Young Spray.
Yeah.
Tell me who you are. You get on rapping, you're a woman. So that's what my thing was with Young Spray, and I think that he got edgy, I was edgy. It weren't the best, man. I'd like to probably redo it at some point.
Yeah, me too. I think I could have done better. But you know what? It was the first
Get him
one.
back on again now.
So
'cause Darren
yeah,
G's always
I'm
he's a
thinking of
character,
getting
isn't
Darren G back on.
Get him back on 'cause he's
the
a
second
character.
one I did was Kevin. I think it was
Okay.
Kevin Lane. Kevin Lane was actually quite easy because he's got that bubbly character. He's got so many stories to tell. You don't even need to think of questions and stuff. He's just been
recalled.
Yeah, he's just been recalled.
Do you know why he's been recalled? Let's clear some... Do you know why? Oh, no, actually, you don't want to... He might not want people to know.
Yeah, he might not want people
but
to know.
It's nothing to do with any podcast.
No, it's nothing to do with any podcast, so it's not you.
No.
Definitely not
Because I see people there. But...
Or
how
just
long
to
is
be
he gonna do?
clear, it's not any criminal activities neither.
No.
It's
bullshit.
Yeah, basically.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
To be honest, do you know when I was due to talk at Oxford University the first time, they come and recalled me because I was on licence. They didn't want me to talk at university. They didn't want me having such a prestigious platform to hammer the police. Yeah? He was about to just do an evening with Kevin Lane, which they would say is glorifying criminality.
Yeah,
probably.
glamorising crime.
A lot of the people who are listed as people going and attending
are
also quite famous in underworld or criminality.
Yeah, because there was
I'd say
Kenny Collins from the Hatton
Gardens.
Gardens.
Yeah, so they ain't going to want it.
There was Peter Fury.
Yeah.
He was going to go.
Was Kenneth Noy meant to do it also?
Kenneth Noy, but they stopped him. They said he's not allowed.
They said he's not
because
allowed.
he's glamorising the life of crime, so they stopped him from doing it. And then there was Sean Atwood. He was also going to be
So the
doing
reality is that they pulled him to prevent his evening.
That's what it's looking like.
Okay, so
and then I did an interesting one actually with a Mexican cartel hitman, Sicario.
Yeah.
But he's now a revert into Islam. Yeah. That was quite an interesting one.
I was going to say I'll get him on.
I thought he was... Oh, you can still get him on.
I was going to say I'd love to talk to a Mexican cartel.
But yeah,
I got arrested in Mexico.
Did you?
I got arrested and detained as a threat to national security.
Wow.
Me. When I was with my kids. They put me in a detention centre with all the migrants.
Yeah, they got it.
And then they deported me. You know what I mean? I was like, really? And I think there was a football match that weekend where like 20 people were murdered or something. I thought, I'm a threat to national security? Really? The British had asked them to do it. Okay. I landed with my kids on holiday. I landed it and I went, and do you know what? I just went, I need this, man. It's 2 weeks. And then just something like that.
And then they grabbed you.
They all come. I was like, what's going on? I'm in fucking Mexico. Surely I'm not a problem in Mexico. And yeah, they said that I was arrested, sent home. Kids went. The kids still had the holiday because my mate was there with his kids. Nightmare, man. But okay, so you've done your music. What is it like being a female in the rap world?
It's hard because it's difficult because obviously, especially being Arab as well, Muslim. Well, I won't say Arab, Muslim. Especially being Muslim, it's very, very difficult because I don't think you. Are
all the men in that? All the other 49 are they Muslim men?
Yeah, they're all
Moroccans.
the
Moroccan Muslim men. Okay.
Yeah, they're all Moroccans, but some are from like all over France, Holland, Germany, Spain. Like we're from everywhere, really. That's why no one messes with CB4 because we are everywhere, literally. So yeah, but yeah, it's quite difficult. But to be honest with you, I try not to pay no attention.
What will CB4 think about you sat next to me, discussing all of this?
I don't think they have any problems, to be honest.
Okay.
No, I don't think they have any problem at all.
Yeah, go on. What's it like for a lady?
So yeah, it is quite difficult in the world in general.
In that rap world.
It's I don't know. I'd say it's difficult, but it's not difficult because I don't know. Like for me, I don't really care about what people think or what they say because I know myself. I know I'm confident in myself. I know what I stand for. I know what I am. So I don't really care like what people think or what they say. It used to hurt me at the beginning because in this industry you have to have thick skin. People are going to make comments, they're going to say things, but you just got to learn to, you know what, as long as people are speaking about you, whether it's good or bad, it's still publicity. So it's good. It's great. So the more comments they do, the more things they say, the more views I get paid for it. So it's absolutely fine. I know my music's good. I know that I'm what I was gonna say. Being a female in the rap game, you have two options. You can either go down the road, where you get more views and stuff, is if you go sexual. So if you've got your
get your clothes off.
Talk about nasty, provocative stuff, Or I chose to go the route of the gangster route. Because at least that way, okay, it's not great, but at least I cover myself. I don't talk about disgusting sexual stuff, or, okay, maybe I might lead the younger generation to thinking that gang life is cool, whatever, but it's better than making them get naked and
what do you think
have
of that?
sex.
What do you think of that? Because I'd think a lot of the problems with drill music, with glorifying violence, with glorifying criminality, what do you think? Would you want you've got a 14-year-old daughter, would you want your daughter, or if you had a son, listening to those sort of lyrics and inspired by it? Would you? I know people say it's music,
to be honest with you, I think that's all I could do because that's who I am. I can only be real to myself. So everything that I'm rapping about, I'm doing. That's who I am. Everything I say I've done, I did.
When you speak about the life of a street life, because even understanding that, for someone sitting here watching this, what is it like growing up on the streets of London? Ladbroke Road's a rough area, a lot of gangs. What's the day-to-day like of that?
Well, I mean...
What are you seeing? What are people doing? Are you involved in drug gangs? Is there violence? Is there rivalry?
Yeah, there definitely is.
female.
You get into there is. If you're hanging around on the streets and you're hanging around with gangs, then definitely, because obviously if it's that life, isn't it? It's that street life. If one of your friends get into an altercation with someone and you're with them, you're backing them. So if you're in a situation, I'm in a situation with you too. Obviously, some people they run away, they get scared, they don't have backbone. But for me, if I'm with you, I'm with you.
So go for a walk through Luton after this.
Yeah, let's go. Well, obviously now I'm older. I don't want to glamorize that lifestyle. I do podcasts about notorious reformed criminals because I'd like to put the message out there of basically to deter the younger generation from getting involved in that life of crime. I try not to get involved in altercations or anything like that because I'm older now. I've got a daughter. I'm her role model, and I think as you get older, you get more mature and your perception starts to change. So I don't believe in that life anymore. And I wouldn't want my daughter to be involved in those kind of activities or to do a quarter of the things that I used to do at her age. I started off very young, Yeah. So it's all no good, to be honest with you.
So what's coming for? So you're still involved in music at the minute, but what's coming after music? You've just said you want to go more religious.
So after music is going to be, I've started a podcast already.
Yep.
It's going to be more just focusing on podcasting.
Where do people get your podcast?
On my YouTube channel.
Which is?
Tee Sedikki Official.
Who are you looking to? Well, obviously we've just sat down. But who else? What sort of? Are you looking to do politics? Are you looking to cover religion? Are you looking to cover anything?
I'm looking to cover anything that's interesting. Like after this, I'm going to be going to Sweden. I'm going to be interviewing in about a week and a half.
I'm going Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm going to be interviewing a guy called Anders Ali. He used to be a bank robber.
Okay.
He's a reformed criminal now though. And then there was another guy, Leo, as well. I think he also used to be a bank robber.
What nationality are they? Swedish?
Swedish, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because crime is very prevalent right now in Sweden. It's going crazy. People
Islamic crime is?
No, just general crime.
Drug dealers. Now most fucked.
Drug dealers.
But it's migrant
It's
crime.
crazy,
The gangs are migrants.
Well, I mean, those people, they were born there.
They're the sons of migrants.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm going over there to do some interviews over there. And then I want to do some interviews in Russia.
I've got someone great you can interview in Russia.
Do you? Who?
Yeah. Edvard, so he's one of the lead. There was a newspaper there called Strava. I'm sure he'll be happy to talk to you. I want to go and interview him.
What does he do?
He was the lead journalist.
Oh, so he's a journalist.
Yeah, he's a lead journalist, but obviously you're going to get a totally different perception than what we're fed. I believe we're fed a lot of bullshit against Russia. They want us to hate the Russians. They want us to hate Russia. I don't believe Putin's perfect, but I believe we're at fault for Ukraine.
I'm actually planning on interviewing some really big Russian mafias.
Yeah, Ledge.
Yeah, I've got
Okay.
connects. I've got connects. Some serious connects.
Oh, and if
Obviously,
you've
I'm
got
not
49
gonna
people in
mention-
each country, you're going to have connects in every country and all,
Yeah.
through your little rap
Obviously,
thing.
I'm not going to mention who or anything like that, but I do have a very serious connect.
Have you been to Russia?
No, not yet.
That's great.
Never been. I do want to go. I plan to go there.
Mate, there's no... You know, like, in the view... compared to London, yeah? I went to Moscow, I went to St. Petersburg, and people say you're shilling for Putin. And I'm not shilling for Putin. There's no criminality there like there is in our country. We're fucked, yeah? We're fucked in most cities with the level of violence and that. It's a very safe city. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I
Churches are
definitely do want to
unbelievable.
go. I definitely do want to go.
Oh.
I wanted to ask you. Sorry, I know
Go
this is
on.
an interview on me, but I wanted to
That's
ask you
all
a
right.
question because I'd love to watch it. I think it'd be very interesting.
Yep.
Would you? Because you know Andrew Tate. Obviously,
Yep.
he said he knows you.
Yep.
Right? Because I think you both grew up in Luton.
Yeah, I know Tate. So I was supposed to go there at the end of November, and then I think his lawyer said no.
Oh, okay. Because I know he said that he'd love to do.
I'd love to talk to Tate. I'd
'cause
love
that's
to.
something I'd
I'd
love
love
to
to sit
watch.
down and discuss everything. Not just look. Look, his conversion, as I said, it's I know, as he says, he's not a scholar on Islam, which is why I didn't know if it was wrong for me to be pulling out books and start talking to you.
No, it's fine. If I
You
don't
about
know
Islam.
something, I'll just
No,
say,
that's
look,
it, yeah.
but I don't know.
So I didn't want to. So yeah, with Andrew, I'd really like to. I understand.
That would be so. You know, that would go viral.
Yeah, and I can see how he was. I could see it coming with Islam, because he felt betrayed as well. When he was attacked and when he was deplatformed and everyone who went against him, he's got a good base with Muslim support now. So, look, I disagree with Andrew on a lot, I believe now, but I know Andrew before all this. So I know everyone that knows him. So I know people have an opinion of him. People like to slag him off. People in my circle, people question the morality of how he's made his money. I can tell people that everyone I know who's been around him from a young age only speak highly of him.
Yeah, I think he's actually a great person. I think that basically he's a threat to the government.
And I think even the fella, so his Amir, his trainer, Bosnian fella, everyone only has some good words to say about him.
Yeah,
so, I think he sort of didn't create Andrew Tate, but I guess he would have been a great figure for Andrew Tate to become the man he has as well.
I think he's desperately needed in society today for.
Yeah,
for
I think
young men.
I think he desperately should not have converted to Islam.
I disagree with you.
Of course you do. Of course you do. But I think that I think when he's now respected by so many youth, it's obviously very good for Islam. It's very good for the promotion of Islam. I obviously strongly oppose that. I think it's a terrible decision. I understand it.
I think it's the best decision he made in his life.
You do, yeah. Well,
I hope one day you come to Islam too.
It's never happening, man.
You never say never, you know.
Can I ask you a question now?
Never say never.
Is your partner Muslim?
Yeah.
He is, okay. That's one thing I was going in my head, trying to work out.
Yeah.
But is your daughter?
Yeah.
Is she practicing?
Yeah. Well, not so much. She's on the spectrum.
You see, most people are going to listen.
I'd never force it upon her.
I think if there's any Muslim watching this, I don't think it's the one to have with Andrew Tate, yeah. But I'd love to sit down and discuss everything with Andrew Tate, yeah. But if there's any Muslim watching this, I would have prepared everything to come and have the discussion I think the public would like to had on the verses in the Quran, on the calling for war, on the calling for jihad, on sexual slavery, on all these things about Muhammad's life. Yeah?
If you want to do that, we can do that. My dad is very intelligent and well versed in the Quran.
If I knew I was coming prepared for that, I'd have come prepared myself, prepared myself properly to discuss and have to discuss all of these problems and all of these books. I'd bring the books, and then we can sit and go, okay, what about this? Because I think it's an important.
You need to discuss that with someone that's well versed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I sit down with any scholar.
Yeah.
Because I have before. And when I ask them the questions that I believe I need. So, for example, the main imam in Luton, I said, well, okay, in your ideal society, if you make this country what you want it to be, then I ask on the legal age for sex. I ask what you're going to do to the gays. It's all one thing being against LGBTQ plus mafia, alphabet mafia being pushed on children. It's another thing thinking they need to be executed.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
No, well, in Islamic countries, they're executed. In the teachings of Islam, they should be thrown off rooftops, depending on what hadith we want to take. But all of these things. But I think it's important conversations to have. So more about you then, more about you, Tee. So you're a rapper. You've got a degree. You've been on the streets. What do you think? What do you think of the current state of Great Britain? Did you vote for Brexit?
To be honest with you, I don't vote. I never have voted, and I wouldn't vote because I don't think that voting makes any difference whatsoever. I believe that whoever's sitting down in that chair, it's different people but same agenda.
Yeah, they're not. Which is what Liz Truss has just said. Even when she got to the top, she thought she'd be able to make changes, and she couldn't. It was the Bank of England. It's this. It's the corporations.
Yeah, you're never in charge. It's the 1% elite who are in charge. You never get to see who they are, know who they are. They say what goes, and what they say goes, and everybody is just puppets, pretending to care.
What do you think about the current state of Britain?
The state of Britain now?
Yeah.
I think it's the worst it's ever been. To be honest with you, I think it's the worst it's ever been. It's flooded by migrants, immigrants. There's hardly any jobs left. Knife crime is going through the roof. The benefits, they're clamping down, tightening down. There's not as much opportunities out there. I think that the youth, I feel most sorry for the youth. I feel like they don't have any like youth clubs anymore as much as we used to. But back in my days, we used to have loads of things to do. Goulburn Youth Club, activities, outings, more stuff to do. Now the kids have hardly anything to do. They're just out on the streets, So I think the main concern now is probably knife crime and gang affiliation, and guns.
There's 5 stabbings a week in Luton.
Guns.
Just Luton, 5 every week.
Like back in my days, there used to be, you could name maybe like on one hand 5 people who used to have guns. They were known as gunmen, and they were very revered and feared. Now everyone has guns.
Every little kid.
Yeah, 11-year-old has a gun.
Do you think Sadiq Khan's doing a good job in London?
No, I don't think any of them are. I think anybody who's a MP, politician, to me they're all zero. To be honest with you, they're not doing anything. Look, let's be honest. If the government really cared about its people, we would know. We would know. I think people are starting to wake up now, and they're starting to realise that our government is corrupt. It's corrupt.
Yeah. Well, I think I agree totally.
Like if you cared and you was a government, why don't you promote healthy food?
Yeah, and gyms.
And gyms. Why do you promote McDonald's and Burger King? Literally.
And antidepressants.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I was on that myself. They put for my back pain. They actually put me on Lyrica, pregabalin, and did not give me any warning about it or tell me anything about the medication.
What, to come off of it as well, was it?
I'm off it now. Thank God I came off it. It was hard to come off it, but I was determined and I came off it. But I was like an addict to it for a while. And they don't warn you. They just give out these tablets. And I started getting like some weird pain in my head, like a shocking electric pain going through my head, like to my eye. So obviously something's going on with the neuro side of things. I don't know, but that's a very dangerous tablet. And they just give it out. I think it's the number 1 now, that medicine that's been given out to people, and they don't warn you about it at all. They just give, instead of holistic medicine, they want to they're the biggest. The pharmaceuticals are the biggest drugs dealers in the world. To be honest. They don't. You can heal yourself holistically. You don't need drugs and medication.
I don't believe in any prescription medication.
Like look at Dr. Sebi, for example.
So to my kid, never take it.
Have you ever heard of Dr. Sebi?
No.
So basically, he used to cure cancer, AIDS.
What they do, kill him.
They killed him off.
Yeah, of course.
They killed him off.
Yeah, I don't believe in any prescription. I'll just say I believe exercise is a key. It certainly has been for me.
Diet, food, organic food.
Yeah,
eating
properly and exercising.
Yeah, but they don't promote that. And if you're on a good diet, eat organic fruit and veg, it's very hard to find food while you're outside. That's when you realise how unhealthy everything is. All the food is. The water that you're drinking from the tap, really bad. Down to the water that you're showering with. It makes you lose hair. People are losing hair. Their skin getting dry.
Deodorant, down to what's in the
deodorant.
Down to what's in the shampoo.
Deodorant actually, deodorant
Rabbit
causes
hole.
cancer. You know that?
Yeah, I know, man. I stayed with some dude when I went to Cuba, and I was trying to get into America illegally again. I was in the Bahamas, and this bloke had an app where you scan everything, and it shows you. So on his app, so you should scan every food. No, it's got this in it, it's got that in it, that's going to kill you, that's giving you this, that's giving you... In the end, I was like, I just want to eat. Yeah. All right, I don't mind, I'll take the risk.
Yeah.
Give me a McDonald's.
That's why it's good to grow your own fruit and veg.
I know, which they don't want you to do.
Yeah, they don't want you to do.
What do you... would you end immigration at the current state? Being a Londoner, son of immigrants?
Right now, yeah, I would. Not because of anything else, but just because there's not enough resources. There's not enough housing. There's not enough jobs. There's not enough... How can you help somebody when you can't even help yourself?
Yeah.
That's the only reason why. Other than that, if there was resources, there was housing, then yeah, by all means, help. If you can help. But the way things are now, no.
I've enjoyed your interview. I've enjoyed this. And
I think
that the issue is that complex, yeah? Because I can't say like if I was you. If I was you, and I believe what you believe about Islam, and then I see the chaos being caused by jihadists. I understand it's difficult because that's something you believe in, and that's what they're saying in your interpretation. They're doing it falsely. So I understand many Muslims who are stuck in positions watching what's going on. I don't know. It's a very complex issue. As I said, my belief is that many of the Muslims that are following the scripture to the word is when we have a problem. That's what I believe. I know we disagree.
I think when you have the Muslims who interpret the words.
But I've enjoyed it. So if you're watching this, I know we're both just going to share this. Yeah? I'm going to share this as my podcast. You can share it as yours. Okay. If you've watched it, like it, share it. I think these discussions are important. I appreciate the people who support my work because it gives me the opportunity to sit and have these discussions. Never thought I'd be sitting next to a Muslim rapper female discussing gang life, street life, and picking up the Quran. So
yeah, it's been good actually. It's actually been good. I think I have a different perception of you now. You're actually a really nice person. I do believe though that you still may need to get a bit more educated on Islam, but I don't think that you're a racist. I do understand where you're coming from, and it was a pleasure meeting you.
That's good. I hope you don't get. I hope. Well, obviously everyone gets a backlash anyway, so who cares? You said you don't give a shit, so you're used to it.
I think as long as I'm talking truth and I took my truth and truth, then
because there'll be people who are going to sit and say you shouldn't have sat down with him without a scholar. That's what they're going to say.
That's ridiculous.
No, yeah. I think the discussions are important, so I've enjoyed it. As I said, I think if every Muslim took certain ways, then we wouldn't have the problem, but we have got the problem, so it needs talking about. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Latest edition to Silence. And T, what do you call your podcast? What do you call it?
Well, I was calling it the Crimology Podcast, but I think I might change it and put Tigress, because I'm also known as La Tigress. So I might put T as in tea and then Gress. But I don't know, I'm still thinking, because I don't want to limit it just to crime.
Chronology, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I want to keep it open so I can talk to.
One more question I wanted to ask. Did you have the vaccine? I'm going to ask everyone this now. No, good. No. See, now I respect anyone.
Don't get the vaccine.
In fact, I might start my podcast off. Did you have the vaccine? Yes. See you later. There's no point in me talking to you because you're stuck. You're fucked. Rest in peace.
Yeah, no, I didn't, and I wouldn't advise anybody to. I'm probably getting into trouble for that as well. But yeah.
No, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I wouldn't know.
Okay, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and subscribe on our Rumble channel. Cheers.
Carry on watching for more interesting guests. I'll talk to anyone. I'll debate anyone. I'll hear anyone's story. If you want to help me along that way, it's not free. I need your support. If you can support my family, that gives me my peace of mind. It means I can continue to do the work I do. You can do so at www.supporttommy.com. I appreciate every bit of support, as do my children. Gives me the ability to fly them out here to see me so I can stay in constant contact with them. I'm deplatformed and I'm censored, so I need you. I need you to share this content and make sure you stay tuned for upcoming weekly guests, interesting guests, exciting guests. I'm Tom Robson and this has been my podcast, Silenced.